This is the class awakening ceremony at Lijiang Academy. All the students have gathered here to receive the class that will determine their future. The students come out one by one and choose one of the 3 classes available to them. Some are luckier than others, while some are stuck with a useless class for life. But when it's our hero Yi's turn, something happens that shocks everyone. An angel appears and promises that with her power, no monster will ever be able to stop him, because she will now always be with him. She gives him a choice of 3 unique hidden classes: Light Mage, Sacred Priest, and Saint Knight. Our hero chooses the Saint Knight class because it is the most balanced and has no weaknesses. When the ceremony ends, Yi can barely make his way through the crowd of students who want to recruit him to their teams. Even one of the teachers has to push everyone aside to invite Yi to the principal's office the next day to discuss an important business proposal. But our MC is in no hurry to agree to anything. The most important thing is that with such a rare class, he can finally earn money to pay for his sister's medical treatment. Back in his room, the young fighter sits quietly before opening the system window. He notices unspent stat points and a significant boost in his attributes. Realizing he can only hunt monsters after becoming stronger, our protagonist decides that improving himself must be his top priority. Suddenly, the system announces that a unique mission has been activated. Yi quickly understands that completing these missions is necessary to earn rewards, so he accepts without hesitation. A strange light engulfs him, teleporting him to a mysterious place. He finds himself in a mine and recalls that ancient rabbi monsters primarily inhabit such tunnels. One emerges from the shadows, but Yi easily dodges its first attacks. Confident it won't unleash anything strong, he resolves to defeat it without using skills. Swift reactions carry him through each strike, and he realizes his body has grown far more agile after the stat boost. The creature lunges again, and though he evades most blows, one manages to land. Realizing his carelessness could be fatal, Yi gets serious. Even though it's a low-grade beast, he begins fighting back, unleashing mysterious light attacks. Rushing forward, the young warrior powers up his golden fist, landing multiple punches before finally finishing the rabbi. The trial ends, and he receives the top score, earning several rewards from the system. Relieved, Yi decides his next focus must be acquiring a weapon, glad that the system will grant him one. He invests his stat points and quickly buys a sword before leaving the trial ground. Just then, a notification appears, instructing him to go to the hospital. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Yoon sits watching the news and learns what happened to her brother the previous day. A nurse storms in, angry, and complains about the mounting fees. She wonders why the costs keep rising so quickly and doubts Yi could ever pay such an amount, as even 3 jobs wouldn't suffice. The nurse ignores her excuses and snaps that Yoon has consumed too many medicines throughout the month. Her condition has worsened several times, demanding extra care. Still fuming, she cruelly tells the girl to accept her fate and drop dead. Suddenly, a mysterious man appears, cutting her off before she can say more. The nurse leaves in a huff, warning that she'll make Yoon pay next time. Shaken, the frail girl wonders who this stranger might be. He calmly hands her his card and introduces himself as her brother's friend. Yi finally returns, holding the bills in his hands and wondering why 10,000 was mysteriously withdrawn from his account. He asks his sister about it but quickly notices 2 men sitting beside her. One of them smiles politely and introduces himself as the mayor's secretary, explaining that he is there to discuss a few matters. Our boy wonders why someone so important would come looking for him. Still, he shakes hands with the secretary and suggests they step outside if they want to talk. The man agrees but leaves a bodyguard behind to keep Yun company. At a nearby restaurant, the secretary congratulates the young warrior on gaining the protection of the sacred angel and awakening such a high-class talent. He tries to downplay it as mere luck, but the man isn't convinced. He explains that receiving an S-grade talent requires far more than luck. Then comes the revelation. The mayor has taken an interest in him and has arranged a stock of cultivation resources just for him so he can prepare for the upcoming exam. Pulling out a shiny key, the secretary is ready to hand it over, but our protagonist remains wary. He knows there's no such thing as a free gift. He suspects the mayor expects something in return, likely hoping he'll one day become a powerful figure. The secretary sweetens the deal by offering to arrange a professional medical team for Yun, and even promises that the mayor will contact a high-level priest, ensuring he no longer has to worry about his beloved sibling. He hesitates at first, but for his sister's sake, Yi agrees. Later, he meets up with Yun. Her eyes shine with excitement as she hears about his achievements. She says she hopes to cling to him like an accessory because she wants to see him reach the top. He dismisses her words as nonsense, urging her to focus on her health instead. The little girl asks about his skills, prompting Yi to remember that his class has 3 exclusive abilities, including one related to healing. Deciding to test it, he gently places his hand on her forehead, and a warm light surrounds them both. She begins to feel at ease. Yun feels amazing, and he realizes that although his slow recovery skill won't cure her illness, it can at least help alleviate her pain. The next day, Yi meets with the headmaster, who informs him that several universities have been persistently trying to recruit him. 4 teachers from top 10 universities are present, and the old man hopes he will negotiate for as many advantages as possible. He adds that these teachers are all level 35, so choosing any of them would guarantee a bright future. Yi wonders which universities they represent, and the headmaster lists their names. But he notices that the top 3 are missing. The explanation is simple. Those schools don't recruit based solely on talent. Students must also prove themselves in exams. The headmaster announces his arrival, and Yi bows politely. The teachers are impressed by his humility, despite his strength. Tian, one of them, gets straight to the point, offering 2 million and 3 exclusive Saint Knight class skill books. Another claims this is too little and makes an even bigger offer, shocking the old man. Miss Ju acknowledges their sincerity and immediately offers B-class cultivation resources if he chooses her university. At this point, the headmaster loses patience and urges Yi to accept, insisting that cultivation resources are invaluable. To everyone's surprise, he declines them all. The woman asks why, and he confidently replies that he only wants to join one of the top 3 universities. But since other races are involved, it's nearly impossible for an ordinary human like him to enter those schools. Tian releases his aura, saying he had hoped Yi wasn't so naive. He knows about the boy's background and how difficult life was before receiving his talent. The pressure overpowers him, making it hard to stand. The teachers warn that even if he enters a top university, he won't receive proper attention and will remain at the bottom. Just before he collapses, the headmaster intervenes, urging Tian to calm down. Miss Ju, however, notices that Yi managed to withstand the powerful aura, even if only briefly. It makes her realize he's special. Tian regains his composure but declares he's no longer interested in recruiting someone who lacks both skill and a good attitude. The other teachers also decide to leave, but the headmaster pleads with them to reconsider. Miss Ju gives Yi a reality check, reminding him that their country is full of elites and that, with stronger races in competition, it will be difficult to reach the top. Still, the young fighter is determined to prove her wrong with his exam results. With a month left, he's confident his system will help him level up quickly. He announces that he's definitely going to join one of the top 3 universities. Seeing the determination in his eyes, Miss Ju feels nostalgic. It's been years since she's witnessed such strong resolve. She smiles, hoping he fulfills her expectations. A month later, in a huge arena, students feel nervous as the exam is about to begin. They fear they're doomed, since their examiner is the infamous Demon Yang. As they chat about Yi, some call him arrogant for turning down such generous offers. But when he appears, his overwhelming aura silences all doubts. He has completely transformed. The door begins to glow, displaying all the exam information. The students react instantly when they see the challenges ahead. Cat monsters are notorious for their speed, while minotaurs rely on thick skin for protection. Only 5 people are allowed to enter as a party. Before they step inside, the teacher warns everyone to use their return scrolls and leave the secret realm immediately if they encounter a threat beyond their abilities. Dying inside the dungeon means losing their life for good. The timer starts, and the students rush into the mysterious map. Some decide to go alone, like our protagonist, while others form teams for better chances of survival. The audience murmurs, expecting that elite class students will likely go solo to claim all the resources themselves. One girl points toward Yi, walking casually despite being surrounded by dangerous monsters. The exam director loses his composure and starts yelling at the headmaster, questioning why such a valuable student would be wandering alone in the map. He fears the boy might die in the dungeon, wasting all the effort spent on his awakening. The headmaster, however, stays calm and assures him that this young fighter isn't just any kid. He's someone they trust, and he likely has a plan. As soon as the monsters leap toward him, Yi pulls out his axe. He cuts through them with ease, the result of a month spent grinding up to level 10 and raising his stats to 13. Confidence surges. Our boy feels ready to ace any top-ranking exam. When the creatures hesitate, he charges forward, swinging his weapon and cutting them down one after another. With his talent and the Sacred Angel's protection, even his axe has grown sharper and stronger. Although the exam limits everyone's weapons to 3-star bronze, his buffs allow him to enhance it further. With the Blade of Pure White now at level 5, Yi destroys several monsters in an instant. The weapon is so powerful it can kill any low-level creatures with a single strike. The audience erupts in cheers, stunned by his display of strength. One teacher points out that he's faster than the cat monsters themselves, his speed having risen dramatically. Another adds that his magic is sharper too, bolstered by high intelligence stats. Each attack lands with perfect precision, convincing them he's a combat genius. A third notes his iron determination and strong will to fight. Still, the night map isn't just about power, it overwhelms fighters with sheer numbers. Even veterans risk collapse when their stamina runs low. Observing carefully, a teacher remarks that Yi's axe looks heavy and suspects he's burning energy with every swing. Sure enough, several cat monsters leap at him. With a single sweep, he takes out a handful and finishes the rest with his magic. Suddenly, a blue light flashes, revealing the entrance to the next level. As he steps inside, Yi finds himself facing thousands of monsters waiting in the shadows. The host welcomes the audience to his stream and introduces the strongest, most blessed S-rank shining knight, Saint Yi. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Our protagonist completed the first trial in under 4 minutes. With unshakable confidence, he strides into the next stage, where a crowd of monsters lies in wait. He quickly sizes them up: mage, healer, and warrior cat monsters, with a minotaur mixed in. The first stage might have been easy, but this one is packed with highly trained foes, each presenting a real danger to his life. With a wild roar, the horde charges, intent on killing. Suddenly, mysterious dark magic coils around him. The cat mages have cursed him. Warriors rush in while the healers prepare to support them. Despite this, Yi only smiles and praises their teamwork. Drawing the cross of the sacred light, he unleashes divine energy, disintegrating almost all his enemies within seconds. His class teacher, who once thought the Saint class existed only for support, watches in awe. The young knight proves otherwise. His abilities stand at B grade as well. The old man recalls how little government support this boy had received, making his achievement of a B-rank skill even more astonishing. Nodding in acknowledgement, he observes as our protagonist turns to face the final minotaur. The beast activates berserker mode, shattering the ground with its strength before lunging. He counters with air slash and pure light, pushing it to the brink of death. As the next door swings open, he guesses the boss fight is coming. A government official, wide-eyed, realizes this youth might truly be trustworthy. His progress in just a month is unbelievable. The Academy's last top student barely reached rank 721 in the district, but with Yi, their reputation could soar higher than ever. Suddenly, a nervous student points out that he has recklessly entered the boss room without resting. Panic sets in for the official, but the headmaster remains calm, suggesting that this young warrior surely has a plan. Now inside, our boy confronts the enraged boss monster. Channeling all his blessings, he transforms into his Saint Knight form, dodges the beast's opening strike, and soars forward to deliver his first blow. The huge monster blocks Yi's attack. He struggles to pierce its tough skin and quickly realizes this battle won't be as easy as he first thought. The beast, enraged, retaliates with a flurry of strikes and sends our protagonist flying. He survives only because of his Saint Knight armor. Without it, he would have been killed instantly. Now Yi understands what he needs to do. Drawing on his determination, he summons the spirits of victory and conjures multiple light spears. He throws everything he has at the monster, but it withstands the barrage easily. Our boy realizes he can't overpower such a strong creature by brute force alone. While he could wear it down slowly, he wants to finish the stage quickly to secure first place. Still, he's certain there's a way to win. Yi notices the creature is much slower than he is. If he keeps attacking from all directions, it won't be able to defend against every strike. As he lands a heavy blow, he makes another discovery. The Minotaur may have immense life points and endurance, but its resistance is lacking. The damage he's dealt is starting to add up. Determined to end the fight, Yi unleashes several high-damage abilities at once. He knows timing is crucial. If he runs out of mana, he risks disqualification. Although he hadn't planned to go all out, he uses everything he has. Finally, he brings the beast down. Yi achieves an SSS rank on his exam clearance, becoming the top student in the district. Even he is shocked by the result. Before arriving in this world, our protagonist faced tragedy. His mother died, and his sister fell ill with a terrible disease. Despite everything, he kept moving forward. The appearance of the system gave him a second chance to fix his life, and he refuses to waste it. As he leaves the map, the system displays all the rewards he earned from battle. People welcome him back, and a boy even calls him a god. Director Jean congratulates him, saying that solo clearing nightmare difficulty within 10 minutes is an unprecedented honor for the Second Academy. Based on his experience with the exams, Jean believes Yi has the potential to reach first place in Sukang District. Yi humbly replies that the praise is too much. Suddenly, a supercar arrives at the venue. The director informs him that the final results will be available in at least 3 days and promises to notify him immediately. Yi thanks the man, suggesting he rest and wait for the good news. Leaving the venue, our boy heads straight to the hospital. On the way in, he reflects on how, after their last conversation, Director John quickly kept his promise. Yoon was moved to a deluxe suite with a professional medical team monitoring her condition around the clock. At the hospital, Yi tells a nurse he's there to visit his sister and share some good news. He also notices an unusual chill coming from the air vents. When they reach the 26th floor and the elevator doors open, they are shocked. The doctors and nurses are frozen in place, and the walls and floors are covered in thick ice. Worried for Yoon, he sprints toward her room, leaving the nurse behind. Within seconds, she too is frozen. He smashes through the ice with his giant axe and enters the room. Inside, he sees a towering ice monster circling, while Sis Ching desperately tries to protect the fragile girl. Yi prepares to attack the ice monster with his magical fireball, but Sis Ching warns him not to. She is busy using her magic to protect Yoon. He asks what's happening, and Ching explains that if they attack carelessly, Yoon's heart might shatter. Our boy then asks about the presence of a dragon in the room. He notices his sister lying on her bed, covered in ice. Ching tells him that Yoon's cold disease flared up, freezing everyone into ice. She can only keep the cold from spreading beyond this floor, so she urges him to leave quickly. Yi, however, is worried about his sister. Ching admits that without a high-level priest, there's nothing more she can do. Our protagonist quickly assesses the situation and commands his system to use all his skill points to upgrade slow recovery. The system activates, informing him that slow recovery level 4 enhances slow regeneration level 10. This will gradually restore health and mana to teammates within a certain range for a set period. It also notes that it's using enhanced slow regeneration. Ching is surprised by the power of the Saint Knight's healing skill. It even surpasses the abilities of a level 23 priest like her. While completing the healing process, Yi tells her he will hold the situation here and instructs her to inform Secretary Zhao immediately, asking him to call a high-level priest as soon as possible. Ching explains that high-level priests have packed schedules. Secretary Zhao had only managed to book an appointment with her for next week, so even if they call now, the priest will not arrive in time. Yi insists she should still tell Zhao. If he can bring a high-level priest here, our boy promises to do anything for him in the future. Understanding, she quickly leaves. Yi reflects that Yoon has endured this burst of cold every night for the past year, suffering intense pain because of the cold aura. He knew the cold had been getting worse, but didn't realize it was severe enough to affect the outside world. As he pushes himself, the freeze shatters the window and begins spilling outside. Yi is still holding back the cold when the ice dragon lunges at him. Suddenly, someone throws a fireball at the beast, hitting it on the head. The fireball ricochets around the room. He yells at the person to stop and not to touch his sister, but the attack accidentally hits him and knocks him away. A female saint appears, challenging the dragon. Wielding a magical spear, she attacks its head and commands it to leave. She increases her magical power, fights fiercely, and eventually defeats it. She then tells Yi that it's over. Asking if he is the one she has heard about, she drives her spear into the ground, releasing magical rays that thaw out the frozen doctors and nurses. She introduces herself as Chui Lie, a level 35 secondary awakened priest from Qingyun City. Lai expresses his gratitude. Chui explains that Director Zhan asked her to treat Yun in advance. She adds that if Zhan hadn't told her about Yi, she wouldn't have broken the rules and fought the cold for so long. It seems the director was truthful. When Yi asks about his sister's disease and whether it can be cured, Chui explains that the leaking cold energy solidifying into a form is a sign of bloodline awakening. He is shocked by this revelation. She elaborates. When the Eternal game first appeared, many players chose characters from other races, elves, giants, demons, and more. When the game merged with reality, those players gained the traits of their chosen bloodlines. For example, people with elven bloodlines have greener eyes and longer ears, while humans with giant bloodlines can grow up to 3 or 4 meters tall. Over the past 200 years, these players intermarried with humans, diluting the bloodlines. Over generations, most lost their special traits and powers, except in cases of bloodline awakening. Chui warns that bloodline awakening can bring both fortune and misfortune. A successful awakening means the person can control the powers of other races, greatly increasing their level and learning abilities. However, failure can result in paralysis or death. She explains that Yun's body cannot withstand the power of her bloodline, which is likely a rare freezing bloodline. For Yun to survive, she must change her constitution. Chui says that, as far as she knows, only a treasure called the Freezing Lightus can change a human's constitution. This artifact is extremely rare. The last one appeared at an auction 30 years ago and sold for 1,300 million by an anonymous buyer. She tells Yi that Yun will be unable to suppress the cold, which will fully erupt in 3 months. Another option would be to use a powerful sealing skill to lock away the bloodline, but she warns that using this skill would prevent Yun from leveling up in the future. Chui tells him to contact her once he's decided. 5 days later, Yi is doing his daily workout routine. After completing his daily mission, the system prompts him to choose his reward. He asks for stat points, thinking that he usually selects them as his daily quest reward. Constitution and intelligence are important for a Saint Knight, but he knows not to neglect other stats. Following his usual pattern, he distributes his points across 4 stats using the 2, 3, 3, and 2 method for balanced development. The system then announces that he has completed his achievement mission and congratulates him on earning first place in the Sukong District exam. It informs him that his rewards will be issued according to his results and proceeds to list the skills and grades he has earned. A newscaster announces that the first place winner is the Black Horse from Jiangli City. She also shares that this individual was only level 10 upon entering the realm, and that his class awakening ceremony triggered a divine phenomenon, a clear sign of his destiny as the top contender. Secretary Zhao informs the media that he always believed Yi would succeed after witnessing his awakening as a Saint Knight. That conviction led him to advise the government to increase their investment in the young fighter. Inside a bustling restaurant, people are abuzz with talk about the new champion. Some discuss whether a Saint Knight is a support class, while others express skepticism. One man argues that he doesn't like Yi, pointing out that it usually takes a long time for such a class to clear a realm alone, especially for someone who was only level 10 tackling a Nightmare Realm solo. A girl interrupts, revealing she has recordings that prove his abilities are genuine. She confirms that he is indeed powerful. People begin to wonder aloud why his holy cross appears even more formidable than high-tier mage fire magic. They marvel at his weapon blessing, calling it a gift from the gods and a blessing of courage, and someone even asks how many buffs he has. Meanwhile, a red-haired man sits alone in his house, reflecting on Yi's most recent victory. He notes that the clearance time was 9 minutes and 24 seconds, 20 seconds faster than his own record. Frustrated by the loss of honor, he angrily shoots his servant robot, fuming that the boy dares to outshine him, and vowing that Yi is courting death. On the other side of the city, our boy strolls through a park when he receives 2 messages from the Zhongli government on his phone. Each message details a very large sum of money, pending his confirmation. He immediately calls Secretary Zhao to ask if something is wrong. Jay reassures him that, in recognition of his brilliant exam performance, the government is awarding him 5 million in cash and a luxurious mansion. He asks if Yi has a preferred location for the mansion, but our protagonist replies that Zhao can choose it for him. Zhao then informs him that recruiters from the top 3 universities are on their way to meet him, offering to send a ride. I responds that there's no need, because the recruiters have already arrived. A young man approaches and introduces himself as a recruitment teacher from Rongyang University. As he greets Yi, another recruiter descends from a helicopter, loudly questioning why the Rongyang teacher is even here after criticizing him in the past. The Rongyang teacher warns the lad to be careful with his words, explaining that Tian, the newcomer, could not see the truth and has since been dismissed from his university. He then offers Yi a place at Rongyang University, along with a 4 million yuan incentive. Not to be outdone, Tian, representing Modu University, counters by promising to double whatever offer Rongyang University makes. He is confident that Modu will secure the enrollment and urges everyone else to leave. Suddenly, a woman with large wings appears beside Yi and, without warning, scoops him up and begins to fly away. She introduces herself as a representative from Qingjing University, boasting that the school offers nothing but the best cultivation resources, including grade A resources every year for 4 years. While soaring through the sky, another winged woman intercepts them, arguing that recruitment should depend on resources, history, and fame. She insists that Sukong University can match anything Qingjing offers, and questions the need for kidnapping. She warns the first woman that, unless she puts Yi down, she shouldn't be blamed for what happens next. Back on the ground, Tian ups the ante again, promising that Modu will provide not just grade A cultivation resources, but also a full set of golden grade equipment every year. The first winged woman then clarifies that she is not kidnapping him, and she urges Yi to make his own choice. The second woman introduces herself as Su Mie Er, recruitment teacher from Sukang University. She explains that Sukang values strength above all, and that students who reach the school's Earth or Heaven rank can earn grade S resources. She points out that Sukang has won first place in the past 4 freshman exchange contests, demonstrating their ability to cultivate top talent. The 2 women trade barbs, each defending their university's records and achievements, with Mei insisting that Sukang's wins should spur Qingjing to work harder. Amid their arguments, Yi considers his options. All the universities offer similar benefits, and any one of them could guarantee his bright future. But if he truly wants to become even stronger during his university years, he knows he must carefully choose the school that suits him best. As the recruitment teachers argue among themselves, our boy suddenly shouts his decision, causing all 3 to turn and stare at him. He informs Mei that he has chosen Sukang University. With a touch of magic, she conjures the university contract in front of him, explaining that it is Sukang's special recruitment contract. She encourages him to review it and sign if he finds no issues. Meanwhile, Miss Sun, concerned that Sukang has once again taken the lead, tells Yi that if he finds it difficult to adjust there, he is always welcome to visit Qingjing. Mei, showing little patience for her rival, calls Miss Sun a stubborn asshole. As Yi reads through the contract, he becomes curious about the mention of staffless casting, a skill typically reserved for high-tier mages. He asks Mei about Miss Su's level, and she replies that the mage is level 42, second awakened. She adds that the world is much larger than he realizes, and that upon entering Sukang, he will encounter even more young and powerful individuals. Feeling confident after acquiring the system, Yi believes that no one his age can rival him. He is eager to enter Sukang, face strong opponents, and grow even faster. Recognizing his burning desire to compete, Mei calls him an interesting boy. Once he signs the contract, it begins to emit magical lights. Mei swiftly takes it and tells Yi he will have a week to pack his belongings, as she will return to take him to Sukang then. He is surprised, wondering if the semester starts so early, but Mei whispers that special recruits will have access to the highest level of cultivation and training. Their strength will increase rapidly, preparing them for better performance in the upcoming National Freshman Exchange Contest. The next day, Yi, accompanied by his sister Yun and sister Qing, visits his new mansion. Secretary Zhao informs him that the mansion has been gifted by the city government. It boasts 3 floors, the second floor featuring a specialized training room, the third floor offering a spacious balcony and leisure area, and the total area measuring nearly 1,000 square meters. After showing them around, Zhao says he will leave them to rest, but before he can depart, Yi requests a favor. He explains that Yun is still not fully healed and remains physically weak, so even though Sister Qing will be staying with her, he hopes Zhao can also help look after Yun for a while. The secretary agrees gladly. Meanwhile, Mei waits for Yi in her car. She reminds him that Yun needs to take the pills from Priestess Cui every week, have Sister Qing check her health daily, and that Zhao will arrange for her to start school in a few days. Mei also tells Yi that Yun should listen to Zhao's instructions. Yun hugs her brother, assuring him she understands. As Yi and Mei drive away, she asks if this is his first time traveling a long distance, and he confirms it is. She tells him to be ready. Suddenly, their car lifts off and enters a portal, transporting them to a Ning city and then into a Ning University city. Mai explains that large-scale universities are generally under military control, and that Priestess Cui needed to request special permission from the city government to use a miniature teleportation magic array. Upon arrival, Mei points out that Su Kang University works closely with the military, which allowed them to build a massive teleportation array near the campus, making travel safe and convenient. As Yi looks out, he sees the university perched on a mountain, with countless humans, monsters, and giants streaming through the school's gate. Yi listens as Mei instructs him to check in, but before he can respond, a sudden commotion catches his attention. Someone is thrown in front of him, and before he can react, an angry girl kicks the man, shouting that she already told him she didn't want to talk. She warns that the kick was just a taste. If he bothers her again, she won't be so lenient. The unfortunate boy is revealed to be young Master Zhen, while the fiery girl's name is Chili. Among the onlookers, a girl whispers that Zhen tries to flirt with the new juniors every semester. Our protagonist studies Chili closely, noticing that her magic patterns hint at a demonic bloodline. Miss Mei calmly explains that many students and teachers in University City carry different bloodlines, advising him not to be surprised in the future. He reassures her, saying she need not worry, regardless of race. As long as they stand with humanity, he won't be hostile, nor will he blame the entire demon race for his father's death. Mei then presents him with his student ID. Examining it, Yi wonders if the number represents his ranking score. She takes the chance to explain the school's system. Every year has its own ranks, with stronger students placed higher. Freshmen are initially ranked based on entrance exams. He's startled to discover that he is ranked 001, the strongest among the new intake. Mei cautions that this rank is temporary. A freshman competition in a month will reshuffle positions. From now on, he'll be the target, with everyone eyeing his spot. Our boy answers firmly that since he has achieved first place, he doesn't intend to lose it. Mei continues, detailing the school's score system. Freshmen gain points according to their rank, which can be exchanged for meals, equipment, potions, skill books, and even rare S-class skills and resources. Beyond ranking, scores can also be earned through mission boards, or by holding a position in the prestigious Heaven and Earth rank. She notes that Su University has around 5,000 students, many aspiring to climb into that elite rank, and warns him not to grow arrogant. As they walk, Yi notices students stepping into a glowing magical gate. Mei explains the three realms: the Goblin Dungeon, entry levels 17 to 21, the Distorted Forest, levels 23 to 26, and Purgatory, levels 28 to 31. Apart from meeting level requirements, entering cost scores, she also mentions the training room, where students can spar against robots or real opponents to level up. Inside, our protagonist observes fights in progress, while Mei remarks that at Su University, only the strongest command authority and resources, an arrangement meant to ensure survival. Passing a group of students, some call out greetings to Miss Mei, who praises their work. Curious about Yi, one girl asks who he is, pointing out that it's rare for a teacher to personally escort someone. Another recalls that freshmen usually arrive in groups of 10 under senior supervision, wondering aloud if he received special treatment. Wang Li explains that special recruits are given teachers to help them adapt faster and, perhaps, to attract them into their houses. Meanwhile, Chili questions Su University's informant about Yi's background. On hearing that he's from Su Kang District, a level 13 Saint Knight ranked first, students are stunned. They can't believe a support class could hold the top spot. One boy mentions that rank 002, Shenling Feng, is a level 14 berserker, and doubts that a heavy support role could surpass such power. Chili, confident in her information, insists her title as informant is no joke, and confirms Yi is indeed the top freshman. Suddenly, a boy declares that he believes Yi's rank is fake. He introduces himself as Liu Jing, a level 13 punishment knight ranked 038, and challenges the Saint Knight, claiming he doesn't deserve his number. Stepping forward, he's halted by a senior who rests a hand on his shoulder, reminding him that duels are private matters and warning not to waste everyone's time. The senior adds that the rank of 001 was decided unanimously by the headmaster and 5 house teachers. It's no mistake. Liu shrugs it off, insisting he can handle this and telling the senior not to interfere. Excitement spreads through the crowd as whispers fly that Liu is trying to use Yi as a stepping stone. Some argue it's natural, since the Saint Knight class isn't known for its strength. Our protagonist asks Liu what his true motive is. The challenger proposes a wager. If he wins, he'll demand nothing, but if he loses, Yi gets 100 scores. Considering his reputation and wanting to set an example, Yi raises the stakes, demanding 300 instead. Liu hesitates, knowing he only earned about 400 for his rank, and the crowd murmurs that he risks losing nearly everything. Yi turns his back, taunting that Liu can walk away if he lacks courage. Pressured, the punishment knight accepts the terms and tells him to step into the ring. Yi, however, dismisses the idea. If Liu isn't kneeling within 3 moves, he'll win. Yi and Liu stand in the ring with Mei acting as referee, setting the rules and instructing both to count down 3 seconds before acting, emphasizing that no killing moves are allowed. As the countdown ends, Liu charges forward aggressively, launching his blood slash. He leaps into the air, sword raised, aiming to overwhelm his opponent with a deadly strike. However, our boy responds with a single, powerful kick that sends him flying out of the ring. Liu crashes into the wall and collapses, blood streaming from his nose and mouth. Unimpressed, Yi calls the fight boring and wonders if Liu had any secret plan, only to conclude he can't even withstand a single hit. After examining the injured fighter, the doctor informs Mei that he has 5 broken ribs, internal bleeding, and has lost consciousness. She quickly instructs the doctor to let a priest heal him, while transferring 300 points into Yi's student account and handing him his student card. From the sidelines, Chili marvels at how easily the Saint Knight blocked the Punishment Knight's charge combined with Blood Slash using only a kick. She realizes this is the true power of 001 and estimates the gap in their strength stats to be at least 20 points. Eager to test herself, she calls out loudly, challenging Yi to a match. Our protagonist notices that she possesses not only multiple bloodlines but also legacy equipment. With his magical scan, he calculates her powers and strengths, determining she is indeed a worthy opponent. Satisfied with the assessment, he accepts. Now in the ring, Yi grips his giant hammer, ready for battle. Meanwhile, Li Dong, captain of the Aurora Club, approaches Mei, expressing surprise at her presence and exchanging a polite greeting. As the fight begins, a flying robot officiates as referee. Chili takes the initiative, attacking with her large sword using the Shadow Slash technique. He counters with Typhoon Smash, their weapons colliding in a burst of sparks. She steps back, reevaluating her opponent's strength, realizing just how powerful and monstrous he is. Determined, Chili escalates with Demonic Slash. Our boy, delighted to finally face someone head-on, welcomes the challenge. She delivers a rapid uppercut followed by an enhanced stab, but Yi retaliates with Shockwave Slash, then unleashes Mountain-Crushing Hit. The battle rages across the ring, weapons clashing again and again. Watching intently, Li concludes that without a trump card, the spiritual swordsman is destined to lose, though the doctor believes the two appear evenly matched. Relying on her enhanced block technique, Chili notes that while she once blocked 1 out of every 3 swings, now it's 1 out of every 2. She reflects that most heavy weapon users conserve stamina by defending and retreating, waiting for an opening, yet Yi shows no sign of restraint or fatigue. She wonders if he is reckless or simply supremely confident. The weight of the warhammer keeps forcing her to defend rather than attack, and concern grows. Deciding to escalate, Yi invokes the gift of God, the gift of courage, and wields the spear of victory. Chili braces with Phantom Slash, wondering when he will unleash his full power. Suddenly he launches a ferocious strike, overpowering her and slamming her to the ground. The warhammer halts mere inches from her head as he asks if she wishes to continue. Admitting defeat, she concedes, acknowledging she cannot stand against such overwhelming force. Yi questions her, noting she did not go all out, refraining from using her swordsman skills or dark elemental powers. Surprised by his perception, Chili admits that since this is only a spar, she chose not to reveal her trump cards, and points out that he himself did not fight at full strength, referencing his exam video. With a smile, she asks him to add her on social media, hoping to spar again in the future. After the fight, Yi receives guidance from Miss Mei, who advises him to let go, and he accepts her advice. As they walk outside the school, she explains in detail that the freshman dormitory is located on a small mountain, while the regular student dormitories are situated at the foot and the mountainside. The special recruits dormitory, she tells him, stands at the very top of the mountain, and these special recruits enjoy the privilege of living in independent mansions. Mei pauses to show our protagonist the building where he will live from now on. Just as he is about to enter, she inquires if it's true that he is searching for the Freezing Lotus. She informs him that, according to a party who ventured into the Tempest Mountain range 6 years ago, a Freezing Lotus was indeed spotted there. However, they abandoned their attempt to retrieve it because it was guarded by high-level monsters. She warns that this information may no longer be accurate. Without wasting time, Yi quickly establishes his computer lab in his new room and begins researching the Freezing Lotus. He learns that the Tempest Mountain range, which rose after Earth merged with the Eternal Game, is vast and teeming with treasures and exotic flora and fauna. The system, acknowledging his success in the recent exam, rewards him with a life-saving item. Resurrection After Death. Our boy prepares for his journey, planning to venture out after purchasing the necessary skills and equipment. As he continues his research, his computer system notifies him. Rank 001 has been detected, and Saint Knight skills under grade A can be studied for free. He wastes no time and acquires immunity to physical damage, a skill that does not require a weapon, and also picks up a long-range attack skill. Since all available skills are free for him, he buys many of them, but he still needs to spend points to collect the forest set he earned from the exam. That night, Yi enters the Tempest Mountain Range. As he steps into the wild terrain, a massive explosion shakes the mountains. Clad in his forest set equipment, purchased with a considerable amount of points, our protagonist presses forward. Meanwhile, Chili is on the other side, holding her phone and reading Yi's message. She feels sad because she had invited him to work out together at the gym, but he declined, explaining that he would be outside the school. Her friend, noticing her mood, wonders what's troubling her. Chili admits that she met a boy. When asked what makes him special, she explains that she challenged him the day before, and even used some of her charm ability during their fight, but he remained completely unaffected. As Chili discusses this with her friend over a video call, she impulsively decides to go to the Tempest Mountain Range as well. At the same time, a girl named Ju is driving a truck when a group of monsters suddenly blocks her path. Without hesitation, she throws tiny bombs at the monsters, causing explosions that kill most of them. When, the second girl in the passenger seat unleashes spirit-summoning iciness magic, blasting a monster away. From the roof, Dan starts firing at the remaining enemies with her machine gun. The three girls coordinate their assault, thinning out the threat. Suddenly, Dan signals to a fourth girl, Leon, who leaps from the truck with her sword at the ready. Ju shouts in triumph, but Wen quickly warns everyone to move as she erects an ice wall to halt an oncoming monster. Just as the four fend off the beasts, something strikes their truck at lightning speed, flipping it and leaving it badly damaged. Ju shouts out, desperate to check if her friends are safe. Wen yells a warning. Something is behind her. As Ju turns, she and the others are stunned to see a massive horde of monsters approaching. Her confidence falters. Their party has exhausted all their trump cards and managed to kill only 4 demons. As the monsters begin spewing fire from their mouths, the girls wonder if this is truly the end for them. Suddenly, Yi bursts onto the scene, riding a giant white wolf. He launches his sacred storm at the monsters, and the swirling energy halts the demons' fiery attack. The sacred storm begins to circle around them, changing the tides of battle. A fire sword strikes the monster, but in retaliation, its chilling breath unleashes a storm of ice from its mouth, clashing violently with the fire. Yai quickly notices that the girls are injured, so he begins to heal them using his slow but steady regeneration powers. Among them, Dan expresses her gratitude to Junior Yi, admitting she never imagined he would recognize them. He explains that the Blue Phoenix team is one of the top 3 teams at their school, so of course he knows who they are. Dan, feeling even more ashamed, acknowledges his light element might have an oppressive effect on demons. She warns that the creatures remain too dangerous and insists they should all return to the base together to resupply. The freshman competition is only 3 days away, and our protagonist can only resume his search for the Frozen Lotus after the event. He agrees to her suggestion. After this exchange, Dan turns to Ju, who activates her screaming metal soul of speed phantom ringing. Once activated, Ju soars into the air, piloting the gleaming GX Spider mech. Suddenly, a huge robot appears nearby. Seated inside, she calls her team members to board quickly, emphasizing there's no time to waste. Yi then asks Senior Sue if the Tempest Mountain Range has always housed demons. Sue responds that their team has entered the outer area of the range many times, but this is their first encounter with such creatures. She agrees that they should return to base and notify the military. Yai inquires whether a mage is monitoring the entire area in the military zone. Sue explains that the range contains many monsters, so to prevent them from escaping and threatening the cities, the military has established a resupply and trading base at the entrance. The army also protects the mage's tower, which monitors monster movements within the mountains. She adds that, while there is surveillance, the demons they encountered are considered low level. Our boy, however, finds it hard to believe that level 20 platinum demons can be classified as such. Sue clarifies that the Mage Tower mainly focuses on epic and legendary monsters deeper in the range, and anything below its minimum detection setting might go unnoticed. She then questions why, if there is a dimensional crack, only low-level demons are coming through. Sue reasons that the military would exterminate such foes immediately, and if the crack could let in level 30 demons, it could also let in those much stronger. Sending weak ones would only waste lives and expose the crack's location. Suddenly, more demons descend into the forest, illuminated by a powerful ray of light. Ye urges the girls to leave. He promises to catch up with them later. Sue, concerned for his safety, warns that they have no way of knowing how many demons are out there, and that it's too dangerous to go alone. Our protagonist mounts his wolf, and together they race toward the site of the demon landing. Meanwhile, a small group sits hidden in the woods, debating whether to help the lone fighter they see. Ultimately, they decide not to intervene, believing they are too trapped and powerless to protect even themselves. Not far away, a girl battles demons with fierce determination. She observes that the enemies move in groups of 10, scattering across the plain, making escape to the resupply base impossible. Resolute, she prepares to fight them all. Suddenly, Yi arrives and unleashes his thunderfall, sending bolts of fire crashing into the demons. In seconds, many of the monsters vanish. The girl looks back in surprise and relief as our boy approaches on his wolf. Before he launches another fireball at the advancing creatures, he shouts to Chu to get out of the way. A giant demon bellows so loudly that Chu is forced to cover her ears, bracing herself against the overwhelming sound. A giant demon named Berserk appears at the fight, launching an assault alongside the other demons. Chu quickly warns Yi to run, explaining this is the demon kind's Berserk mode, and she suspects the creature's power has doubled. Calculating the odds, she believes if she self-destructs, there's a 90% chance she could kill Berserk and protect him. As she contemplates this desperate plan, Yi unexpectedly grabs her, lifting her onto his lap while riding atop his massive wolf. Now, both rider and mage flee together as the enormous demon attacks. Our boy unleashes a punishment of light upon the pursuing horde, waves of radiant energy raining down to strike their enemies. While they escape, Yi remarks that everyone aspires to the mage class because of the appeal of long-range monster killing. He observes as the demons begin to fly toward them, and within moments, they are surrounded. Counting quickly, he estimates 180 closing in, enough that he could handle with area of effect skills, were it not for their scattered formation. The commotion has drawn every demon across the plains to this spot. He transfers magical powers to Chu, instructing her to move left, attack, and avoid getting too absorbed in direct combat. He bestows slow regeneration, Blessing of Dawn, Weapons Blessing, and Gift of God upon her, marking her forehead with each saintly buff. The girl notes all the new powers displayed on her device. Yi leaps down from his wolf and tells her to go now. With a single mighty swing of his warhammer, he crushes many demons at once. Chu immediately feels the difference. Her stats have increased by 25%, nearly doubling her power, a boost she knows no level 16 or even level 25 Saint Knight should be able to grant. Suddenly, a giant demon leaps in front of her, but Yi's wolves dispatch it before it can harm her. Trusting his orders, Chu moves as directed. Meanwhile, our protagonist continues to decimate the horde, but soon, a group sneaks up behind him. Before they can strike, she hurls her sword, killing them instantly and saving him. He realizes that classes wielding holy light draw the attention of the most demons, and now nearly every fiend from the plains is converging on their position. Deciding the time has come, Yi casts an enormous fireball at the monsters, shouting for Chu to run. She recognizes he is now harnessing the protection of holy light. Activating his holy cross, Yi calls forth its power. Many demons begin to melt away as gigantic burning crosses fall from the sky, igniting infernos that encircle the horde. A powerful storm sweeps through, hunting down any that remain. Elsewhere, those who had refused to help Chu watch in shock, questioning each other about Yi's identity. One man consults his boss about announcing themselves, but the leader quickly calculates that except for himself at level 26, the rest of his team are only level 24 and could hardly handle 10 demons together, let alone solo. He concludes Yi is far too powerful and orders them to try befriending him. Suddenly, Ju and her 3 friends arrive in their robotic vehicle. She shouts that they've come to help, but as they approach, they see all the demons already slain. Yi and Chu stand victorious with their giant wolf, and their system congratulates them, displaying the points they have earned. During the fight, as Chu grows exhausted, Yi drinks his magical concoction and swiftly finishes off the last of the horde. In total, our boy has killed 180 demons and received 60,000 experience points, though he notes there's a class level cap on experience gain. Otherwise, he would have earned even more. Dan inquires whether Yi has handled all of the demons, prompting Ju to remark that his strength is beyond what she could have imagined. Suddenly, Chu collapses to her knees, weakened, and Ju immediately voices her concern. Wai explains that she has exhausted herself by using too much power. Dan shifts the focus, asking if he encountered any stronger demons during the battle. He responds that the highest level among the defeated demons was only level 23, gold class, with no particularly tough adversaries. Sensing something is troubling her, our boy asks what is wrong. Dan reveals her concern that the Demon Legion, much like the human army, has a general, and since the general has not appeared, it suggests the main force of the Legion is not present. She insists that they should not linger, urging everyone to return to the base for immediate resupply. The group agrees and begins their retreat. As they leave, hidden observers in the bushes, another group, watch them closely. Among these onlookers, a girl asks her boss whether they should reveal themselves now that Yi and his team are departing. The boss prepares to move but suddenly perceives a dense demonic aura building in the sky, causing panic among his group. He shouts that demons are coming. High above, a fearsome spawn appears, wielding a large sword and accompanied by a flying fire dragon. Back at the control center, the radar system sounds repeated emergency alerts. An officer announces that a 4th-tier otherworld invasion has been confirmed, and all troops are ordered into combat readiness. Orders go out. The Snow Dragon Corps Knight Squad must halt training and assemble at the teleportation square. The Priest Squad is told to keep their mana reserves full in preparation for rescue operations, while the Logistics Squad begins reallocating magic cores and shards. The Control Center locks onto the Mage Squad's location and initiates construction of a large-scale teleportation formation, relaying precise directions. The Corps Major, Zhu Yu, confirms that all units have assembled and are standing by for orders. In front of his soldiers, the Major delivers a resolute message. He will be the sword that cuts through all obstacles and the shield that protects their land. In unison, his soldiers echo his words before he finally orders them to mobilize. Meanwhile, in another realm, a demon reports to his king that every member of his legion has been personally selected, and in half a year on Earth, they have lost only a handful, until now. In their final celebration before returning to the sacred realm, hundreds were killed. The Demon King gives permission to unleash chaos before their departure, prompting the soldiers to cheer in gratitude. One commander vows revenge, then the king, astride his massive dragon, descends to Earth, declaring that he will seize souls and incinerate them with hellfire. He commands the demon spawn Uramus to summon more allies. Platinum demons, followed by golden demons, appear in the ranks. Dan observes legendary demons among their numbers and realizes the scale of the threat. Ju tells Yi that the Blue Phoenix team will protect him and urges him to escape at the first opportunity. Wen agrees, stressing that our protagonist must survive. Ju insists to the others that Yi is the most talented genius she has ever seen, someone worth protecting with their lives. Dan notices a portal opening as the Snow Dragon Corps arrives, informing everyone that these warriors are all above level 30, having undergone a second awakening, and that Major Shu Yu himself is a level 51 warrior who has completed a third awakening. She believes their rescue is at hand. Yi, however, wonders aloud why, if teleportation was possible, the reinforcements did not arrive sooner. The Demon King, amused, instructs his army not to worry about the humans, boasting that his magical barrier will prevent any army from entering. Ju is stunned, calling it impossible. Major Yu is also confused, realizing that their landing point has shifted dramatically. He quickly deduces that they are trapped within the Demonkind's large-scale barrier formation, a dark firewall that prevents both teleportation and external attacks. A female officer advises that breaking the barrier would require at least 2 core, otherwise they must wait for the formation to dissipate, which will take about 5 minutes. The Major receives orders to identify everyone trapped inside, and later notify their families to collect their remains after the battle. As this unfolds, Yi's system provides detailed information about the demons, and he feels a surge of excitement at the prospect of a new accomplishment mission. Without hesitation, our boy steps forward toward the Demon King, who senses the potent holy aura and vows to crush his skull with his own hands, ensuring a gruesome death. The fire dragon soars toward him, spewing flames. Ju, anxious for his safety, shouts a warning, but Yi boldly leaps toward the beast, ready to face the oncoming threat. The fire dragon unleashes torrents of flame at Yi, who stands his ground and counters with powerful magic. From below, our protagonist casts a devastating spell, slicing off one of the dragon's wings. The wounded beast, carrying the Demon King, plummets from the sky and crashes to the earth. The impact proves fatal for the dragon and leaves its master badly injured. Rising from the wreckage, the furious monarch kicks aside his fallen mount and turns his focus entirely to Yi. Our boy attacks without hesitation, but the Demon King parries with his massive sword, astonished at the human's strength. How could someone at level 18 possibly match him? Yi, steady and resolute, informs the fiend that he is exceptionally sturdy and that this is his first time facing a legendary monster. Infuriated, the king swings in a furious arc, forcing Yi to leap out of harm's way. The demon's blade, pure white and blazing, delivers a stunning blow that momentarily hinders him. Undeterred, Yi hurls a punishment of light, but the strike is thwarted by a formidable fire shield. He quickly realizes that ordinary tactics will not be enough against this foe. Drawing on the system's rewards from his recent exam, the young knight prepares for a desperate move. The Demon King, now enraged, calls out to his generals. Moments later, they descend from the sky, determined to destroy the lone human. Surrounded, Yi conjures a powerful fire circle, encasing himself in a barrier of searing heat and magic. Major Yu, watching from afar, marvels at the display. Even the generals hesitate, shocked by the magnitude of the spell. As his power surges, a colossal hand of fire materializes above the battlefield, its brilliance blinding all who gaze upon it. The Demon King shudders, sensing an overwhelming force descending. Shu, wrestling with her succubus bloodline, feels an unfamiliar pang of fear. Major Yu, recognizing the spell's might, murmurs to his assistant that it rivals advanced magic cannons. The assistant adds that the ones trapped inside are students from Sukang University, identifying Yi as this year's top recruit, the legendary Saint Knight. The Major, stunned, realizes that though only a first year, this boy's potential is terrifying. Given time, his skills alone might have been enough to wipe out the king's entire spawn. Meanwhile, blood seeping from shattered teeth, the demon monarch staggers and bellows for a last stand, summoning more generals. Demons swarm from the sky and surge from the ground, determined to overwhelm the lone knight. As demon doctors rush to tend their ruler, he reassures them that Yi is only a level 18 Saint Knight. One healer speculates that the youth must be out of mana after such exertion, and that sheer numbers will be enough. The king nods, convinced victory is within reach. But Yi knows the truth. The mighty god hand has drained him dry and his gear's recovery is too slow. Just then, the system delivers a message. A one-time secret skill from Saint Knight Hall requires no mana and ignores all passive skills. Upon activation, it channels the God of Light's power, dramatically boosting all 4 of his stats in proportion to his durability. Every divine and light-type skill surges, while health, stamina, and mana regeneration increase 20-fold. The effect will be short-lived, followed by crushing weakness, but its might is absolute. Suddenly, a massive ray of radiant light tears down from the heavens, striking the earth with unrelenting force. The Demon King stands frozen as the blinding column persists, terror gripping every creature present. At its heart, a female angel with immense wings descends. Her holy presence ignites the demons, and one by one they burst into flames, chaos erupting across the battlefield. The feathers of the eagle's wings brush against the demons, and instantly, they ignite in flames. A captain observes this spectacle, his eyes lingering on the radiant feathers. He wonders aloud if this could be a divine summoning technique, prompting his assistant to question him further about it. Calmly, the officer explains that this is an advanced skill possessed by all divine-type classes, allowing them to channel the might of the divinities they worship. Meanwhile, the Demon King, overwhelmed by disbelief, shouts that such a feat should be impossible. He knows this technique is a closely guarded secret and cannot fathom how someone with the humble rank of a level 18 Saint Knight could wield it. His doctor, ever loyal, informs him that once the divine summoning technique is set in motion, only another being infused with divine power can interrupt it. If the casting completes, their entire legion faces annihilation. Shock clouds the monarch's expression as he realizes this skill shifts seamlessly between offense and defense. Desperate, he turns to his doctor and demands to know how much longer the construction of the return formation in Dark Shadow Valley will take. The physician responds that only 1 minute remains. They need just a single minute for His Highness to escape. Recognizing the urgency, the ruler declares that the time has come to prove loyalty. He commands all flame demons to obey and sacrifice everything for the esteemed demonic son, Orimus, without delay. The demon doctor is the first to comply, offering his life by splitting himself in two and channeling all his energy to his master. Following this sacrifice, 3 more generals willingly give up their lives, each transferring their power to the king, who grows stronger with every passing moment. As this dark ritual unfolds, an angel bestows upon Yi the power of the divine. She tells him that God once said, "Let there be light," and our protagonist feels an overwhelming surge of strength. A radiant light bursts from his hands and strikes the Demon King, who retaliates with all his might. Yi's newfound power shatters the enemy's attacks, forcing the monarch to summon his solar flare, a technique revered as the strongest innate skill among the flame demon kind, where fire is condensed to its absolute limit. The Demon King, consumed by fury, screams at Yi to die. His attack lands squarely, and he briefly savors a triumphant belief that Yi has fallen. But from the midst of the blaze, our boy emerges unscathed. The tyrant recoils in horror, unable to comprehend the disparity in their strength. He curses aloud, realizing they are not even on the same plane of power, and quickly turns to flee, hoping the return formation is ready. Yi, resolute and unwavering, proclaims judgment in the name of God. He calls out death and unleashes a torrent of fire at his foe, striking him with devastating force. The Demon King collapses, writhing in agony and shouting about his completed mission, his glory, and the Holy Realm, before succumbing to his wounds. The remaining demons, now leaderless and encircled by rocks, panic as they realize the demonic sun is gone and the return formation is destroyed. With no way back to the Holy Realm, despair sets in. From above, Yi falls from the sky exhausted. Chu immediately orders the priest to check on his condition. He collapses onto the ground, consciousness slipping away as he gazes at her. Soon the Major and his soldiers arrive. He directs Team 1 and Team 2 to search for survivors while the rest of the Legion follows him forward. Later, Yi awakens to find Chu standing before him. She gently informs him that he has finally regained consciousness after sleeping for 2 days, and she will go notify the others of his recovery. Before leaving, she moves closer, kisses him softly, and thanks him for saving her life. After she leaves the room to inform the others, Yi checks the system for his daily mission. He looks through the rewards from his previous missions, and the system notifies him of the benefits he has received. His body now resists death, and all his injuries heal much faster. Our protagonist feels a surge of happiness as he realizes he has acquired a talent that heals wounds, aware that many classes possess similar abilities, though their effects always differ. Curious, he takes his knife and makes a cut on his chest, then watches in astonishment as the wound heals within 2 seconds. As he stands there, one leg begins to tremble while he reviews the system's information. He lingers over a new ability, the Holy Flame Halo, and wonders about its potential. The system reveals that it is a divine skill, and Yi recalls that it had once informed him about the sacred angel's protection, reminding him that the sacred angel is now bound to him. His affinity with the light element increases dramatically, and the effectiveness of all light and divine type skills is greatly multiplied. When he activates Holy Flame Halo, light and flame type damage is boosted by 40%. Yi wonders if, with both Holy Flame Halo and Punishment of Light active at the same time, he could function as a dual element mage specializing in both light and flame. Stepping outside his room, Yi encounters an army officer waiting for him. The man introduces himself as Vice Captain Wang Liang of the Snow Dragon Legion, a mage, and thanks him for his timely defeat of the demonic sun and the destruction of the return portal. He explains that they have captured many demons as prisoners. He responds politely, assuring him it was nothing significant, though inwardly he wonders what business Wang has with him. The vice captain explains that Captain Shu should be present to thank him personally, but pressing matters prevent it, so Wang has come in his place. He describes how Yi's final strike destroyed half of Dark Shadow Valley, yet managed to preserve evidence of a demonic descent, which allowed the Legion to uncover crucial secrets about the enemy. Captain Shu is currently reporting these findings to the higher authorities. Opening his system, the vice captain conjures countless screens in front of them. He explains that these are resources accumulated by the Snow Dragon Legion over centuries, and invites Yi to select whatever he desires. Our boy points to the grade treasures and indicates he's interested in the S-grade treasure known as the Frozen Lotus. Wang searches through the system and soon locates it, displaying its full details. Yi is pleased, and Wang agrees to grant it, explaining that the treasure costs 100 million points, equivalent to 3 years of his own salary, and that Yi will need to claim it from the captain. The mage further informs him that the Frozen Lotus is stored in the Legion's headquarters warehouse, and that Yi should remain here for a few more days while arrangements are made. If he grows bored, the Legion can arrange for someone to assist him in hunting monsters in the valley. Yi apologizes, explaining he must return to school for the freshman competition the following day, and requests that the Frozen Lotus simply be mailed to his dormitory. Wang laughs, regretting he forgot Yi is still a student, and promises the treasure will be sent to Sukong University within 2 days. He adds that if Yi encounters any danger he cannot handle in Tempest Valley, he should contact the Snow Dragon Legion immediately. Yi thanks him as the vice captain exits the hall, leaving our protagonist to contemplate his extraordinary new abilities and the future that awaits him. On the other side, Sue steps out of the girls' bathroom after her shower, only to be joined by her 3 friends, Ju, Wen, and Dan. Ju, ever the strategist, turns to her captain and wonders aloud if they should invite Yi to join the Blue Phoenix team, seeking Sue's opinion. Lian voices her doubts, reasoning that with his strength, he might prefer hunting monsters solo since it's more efficient for someone with that kind of power. Wen challenges that assumption, arguing they shouldn't dismiss the idea without even trying, and reminds them that their leader wants Yi on the team as well. Dan teases Sue, mentioning she has noticed her sneaking glances at him several times. Eventually, Sue, after considering her friend's encouragement and teasing, gives in and heads to Yi's door to make the invitation herself. When Yi opens the door, he greets Sue and inquires about the reason for her visit. Gathering her resolve, she asks if he would like to join the Blue Phoenix team. Yi is curious and asks for more information. Sue, partly joking, tells him that Ju and Dan would be heartbroken for a while if he refuses, though Yi suspects she isn't entirely serious. She then explains their true intention. They want to thank him properly for saving them in Tempest Valley. Suddenly, Sue steps forward, hugs him tightly, and kisses him, declaring it his special thanks. Without waiting for a response, she says goodbye and leaves, leaving Yi standing there, puzzled by the idea of a special reward and special thanks. Meanwhile, inside the headquarters, the captain is making a detailed report. According to their investigation, the demons invaded half a year ago and have been hiding in Tempest Valley ever since. Their findings suggest that demons have learned to travel across worlds using medium-sized dimensional cracks. One officer questions the certainty of this information, realizing the implications. The captain explains that, until now, otherworldly creatures could only invade their planet through large dimensional cracks, which never lasted long, so the threat was manageable. However, with countless medium-sized cracks scattered across the planet, the situation changes dramatically if creatures can now traverse those as well, potentially threatening planetary extinction. Another officer confirms these results have been meticulously verified, but there is a fortunate limitation. Only monsters under level 30 can pass through medium-sized cracks. Hearing this, one officer insists they must act quickly, ordering Senator Yang to alert all major legions in the country and assign guards to every medium-sized crack without delay. He also directs Senator Zhang to attend an international meeting, share their findings, and observe other nations' responses. A female officer wonders if all this intelligence was gathered because of an 18-year-old. Captain Shu displays Yi's image, confirming that the boy responsible is indeed him, a new Saint Knight, top-ranked in the Sukang district, and a freshman at Sukang University. Shu further explains that Yi used a divine summoning technique in Tempest Valley to defeat the demonic sun, destroyed their returning formation, and made significant contributions to the operation. A male officer remarks on how rare it is for a Saint Knight to rank first, while another wonders aloud about his family name, speculating if he could be a descendant of the legendary Frozen Zhou family from Sukang District. The head officer orders Senator Wang to investigate further when she returns to the university. Headmaster Wang Hui agrees. Before concluding, the head officer instructs Shu not to keep all the promising students to himself and to report if Yi shows even greater potential. Back at Sukang University, a flying robot hovers above the campus, announcing to all students that the freshman competition will begin promptly at 10 o'clock in the morning. The announcement urges everyone to gather on the field in time, signaling the start of a new chapter for Yi and his classmates. All the students of the university gather in the hall, filling every seat as anticipation crackles in the air. On stage, the housemasters of the different houses stand in a row, prepared to address the student body. Wu Mang, the housemaster of Warhouse, steps forward and begins to speak. With a commanding presence, he announces that the freshman competition will take place in 2 phases. The first phase is the Secret Realm Challenge, where rankings will be determined by the difficulty level chosen and the speed at which it's cleared. The second phase is the Free Challenge, where everyone receives 3 opportunities to challenge someone ranked above them. If they win, their positions are switched. Behind the housemasters, Mei stands anxiously, scanning the crowd as she wonders where Yi and Jiang are. The rules are strict. If they do not show up soon, they will lose their qualifications for the freshman competition. Regret tugs at her, thinking she should not have told our protagonist about the unverified frozen lotus. Among the students, whispers ripple through the crowd. One asks about his whereabouts, and another speculates he must have forgotten about the competition, or perhaps has not returned in a month. Some feel relieved, seeing the absence of a powerful competitor as an opportunity, while a red-headed student mocks him for wasting a month instead of training, assuming he lacks the courage to participate. War Housemaster Wu brings the crowd's attention back, officially declaring the beginning of the first phase, the Secret Realm Challenge. The Silver Secret Realm opens, and he proudly announces that this year's freshmen are not only the strongest, but also the largest group in the university's history. He urges them to unleash their full potential. For the first time, in addition to easy, hard, and nightmare difficulties, a new Abyss difficulty is available. Murmurs spread. One mentions that they've unlocked Abyss, another calls it ridiculous, recalling that Abyss is dozens of times harder than Nightmare. A determined girl vows to sweep the Abyss clean, while another loads his gun in preparation. Wu signals the start, and the system projects the Bear Monster Nest Secret Realm, its levels, difficulties, and the names of students who manage to open each one. He then notices the absence of students numbered 001 and 003 and inquires about them. Mei steps forward, explaining that Yi and Jiang have gone to the Tempest Mountain Range for experience and haven't returned yet. Wu's face hardens with fury. He stresses to her that the freshman competition determines the direction and resources for future training, questioning how they could be late for such a pivotal event. He accuses them of taking things for granted due to their high ranking and youth. She tries to defend Yi, insisting he is not so careless, but Wu cuts her off, declaring that students like them need to be taught fortitude. Since they are absent, their ranks will be reversed. Suddenly, our boy appears on the field, carrying Jiang on his shoulders as he sprints at breakneck speed. Without hesitation, they immediately open the Abyss difficulty, drawing astonished looks from the crowd. Jiang beams with satisfaction. They've made it just in time. The system informs Yi that he has entered the Bear Monster Nest on Abyss difficulty, warning about the extreme violence of monsters and advising caution with the return scroll. He swiftly activates the Blessing of Dawn and Blessing of Courage. He follows up with the Blessing of God and Blessing of Protection, preparing for the challenge ahead. The system relays details of the Bear Warrior and the 3 types of bear monsters waiting for him. He charges forward, swinging his warhammer with force, slaying a bear monster in a single blow. The system updates Jiang, explaining the instant army-breaking slash, which rapidly swings the weapon to release continuous sword energy, as well as a technique to gather all her power for a devastating punch. Elsewhere, another student executes a Typhoon Heartbreaker kick, spinning into a powerful jumping strike that knocks his opponent away and leaves them stunned. He boasts that he has already defeated 16 bears at the start. The Bear Nest is notorious as one of the school's toughest challenges, often overwhelming freshmen into quitting, yet this year's group is holding their ground. Wu demands the system to show him the progress of student number 1, Yai, curious what he can accomplish after allegedly wasting a month in the Tempest Mountain Range. The display shows our protagonist darting through the battlefield, annihilating monsters with his warhammer. He clears the first level after killing 16 bears in just 5 seconds, drawing gasps from the housemasters. One is particularly shocked, questioning how his support skill, Holy Flame Halo, could generate enough firepower to instantly kill the monsters. He wonders if Yi possesses a high intelligence stat. Wu points out that many factors can contribute to high skill damage: intelligence, buffs, treasures, and cautions against drawing conclusions from a single battle. Even with his extensive experience, he admits he cannot discern the true effect of Yi's unusual halo. Our boy continues his rampage, now wielding the punishment of light as he battles through the second level. The system congratulates him on clearing it after killing 200 monsters in only 1 minute and 23 seconds. He then dispatches another foe with a move he calls the Spear of Victory. The system announces he has cleared the third level after just 3 minutes and 29 seconds. Finally, it declares he has conquered the Abyss-level secret realm in 4 minutes and 57 seconds, earning a triple S grade and setting a new record. Rewards and points are listed in detail. The narrative reflects on the significance of talent to a class's strength, explaining that in the beginning, Yi relied on his S+ grade talent to awaken the rare Saint Knight class during the ceremony. He realizes that such generous rewards must be a privilege reserved for those who clear secret realms of silver grade and above, since he never received anything similar when he broke the record in the bronze secret realm. As he examines his new abilities, he quickly decides that strong protection is most suited for tanks and doesn't offer him much value. Rapid step seems useful, but focus halo immediately stands out as superior. In real combat, reaction time is crucial. After all, the stronger the enemy, the faster their attacks, and the more vital it becomes to respond accurately in the chaos of battle. Focus Halo not only reduces the risk of his skills being interrupted, but could even turn the tide of a fight if used at the right moment. The system notifies him that he has cleared the Abyss-level secret realm and asks if he would like to open additional levels. Meanwhile, the Housemasters continue to discuss his performance. A senior remarks on Yi's powerful combat style and flawless elemental control. Wu Mang adds that his quick thinking and adaptability made the most of Abyss difficulty. A younger one points out that Yi is remarkably well-rounded, excelling not only in magic attacks but also in buff skills and close combat prowess. However, a female housemaster notes that the Saint Knight class is so balanced that, as his level rises, he will need more points to maintain this versatility, which could eventually make his results seem ordinary. Wu agrees, mentioning that he plans to have a talk with our boy after the competition ends. Another young housemaster reminds him that Yi has yet to declare which house he will join, suggesting they let him choose before approaching. The old master concurs, noting his exceptional talent in elemental magic and his suitability for the elemental house, where recruitment has already begun. The headmaster, entering the conversation, observes that everyone seems eager to recruit him and laments that he missed the chance to witness the performance firsthand due to his late arrival. Now Yi finds himself entering a dark, ominous chamber. At the center, atop a mound of human bones, stands a throne, and on that throne sits a human skeleton. He recalls that the term evil gods does not simply refer to the god of darkness, but rather to deities that are mad and chaotic, fundamentally different in nature. Faith in the gods of light or darkness demands pure, unwavering devotion, while worship of evil gods requires the offering of fresh life and souls. He remembers the infamous Bloody Abyss incident from decades ago, where a tertiary awakened classholder, a secret follower of the evil gods, orchestrated the sacrifice of an entire city. Millions perished in an instant, and the perpetrator's power soared from level 54 to 89 before the Patrol Legion and army ultimately destroyed him. The souls consumed by the evil god could not be restored, and since then, the nation has enforced a strict ban on worshipping such beings. Those caught are executed without mercy. Still, the promise of rapid power tempts many down this forbidden path. The system now provides details on a terrifying new foe, the bear monster ghost. The ghost regards Yi with a chilling hunger, wondering aloud how long it has been since it last tasted fresh human flesh, savoring the anticipation of its next meal. Yi understands that he is facing an undead foe, completely immune to physical attacks, and knows that any martial artist would be astonished to see this final boss. Our protagonist boldly challenges the bear ghost monster, daring it to come at him. The enormous creature responds with contempt, telling him his efforts are useless before launching an attack. I remains calm, carefully observing its movements, analyzing every step and gesture. The monster admits that his holy light is powerful, but insists such power holds no meaning in the face of the immortality granted by the great lord of Exia. Noticing the intensity of that radiant glow, the bear ghost decides to reveal his trump card, warning that resistance is pointless, and taunting by questioning how much energy the boy has left after this display. The ghost boasts that upon his next resurrection, it will mark the time of Yi's defeat. Unfazed, our boy challenges the monster's confidence and unleashes enormous waves of magical fire, hurling them at the towering specter. The ghost catches fire yet defiantly screams that Yi cannot kill him. With deliberate, circular movements of his arms, the Saint Knight conjures an even greater blaze, directing the inferno toward the bear ghost. Overwhelmed and unable to withstand the fire, the monster wails, calling desperately for his lord Exia and lamenting that his powers are fading. Ultimately, the spectral foe vanishes, consumed by the flames. The system congratulates Yi on clearing the extra level, reporting that he completed it in 1 minute and 12 seconds, and then lists the rewards he has earned. He examines his prizes, feeling a sense of accomplishment as he prepares to return to his own world. Reflecting on the experience, Yi recalls sensing a faint, violent power when he first entered the space. The energy was not elemental, but it felt reminiscent of the strength he harnesses during divine summoning. He suspects it to be a remnant of some evil god's influence. When the bear monster resurrected for the first time, he noticed the sinister energy weaken slightly, leading him to deduce that there is a limit to its resurrection. The true strategy for passing this level, he realizes, is to repeatedly defeat the creature, forcing it to drain the evil god's supply until it is depleted. Meanwhile, another student battles his own bear ghost, shouting in frustration that extra levels are truly the hardest parts of any secret realm, and that he will need to defeat it 10 times to succeed. Yi feels relieved that he managed to raise 2 levels earlier, knowing it gives him a significant advantage. Soon, the bear monster stands before him once more, while the other student remains locked in combat with his adversary. Elsewhere, an elderly housemaster briefs the others about Yi's achievements, revealing that he used an S-rank skill and, by coincidence, discovered a shortcut. Another wonders whether other freshmen should be allowed to try this shortcut. A female housemaster agrees and remarks that their Saint Knight has his own secrets. Yet another points out that S-rank skills are normally out of reach for students from barren regions, and he begins to suspect the headmaster of offering Yi special assistance. Miss May, concerned, tells the group that his supposed level is suspicious, questioning how he could have reached 19 when, at the time of the entrance exam, he was only 13. No Abyss-level secret realm, she insists, should allow such rapid advancement. One housemaster explains that after admission, he went hunting monsters to level up, and his trip to the Tempest yielded significant gains. He was already 18 before entering the realm. For someone capable of single-handedly annihilating the Flame Demon army, the freshman competition is trivial. If not for the competition's influence on resource allocation, Yi would not have participated at all. Suddenly, he notices a red-headed student standing nearby, who wonders how Yi could be present and whether he cleared the realm ahead of him. The redhead finds it inconceivable, believing he must have left earlier after failing the extra level. As someone carrying the reputation of one of Jiangning's 8 great families, Shen refuses to believe he could lose to someone from the barren north. At that moment, Yi catches sight of Chu falling from a height and rushes to save her. Grateful, she acknowledges that he finished even faster than she did. Playfully, she asks if he is a few months older, suggesting she should call him brother, and he agrees. Together, they notice many other students struggling against the monsters. Suddenly, Miss May arrives and urgently calls the medic team to administer first aid to the injured. An hour later, all the students have returned to the university, most of them wounded. The War Housemaster announces the official end of the first phase of the freshman competition and proceeds to reveal the rankings and clear times. The fiery redhead grows impatient, determined to see the results. As expected, Yi claims first place, with Shen taking second. The system announces the standings for the other students. Shen, frustrated, notes that he actually finished 15 minutes ahead. Suddenly, he climbs a tall pillar and yells at Yi, accusing him of taking first place in the entrance exams and now in the freshman competition. Shen vows that, regardless of how he did it, he will defeat him in the next phase and make sure to crush him. The War Housemaster then declares the beginning of the second phase of the freshman competition, the free challenge. He explains that each participant has 3 opportunities to challenge others, with a 5-minute rest period between bouts. Immediately, a student challenges rank 154, another targets rank 86, and then, amid the crowd, Shen steps forward and challenges Yi directly, inviting him to a battle to determine who truly is the strongest. Shen already waits for Yi in the flying fighting ring as Chu approaches, quietly explaining that the opponent is the second-ranked contender, a scion of a great family from Jiangning, blessed with a rare fire dragon bloodline. She shares that he harbors a grudge against Yi, whose sudden rise shattered his dream of taking first place in the Sukang district. Despite Shen's reputation, our boy calmly tells her that the berserker is much weaker than he appears, though the rival himself is oblivious to this fact. Without hesitation, Yi leaps onto the flying ring and addresses Shen directly, hoping that he will push him to the limit. Full of pride, the berserker challenges Yi, declaring that it will be Saint Knight versus berserker, a true test of strength. The match begins in a flash. He wastes no time, launching a fire punch empowered by his blood berserk skill. The headmaster observes with keen interest, recognizing the signature technique and noting the urgency to finish the fight quickly. The buff amplifies the fiery strike, and he aims to prevent Yi from activating his own blessings. The headmaster remarks on such decisiveness, befitting a descendant of a prestigious family. However, the blow does not faze our protagonist. Shen notices the protection of the holy light shielding Yi and wonders when it was cast. He realizes too late that the B+ grade skill, Protection of the Holy Light, partially blocks physical damage, something he had not wanted Yi to employ. Calmly, the Saint Knight acknowledges the strategy, complimenting his speed, but reveals that activating the Holy Light requires only a tenth of a second. Drawing his warhammer, Yi tells him that he had hoped for a more challenging opponent and thus refrained from striking first. As the hammer descends, Yi apologizes, stating that Shen fails to interest him, and effortlessly shatters the fire shield. Stunned, the berserker cannot comprehend Yi's overwhelming power, and as a punch lands, he finds himself unable to dodge. Desperate and refusing to accept defeat, Shen transforms into his fire dragon form and launches a powerful attack. Unmoved, Yi stops the blow with his hand and lifts the warhammer high, calmly telling him that even with his bloodline awakened, he remains no true match. One strike sends Shen flying, only for Yi to realize the rival narrowly dodged at the last instant. Regaining his footing, the fire dragon asserts that his bloodline is not limited to close combat, and vows to show Yi the true power of his heritage. He unleashes a barrage of dragon breath, high-temperature flames that would incinerate most opponents. Yet our boy stands unharmed, shielded from harm. Spectators murmur in awe, recognizing the legendary skill of the fire dragon bloodline. I responds by summoning the holy flame Halo, which absorbs the fiery breath effortlessly. Watching his signature move dissipate, Shen is incredulous, comparing the scene to a minister kneeling before a king. Refusing to believe it, he unleashes even fiercer breaths, but Yi assures him it is pointless. The flames cannot escape his control. Deciding to end the match, Yi advances and strikes with his warhammer. Shen defiantly declares that the Saint Knight can only dream of defeating him with his own flames, vowing to reclaim control over his power. Yet as the redirected fire lashes back, the berserker is unable to defend himself and collapses to the ground. The housemaster announces his defeat and loss of consciousness. Yi is declared the victor. The housemaster notes that Shen, once a prideful and arrogant contender, was defeated without Yi even revealing his full strength. The implications of such hidden power are left to the imagination. Among the students, one remarks that given Yi's level and combat intellect, it's unsurprising the berserker was so thoroughly outmatched. Attention shifts as the war housemaster points out another district's first-place contender. A female student steps forward to challenge Yi. She introduces herself as Song Xiaolin, a level 17 spiritual Taoist priest, expressing her wish to learn from him. He responds, giving his name and stating he is a level 19 Saint Knight. Song asks why he did not use his full power in his previous fight, and requests that when their match begins, he show her the extent of his abilities. Watching from the sidelines, another student wonders how Yi reached level 19, realizing this explains why they could not use their examination skill on him. He stands 3 levels above them. They also speculate that Song might be the young lady from the Song family of the Yungui district. Yi agrees to her request, promising to go all out. The referee signals the beginning of the fight. This time, our protagonist immediately activates the Blessing of Dawn, Blessing of Courage, and Blessing of Protection. Song is shocked as his appearance transforms, and Yi calmly informs her that she is now witnessing his full power. As the fight starts, Yi attacks Song with the Hammer of Penance. She defends herself using Heaven's Call, the Star's Guide, the Spell Reveals, and Heed Her Command, blocking his initial attack. Our protagonist quickly throws a burst at her, and, in a sudden movement, appears from behind, warning that she cannot dodge his pursuit simply by changing position. He strikes her shield with his warhammer. Despite all her passive defensive gear activating, it can barely withstand the blow. Realizing the danger, Song decides to take a risk. She begins hurling fireballs while commanding Borrowing Qian Kun. Beans turn to soldiers and show their might and heed her command. Her fireballs transform into soldiers that now stand ready to fight for her. Yi immediately recognizes the Taoist bean soldier transmutation technique and understands her plan. Song directs the newly created soldiers to attack, filling the battlefield with chaos. He assesses the situation, noting that although these soldiers are not particularly difficult to fight, they possess recovery abilities similar to the bear monster Ghost, making them problematic if left unchecked. Our boy realizes that destroying them is not enough. He must cut off their source. So he focuses on quickly demolishing the summoned fighters with his warhammer, breaking through them in order to reach her directly. Once again, Yi maneuvers himself behind Song, this time catching her by complete surprise. As he prepares to strike with his warhammer, she suddenly shouts her surrender, and the system instantly announces his victory. After the fight, Yi wonders aloud why she didn't go all out. Song explains candidly that they are not even on the same level, and she accepts defeat without hesitation. She mentions that there is more than one free challenge match, and if she continues to push herself, she may end up like Shen. She tells him she will seek lessons from him again in the future. Now, with his warhammer in hand, Yi turns to address the students, swinging the weapon and announcing loudly that he's still here, ready and waiting for anyone else who wants to challenge him. Among the crowd, one asks another if Yi is that person they met when younger, revealing his own number, 156, and asking the other, number 172, if he is interested in a match. Meanwhile, the Warhouse Master observes that Phase 2 is nearly over and realizes it will soon be time for the houses to recruit the freshmen. He is certain that Yi, now recognized as an outstanding talent, will become the focus of every house's attention. Miss May looks toward Housemaster Wu, wondering how they can possibly recruit him. Wu reassures her not to worry, revealing that he is well prepared and determined to bring Yi into his house. Elsewhere, in another match, the system announces that Wang Li is the winner and his rank rises to 10, while Shen drops to 16. Wang congratulates Shen on a good match, while Shen, lying on the ground, mulls over how everyone is challenging him when he is severely weakened. He feels as if they all want to trample on him while he's down, and burning with resentment, vows that once he recovers from his injuries, he will make them all regret it. The system finally announces the overall results. Yi takes first place, Chu is in second, and Song is in third. The headmaster steps forward, declaring that the free challenge match is over and the freshman competition has come to an end. With all the ranks now rearranged, the students' accommodations and points will also be updated. He encourages everyone not to worry if they find themselves ranked lower with fewer points, reminding them that as long as they work hard, there are many ways to earn points at the school. The Warhouse Master announces that it is now time for the house arrangement session, and he introduces the 5 house masters, each of whom will explain the educational philosophy of their respective houses. He begins by reminding everyone that although the dark age of invasion by otherworldly races is over, many still perish on the battlefield, and the mission of combat academies is to cultivate students' strength and increase their survivability. The housemaster of the Element House explains that their house recruits classes that primarily use elemental powers, promising to lead students to uncover the truth of the elements. The Armament House housemaster follows, explaining that their philosophy is to maximize the use of weapons, rather than relying solely on skills, and inviting students to join if they wish to become the strongest with just their bodies and weapons. The Tactic House housemaster addresses the crowd, announcing that the Tactic House seeks to train tactical students to command operations. She notes that any class can join, and stresses the importance of a top-tier commander class in reducing the mortality rate of an entire legion. The Logistic House housemaster then welcomes students from lifestyle classes, emphasizing that while they do not focus on combat, they offer the most professional education for lifestyle classes. A competent logistics line, he reminds them, is the backbone of any operation. The Warhouse Master concludes the introductions, announcing that all houses have now been explained, and inviting students to register with the system to choose their intended houses. Chu turns to Yi, asking which house he plans to choose. The Warhouse Master quietly whispers an offer to be his personal mentor if he joins the Warhouse. He explains that each mentor can personally select an elite student, and that the house's resources will favor that student. He adds that he has prepared special welcome gifts, 3 Grade A skill books and 1 Grade A resource exchange request. Not to be outdone, the Elemental Housemaster approaches, urging Yi to consider their house and promising a set of legendary equipment. The Armament Housemaster hurries over as well, telling him that anything that can increase his strength will be his to use if he joins their ranks. All the Housemasters begin to compete for Yi's attention, pushing forward with their offers. The Warhouse Master jostles the others, insisting he arrived first, while the Armament Housemaster argues that sincerity is more important than order of arrival. Just as the tension rises, the headmaster shocks everyone by offering to take Yi as his personal disciple. All the housemasters are left speechless. The headmaster turns to him and explains that he will perform a bloodline forging technique if he accepts. When Yi asks what that means, the headmaster describes it as a forbidden grade spell that, when used in conjunction with the blood of another race, grants a special bloodline. This technique will drastically enhance his physical capabilities, and he will receive additional free points and skill points every time he levels up. One student is astounded, exclaiming that casting a forbidden grade spell immediately is outrageous and unprecedented. Another, more informed, explains that Headmaster Wang Hui's disciples stand at the very pinnacle of China's associations. The Tianyu Association's president himself is a disciple, and if Yi becomes Wang's disciple, he will gain the support of Wang's extensive network and rapidly rise to the top. Shen can only stew in frustration, thinking our protagonist is blessed with incredible fortune. If not for him, Shen would be in first place and could have received such powerful support from Headmaster Wang himself. Chu, meanwhile, observes quietly, convinced that with a new bloodline, Brother Yi will only become stronger. The old housemaster bursts out in laughter, never expecting our boy to be so exceptional that even the headmaster would personally vie for him. The headmaster, unfazed, tells everyone that there are plenty of surprises still in store regarding Yi, and reveals that this reward is actually something the Snowdragon Legion's captain specifically requested he deliver. Shen's mind races as he spots the gold medal in the headmaster's hand, finding it hard to believe. Not even the Shen family of Ning'an's great 8 families possesses such a medal. Why does Yi receive an honor not even granted to them? Song, equally astonished, wonders if her eyes deceive her. Isn't that an honor medal? Chu clarifies for him that it is indeed a gold medal, recounting how her grandfather fought on the front lines for years and earned only a silver medal. She points out the inscription. It is awarded in respect to those who have made significant contributions to the civilization of China. Yi himself is baffled, unable to grasp how or when he contributed so greatly to his country. The headmaster addresses him directly, explaining that he is well aware of Yi's actions in Tempest Valley, which more than merit the Outstanding Achievement Gold Medal. Our protagonist is taken aback, thinking to himself that it's hard to believe a medal of such caliber could be awarded simply for defeating a demon legion. There must be a hidden reason behind it. Still, he thanks the headmaster sincerely. The old housemaster chides him for his stiffness, telling him to call the headmaster teacher. Yi accepts the offer, addressing the headmaster as his teacher and expressing his honor at becoming his student. The headmaster wastes no time, announcing that they should leave together at once. The warhousemaster wonders aloud if the headmaster is simply afraid they will snatch Yi away from him. In a flash of bright light, the headmaster disappears with our boy. The other housemasters immediately turn to Chu, offering her the same temptations promised to Yi if she will become their personal disciple. Housemaster Wu warns Old Song not to deliberately oppose him, while Old Song fires back that since Yi has already been recruited by the headmaster, there's no way he'll let Zhang Churan go to Wu. Meanwhile, the headmaster leads Yi to his private mansion, explaining that this place is mostly used for storing valuable items, and that our protagonist can always come here if he needs anything. Today, he will guide Yi in choosing the materials required for the bloodline forging technique. The headmaster lays out several diagrams and begins to explain that, while most are drawn to the forbidden grade spell itself, they overlook the real core of bloodline metamorphosis, the source blood. He tells Yi that a regular human's bloodline potential is extremely limited, and as one's level increases, the stat gains from each level up weaken. This is why, when most classes reach their limit and cannot level up further, they choose to merge with other race blood to enhance their power. The teacher notes that, naturally, with tertiary awakening, each level demands a tremendous amount of experience. He is currently level 64, a stage where most otherworld monsters are leader-level bosses, rarely defeated easily. The headmaster reveals that he has prepared 3 source bloods for Yi, each from a divine race: Angel, Titan, and Dragon. He explains that the bloodline forging technique can only grant a single unique bloodline, so Yi must choose carefully from these 3. The angel source blood is extracted from an angel's corpse, members of the God of Light's divine race, and merging with it will grant Yi extremely high light affinity. The Titan source blood comes from those who worshipped the God of Thunder, and who are naturally gifted in controlling lightning. Merging with it will vastly amplify any of his lightning-type abilities. The dragon source blood, on the other hand, comes from the direct descendants of the dragon god, containing the purest dragon lineage, and will allow Yi to exert a natural pressure over all beast races. All 3, Angel, Titan, and Dragon, are at least level 60, marking them as high-tier races. Continuing, the headmaster explains that while the Titan and Dragon source bloods are powerful and will mainly boost Yi's strength and mana, the Angel source blood, due to his affinity with the God of Light, might bring him improvements beyond imagination. After some thought, our boy informs his teacher that he chooses the Angel source blood. Wang, pleased, notes that Yi seems highly compatible with this option and mentions that he is his 5th student, with 4 seniors whom he will introduce in due course. Yi then asks, unable to contain his curiosity, why he would receive a gold medal for his deeds. Surely, eliminating a demon legion is not enough for such recognition. The teacher, deciding to be candid, reveals that Yi's actions at Tempest Valley exposed the enemy's plan, leading the military to discover that otherworld creatures can slip into China via medium-sized cracks. Yi grasps the significance of this, asking if it means there are already many otherworld creatures hidden across China. The teacher confirms this, stating that initial investigations have found evidence of hundreds of such cracks, though, for now, the invaders are low-level enough for the Legion to handle. He adds that legions nationwide have been mobilized to eradicate these threats, and that the Academy's mission system will offer related tasks. As his instructor, he hopes to see Yi grow as strong as his seniors, and one day offer his strength to the nation. The headmaster then informs him that there are still more preparations to complete for the bloodline forging technique, and recommends that he rest first. He hands Yi a box-shaped teleportation device, instructing him to use it at 9 o'clock the following morning. Left to his thoughts, Yi checks his system for daily routine updates, considering what he should do next. He recalls that the final result of bloodline forging depends not just on the source blood, but also on his constitution and luck. Remembering the S-grade potion he obtained after slaying the demonic prince, he checks its details and learns it will be effective for the next 12 months, so he drinks it without hesitation. The system congratulates him on obtaining an S-grade treasure, the Long Ning fruit, and he reads its details carefully. Deciding there is no reason to wait, he prepares to visit his teacher. On the other side, the old housemaster comments to the headmaster that obtaining even a single vial of angel source blood is extraordinary, since the corpse of an angel is so rare that it could spark wars between several legions. Wang simply replies that he has waited a long time for someone like Yi, and now that he's here, there is nothing to hesitate about. He is fully satisfied with his choice. Meanwhile, Yi teleports to his teacher's mansion, where Wang welcomes him and tells him the bloodline forging technique is ready. Wang instructs Yi to remove his clothes and sit in the center of the formation, which he does obediently. The headmaster asks Master Zhou to activate the formation and stands ready to protect the process. Master Zhou complies, and as the bloodline forging technique begins, radiant light pours from our protagonist's body while power circulates around him. Soon, a blue liquid covers Yi completely as Wang and Zhou closely observe the changes. Master Zhou remarks in amazement that the freeze is incredibly powerful, suggesting that Yi possesses a special bloodline from the beginning. Master Zhou observes the ritual closely, marveling that if Yi ever decides to change his class to mage, he could easily become one of the top ice mages based on his terrifying frost abilities alone. Wang replies that he is aware Yi's sister is currently awakening a first bloodline, leading him to suspect the boy might share the same trait. For this reason, the headmaster was confident that the angel bloodline, being one of the top bloodlines, should be able to suppress any lesser bloodlines during the forging process. He hadn't expected complications, but now witnesses how the angel and frost bloodlines are locked in a struggle, countering and balancing each other with remarkable intensity. To possess such a high-quality frost bloodline, Wang contemplates, there must be more to Yi's lineage than meets the eye. The headmaster considers the origins of humanity's other race bloodlines, reasoning that most trace back to the earliest Eternal Game players. As reality merges with the Eternal Game, those with higher levels inherit more complete bloodline legacies. The sheer parity between Yi's frost power and the angel bloodline suggests that one of his ancestors was likely among the earliest high-level participants in the Eternal Game. Otherwise, a descendant like our protagonist could never manifest such a potent frost bloodline. Without this interference, the angel source blood would completely absorb into Yi's body. But now, the two powerful bloodlines are fiercely opposed. If the frost bloodline were eradicated, the angel source blood would likely be depleted as well. Master Zhou notes with concern that a huge amount of angel source blood has already been lost, predicting that the final effect might not even compare to consuming a lesser-grade treasure. All they can do is entrust the youth's fate to destiny. Any attempt to forcibly stop the ritual could cause his death through self-destruction. He sincerely hopes Yi will have good fortune. Suddenly, the system notifies him that his gate of consciousness has opened and he is entering his mental realm. Within this realm, a mysterious woman greets him, asking if he has finally arrived. He looks around, questioning if this is truly his mental realm. The woman addresses him as her child, congratulates him for receiving God's blessing, and tells him that God has sent her to grant him true strength, promising that he will be unrestrained by morals or rules, free to follow only his desires. She asks if he accepts this power. Yi, unimpressed, summons his holy light hammer and strikes her on the head. The woman cries out in surprise, asking what he thinks he is doing, then raises her hand and begins weaving magic, insisting she hopes he won't disappoint her. Angered by his defiance, she shouts that he dares offend the divinities, and that God will bring divine punishment upon him, leaving not a trace of his body behind. She commands Yi to kneel and beg for forgiveness, promising she may consider pardoning him on God's behalf. The young saint knight, resolute, tells her that there is no need for such submission, and points his hammer at her. She calls him an insolent brat and conjures magical chains to bind him. Yi sees an array of large red eyes staring at him, a sign of the consequences for disrespecting Master Exia. Now furious, our boy rebukes her, declaring that Exia is nothing more than an underling of an evil god. The woman, further enraged, calls him insolent and slaps him, reiterating that he has caught her master's attention and that she has been sent to baptize him. She claims he should rejoice, for Exia will lead him back to the righteous path. Yi summons all his power, struggling fiercely to break free, all the while sensing a corrupt, malicious energy gnawing at his thoughts. Red, powerful lights surge from his body. Meanwhile, Master Zhou and Headmaster Wang anxiously monitor the situation. Wang wonders aloud why the angel source blood contains the power of an evil god. Could it be that the angel was slain by such a being? He blasts Yi with a surge of magical light, attempting to aid him. Master Zhou realizes the boy is in dire danger, that the evil god's power is bent on obliterating the angel's strength. Wang, however, notices a change. Rather than weakening, the angel's power within Yi is actually growing stronger. Inside the mental realm, the protagonist draws on all his strength, snaps the magical chains, and unleashes his frost power upon the woman. She is shocked, unable to understand how his soul, nearly consumed moments ago, can now wield such overwhelming divine force. As she is frozen solid, Yi transforms into an angelic form, raises his hammer, and strikes her down, denouncing her as an evil god's underling. With a shout for her to die, he smashes his hammer into her, shattering her form into countless pieces. Suddenly, as the fragments disperse, the evil god himself materializes before him. The being regards Yi with cold amusement, asking if he is merely trying to tickle him, and addresses him as a little guy. The evil god informs Yi that his resistance is nothing more than a minor annoyance, insignificant in the face of his grand design. Our protagonist, refusing to yield, shatters the chains binding him and unfurls his immense wings, taking flight. As he ascends, a wave of frost radiates from his form, freezing everything around him. The god is momentarily stunned, questioning if Yi is somehow activating a formation. Surrounded by surging freezing power, the deity finds himself impaled by massive ice spikes as they erupt and spear through his body. Despite the pain, he tells Yi that he will graciously accept such a present, but reminds him that what humans call power is nothing more than the fading light granted by a god. As Master Exia's most devout follower, the Evil One boasts that the power he wields is far beyond anything a mortal like Yi can imagine. Suddenly he unleashes brutal light rays at our boy, who deftly dodges the attacks. Chains come hurtling next, enormous and relentless, yet still fail to catch him. Tauntingly, the god mocks him, declaring that worms only know how to flee. At that moment, a powerful portal bursts open, releasing an intense, blinding light. Yi quickly raises his holy shield, protecting himself from the searing radiance. Drawing on his magic, he slices through the divine rays with a force that stuns his opponent. The evil god, unable to comprehend what he is witnessing, reels as Yi advances, and in a startling move, plunges a finger into one of his many eyes. A tremendous ray of light bursts from the wound, and the god recoils in disbelief, shouting that such power is impossible and demanding to know where this strength originates. The blinding light overwhelms him, sending the deity tumbling and screaming in denial. When the brilliance fades, the sign of Yi's master, Wang, appears in front of him, and our protagonist returns to his original form, clutching the sign in his hands. Back at Headmaster Wang's villa, a brilliant yellow light swirls around Yi's body. Old Housemaster Zhou marvels at the angelic power that has completely eradicated the corruption. Wang explains that the angel bloodline and frost bloodline within his disciple have fused in a way he has never seen before. Above Yi's head, an angel materializes, and holy protective circles orbit his body as a glowing holy sign appears on his chest. The angel gently lays her hand on him, channeling divine power into his form. He opens his eyes, revealing the unmistakable sign of a holy cross shining within them. Zhou remarks to Wang that Yi is truly fortunate, having received the God of Light's blessing in his moment of crisis, and thereby averting disaster. Our boy stands, steady and transformed, as Wang moves closer and asks how he feels. Yi, feeling the surge within, replies that his power has undergone a dramatic, qualitative improvement. The system promptly informs him of his new special bloodline, the Six-Winged Angel. It lists the details of his inherited talents and all the new abilities at his disposal. He tells his master that he has gained the Six-Winged Angel bloodline and inherited 2 bloodline talents. Shu is astonished by this revelation, recognizing how rare and supreme the Six-Winged Angel truly is. Headmaster Wang, pleased, congratulates his disciple and points out that the forging has been a resounding success. He confirms that the Six-Winged Angel bloodline is the highest among all angels, and assures Yi that the talents he has just inherited will continue to evolve, reaching S+ grades as his level increases. Our protagonist then asks about a legendary bloodline technique, the S+ grade Angel Physique. The system responds instantly, presenting details about the Angel Physique Plus technique, its attributes, and unique powers. It also warns him that, until he reaches level 50 and fully absorbs the Angel bloodline, using this technique will leave him weakened each time he invokes it. Headmaster Wang instructs Yi to activate the secret technique now, eager to see firsthand how much his power has increased. The system immediately prompts the activation of the bloodline technique, Angel Physique S+, encouraging our protagonist to release the full potential of his bloodline. As a descendant of the Six-Winged Angel, the higher Yi's level becomes, the more power he can draw forth. He channels Angel Physique, and immediately his body becomes a vessel for the overwhelming power of angels. Elemental energy surges around him, and a radiant energy circle appears on his forehead, releasing torrents of elemental force. Master Zhou is astounded by the magnitude of the elemental energy waves. The headmaster watches with growing satisfaction, declaring it excellent, and estimates that, with this bloodline secret technique, Yi's strength has increased at least 5-fold. Wang inquires about his condition, and Yi reports that his body is brimming with unprecedented strength. The light and ice elements feel as if they are his most loyal companions, completely at his command. Suddenly, a nearby robot begins to sound a warning, alerting them to high-level elemental energy and activating level 3 defense protocols while streaming detailed data about the phenomenon. Unfazed, Wang muses that Six-Winged Angels truly are the darlings of elemental energy. He quickly tells our boy to deactivate the secret technique before the room's defense system reacts more aggressively. Yi complies, cooling down and ceasing the flow of energy. Zhou asks if something is wrong. Yi explains that, while the secret technique drastically improved his strength, even without combat or prolonged use, his entire body now feels sore and bloated. The headmaster explains that the bloodline secret technique exponentially increases Yi's power, but the Six-Winged Angel bloodline is simply too potent for him to handle without consequence at his current level. He advises him to reserve this technique as his final trump card. With the Six-Winged Angel bloodline, 2 evolutionary talents, and an S+ grade bloodline technique, Angel Physique, Zhou concludes that for other freshmen to catch up to Yi is likely just a dream. Based on the signs of his bloodline activation, Zhou speculates that Yi's sister's frost bloodline might be equally formidable. Wang recommends that if Yi wants his sister to awaken her bloodline in optimal condition, he should have the frozen lotus refined into a frost pill for her. He mentions that the university's specialized pill forging department can handle the order directly through the school system. Yi confirms he understands, and Wang instructs him to rest well. Before leaving, Zhou asks the headmaster about the earlier danger, how Yi was touched by the power of an evil god. He emphasizes that if anything had happened, it would have been a tremendous loss for Sukang University, and even for the country itself. Wang reassures him that it was only by the God of Light's protection that Yi survived, and promises to launch a thorough investigation, determined not to overlook a single clue. He teleports back to his university residence, already contemplating the process for forging the frost pill. Besides the main ingredient, the frozen lotus, he also needs a grade A treasure, icicle grass. While the Snow Dragon Legion will deliver the frozen lotus soon, the icicle grass must be acquired separately. He calculates that a bronze medal costs 500 points, a silver medal costs 1,000, and a gold medal costs 2,000 points. With his current balance, buying the icicle grass from the school market should be straightforward. Just then, a knock interrupts his thoughts. Opening the door, he finds Miss Su waiting outside. Yi asks if she has business with him, and she comments on his transformation, remarking that his newfound nobility isn't just from higher levels, but from a truly elevated bloodline. Miss Su explains that Housemaster Wu asked her to bring Yi the resources promised to him by the War House. He clarifies that he has already chosen Wang Hui as his teacher, so why would Wu send resources? She settles onto his sofa, explaining that while the headmaster is his personal mentor, his regular courses will still be at the War House. The resources she brings are distributed to all high-ranking students by the War House, not just him. Now understanding, Yi muses about Miss Su's role, curious if a mage can really teach at the War House. She answers his unspoken question, affirming that mages can indeed teach there, and urges him to review his resources. With a flick of magic, she displays a massive list of treasures for Yi to choose from. He is pleased to find exactly what he needs, crediting his luck potion as expected. With the frozen lotus soon to arrive and the right supplementary ingredients, he can begin forging the frost pill. He signs the contract without hesitation, thanking her for her help. Once business is concluded, Miss Su's demeanor shifts. She stands up, her tone stern. She scolds Yi for his recklessness in venturing deep into Tempest Valley. While training is important, entering the deeper zones without adequate strength is simply foolish, she warns. He must always ensure he is strong enough to protect himself before acting. Yi listens, unable to explain that the system's protection kept him safe and that he always had control over the situation in Tempest Valley. Her expression softens as she admits that, every year, many geniuses graduate from Sukang University, but only a small fraction become true elites. Many have fallen due to accidents or misfortune. She insists that her warnings are not nagging, but grounded in concern. It is always better to be careful. Yi promises that he understands and assures her he'll heed her advice. He then asks if she can recommend any safe training grounds for real combat experience, given his recent surge in strength. Miss Su brings Yi to the university's training ground, explaining that he can use the facility's robots for realistic combat training and set various difficulty levels. The bots can be programmed from level 1 to 10 combat forms, with the highest level able to match the strength of a level 20 class. She starts up the robots from the control room and informs him that his entire challenge will be recorded by the camera orbs, which will generate a detailed report on his performance. Reminding him that the robots are dangerous, she recommends beginning with lower difficulty settings. With her final instructions given, she excuses herself for class, urging Yi to measure his limits and avoid overexertion. Now alone, our boy prepares for the challenge, commanding the camera orb to initiate training at level 7 combat form. The robot immediately confirms and executes his command, readying the arena for the next test of his burgeoning power. The training session begins as the robot's camera system announces the activation of combat monitoring, deploying 50 combat training robots and warning Yi that level 7 combat form has been engaged. In an instant, the robots open fire. He swiftly dodges their bullets, weaving through the barrage. Seizing an opportunity to test the frost power he gained from merging with the frost bloodline, our protagonist leaps onto a robot and delivers a powerful punch, shattering it into pieces. In response, the remaining units unleash streams of fire, but he blocks the assault with his holy shield and presses forward. Deciding to escalate, Yi unleashes his Frost Winds, his signature move, Frost Tempest. The chilling gales sweep across the training ground, rapidly immobilizing and freezing the robots in their tracks. Within seconds, the entire arena is encased in ice, not a single machine left moving. The system congratulates him for passing the level 7 combat form test and begins calculating his training results, providing a detailed report. Without hesitation, Yi commands the camera orb to initiate the level 10 combat form. The orb notifies him that, due to the extensive damage to the training robots, a backup plan is now in effect. A massive robot, far larger and more formidable, steps forward. The system explains that this is the supernatural-grade training robot, equivalent in strength to a regular level 25 class, and will operate using the highest intelligence protocols to optimize both offense and defense. For safety, the system will intervene if his well-being is at risk. Now, our boy is ready to go all out. The countdown begins, and the system signals the start. Immediately, the supernatural-grade opponent launches an assault, hurling frost power at him, forcing Yi to sprint for his life. Watching for an opening, he retaliates with his hammer, striking the giant machine while the system feeds him real-time data on its abilities. Yi aims to disarm his opponent, but the robot counters, firing a devastating light ray that knocks him back and causes him to lose his grip on the weapon. The mechanical voice announces that it has successfully disarmed him. The system reports that attack system synchronization is complete, and the robot's combat capabilities have been amplified. It now stands before Yi, launching waves of fire. He invokes his magical shield once more, but the constant defense begins to drain his energy. Just as our protagonist struggles to hold his ground, the system updates him. Weapon model optimization is complete and coming online. The robot's form shifts, transforming into a wolf that charges after him with incredible speed, replicating the Tempest wolves. Realizing the threat, Yi activates his angel physique, challenging the machine to replicate his divine transformation. At that moment, someone else enters the training ground, placing her hand on the scanner. The system beeps, identifying the newcomer as Chiran. She reflects on her recent decision to become Housemaster Song's personal disciple, which granted her access to rare resources and accelerated her cultivation. Although she struggled with the level 7 combat form before, she is now eager to try again. The system reminds her that her last recorded challenge result was level 6 and apologizes, explaining that heavy damage to the training robots requires her to reschedule her attempt for tomorrow. Chiran notices the display screens filled with warning signals and sees that a student is currently challenging the level 10 combat form. She is surprised, knowing that this training ground is meant for freshmen. Most struggle with level 6, and even Yi, her brother, would not find challenging level 10 an easy feat. The system displays details about holy chains, radiant bindings that restrain enemy movements. Yi shouts the spell, and countless brilliant chains shoot out, wrapping around the robotic wolf and securing it from further action. Simultaneously, the wolf's internal system detects an anomaly, failing to match the skill in its database. Its analysis falters, unable to provide answers. Meanwhile, the system informs our protagonist that Vision of Light scans enemy weaknesses and reveals hidden abilities. Following this guidance, he delivers a decisive punch to the wolf's chest, utterly destroying it. Moments later, the system announces the final protocol. The self-destruction sequence executes, signaling the end of the battle. Chiran enters the training ground, immediately noticing the thick smoke. The system declares that the level 10 combat form challenge has been cleared and that the entrance access has been reactivated. Because of the extensive damage within the training field, it suggests visiting again in a week for repairs. As she walks further in, the system congratulates Yi, announcing that he cleared the trial in 8 minutes and 32 seconds. It then provides him with a detailed summary of the points and powers he earned, advising that he now needs to contract a magic pet to strengthen his potential. Chiran soon finds him and asks if the bloodline forging is complete, amazed by how much stronger he has become in just one day. Yi confirms, explaining that he now possesses the rare 6-winged angel bloodline. She expresses genuine admiration, remarking on how exceptional and precious such a divinity bloodline is compared to her own succubus one, which, though above average, is still common. He then asks if she can accompany him to the magic pet market. Chiran quickly agrees, reassuring him that the market is nearby. Together, they arrive at the bustling magic pet market in Fantasy Alley. The first shopkeeper presents a silver-tier fire tiger cub, able to grow to level 20, priced at 110 points. Another introduces a level 19 adult dragonhorn rhino with a draconic bloodline for 210 points, stressing that it's first come, first served. Holding Yi's hand, Chiran asks if he already has a type of pet in mind. A third vendor offers a silver-tier golden-clawed green hawk egg at a bargain price. Yi shares that he once tamed a tempest wolf in Tempest Valley, but after defeating the demonic sun, he fell into a coma and lost the chance to contract it. Now he hopes to find a tempest wolf cub with wind elemental skills. A nearby shopkeeper responds immediately, revealing he has exactly that. Introducing himself as Liu Zhu, a third-year logistics student and level 22 trainer, he proudly explains he raised the cub himself. Trainers like Liu, Chiran notes, belong to specialized skill classes, and their pets are often of higher quality. Yi agrees. Liu presents the cub, saying it is about 10 days old, its mother a silver-tier tempest wolf, and his examination confirmed silver-tier talent. He offers it for 60 points. Yi asks about gold-tier cubs, but Liu explains they are rare in the entire market, promising to notify him if one appears. The young knight decides to examine the offered cub. The cub roars as soon as Yi takes it in his hands. Chiran observes that it looks far too small and malnourished, but Liu reassures them that tempest wolves are naturally small at birth. Despite its condition, Yi insists on purchasing it, telling her that there are no useless pets, only useless masters, and he has great hopes for the cub. She supports his decision. Liu includes a contract scroll with the 60-point purchase, allowing Yi to bind the cub. Within seconds, the Tempest Wolf undergoes a dramatic transformation, rapidly growing stronger. Onlookers notice the event, and one man wonders if the dark purple light indicates a legendary tier magic pet. Another customer even offers 1,000 points for it. Chiran congratulates him, realizing the cub was a devolved legendary pet that regained its true tier upon receiving Yi's magic. Liu regrets the sale bitterly. She then asks if he has thought of a name, and he decides to call it Gray. Now desperate, Liu demands either an additional 1,500 points or the contract's removal in exchange for a refund. He warns of consequences if Yi refuses. A nearby shopkeeper points out Liu's negligence in verifying the tier, while a woman whispers that Liu has the powerful Liu family's backing. An old man mutters that, fair or not, Yi may not be able to keep the pet. Confused and angry, Yi exclaims that he has never heard of someone demanding more money after a sale. Flames flicker around him as his fury grows. He glares at Liu, warning him to stop dreaming and leave. Feeling the killing intent, Liu collapses to his knees, admitting he sensed death in that single glare. Yi kicks him back, forcing him to beg for forgiveness and insist it was a misunderstanding. He promises to let Yi keep the cub. With a stern warning to stay out of his way, Yi departs with Chiran and Gray, leaving the market behind. Chiran asks Yi if she can visit him to play with Gray in the future, and he warmly agrees, telling her she can come by anytime. In the market, a girl points out to her friend that she believes that's the #1 freshman, Yi. Her friend wonders aloud if he's the one whom the headmaster personally recruited as a disciple, mentioning she's heard he even received a gold medal. Meanwhile, a man in the crowd remarks that Liu has always acted with impunity thanks to the Liu family's authority, but now he has finally provoked someone he shouldn't. Suddenly, a tall man demands the crowd make way for him. Liu Wu has arrived, intent on standing up for his brother. As Liu desperately begs his elder to get justice for him, Liu Wu shocks everyone by punching his own brother in the face, calling him useless trash, and questioning if he even understands what it means for a freshman to be awarded a golden medal. He tells him it's his fortune that they let him go, warns him not to linger and embarrass himself further, and orders him to leave as far away as possible. Stunned and humiliated, Liu can only wonder what mistake he made to anger such a formidable existence. Back with our protagonist, he notices the purple winds swirling around Gray, realizing that, as expected of a legendary tier Tempest Wolf cub, it can instinctively wield its wind powers even at such a young age. He thinks about whether the luck potion he used is still in effect, and if perhaps more good fortune is on the way. Just then, the doorbell rings. An army officer introduces himself as Zhao from the Snow Dragon Legion, handing Yi a large treasure box and explaining that this is the S-class treasure their legion promised him, the Frozen Lotus. Zhao asks him to please accept it, then informs him that now that the treasure has been delivered, he will return to the Legion for duty. Yi thanks him, asking Zhao to pass along his gratitude to the captains as well, and marvels at the speed and efficiency of the Snow Dragon Legion. Less than 3 days have passed since he left Tempest Valley, and already his reward is here. He quickly opens the treasure box and takes out the Frozen Lotus, thinking that if he can forge it into a frozen pill, Yoon's bloodline awakening crisis will be solved. Seeking more information, Yi consults the system about the frozen pills. The system provides all the relevant details, and as he reviews them, he realizes he can't book the forging service online. He'll need to go to the pill department in person. Without delay, he heads over and finds a girl at the reception desk. Politely, he asks if Sir Tian is available to help forge a pill, and she explains that Sir Tian is in a meeting, but she is his student, Lin Yi, and can assist him. She asks what kind of pill he'd like to have made and offers to answer any questions. He presents the Frozen Lotus, explaining that he needs it forged into an S-class frozen pill. Lin Yi is surprised, remarking that she thought he was just a freshman, and asks how he came to possess such rare treasures. She informs him that since he already has the Frozen Lotus and Icicle Grass prepared, all he needs to do is pay a 900-point production fee and leave his contact information. Once Sir Tian finishes forging the pill, she'll let him know it's ready for collection. Yi agrees, transfers the fee, and provides his information. Meanwhile, in the university canteen, one student tells another that recently, many places have discovered otherworld creatures. He asks if his friend has heard that numerous guilds and legions have been ordered back from the front lines. Yi overhears their conversation as another student explains that his friend in the legion said, it's because signs of otherworld creatures have appeared all across the country. Suddenly, he is pushed from behind and turns to find Song Lan, who expresses surprise to see him in this class as well. She explains that her personal mentor is Housemaster Wu, so it looks like they'll be classmates from now on, and she politely asks Yi to look after her. He responds in kind, asking her to look after him too, but Song laughs and says Yi is so strong, asking her to protect him is impossible. Still, If he ever needs her help, he only has to ask. At that moment, Miss May enters the classroom, greets the students, and introduces herself as the teacher responsible for monster studies and intelligence. Before starting the day's lesson, she announces important news. As the rumors said, there have been large-scale invasions by otherworld creatures within the country's borders. While these invaders are not particularly strong, the government is taking their presence extremely seriously, raising the alert to level 3 combat preparation and significantly increasing resources allocated to schools. As a result, resources distributed to students based on their rankings at Sukang University will rise by 70%, and rewards for completing school missions will also be much greater. Furthermore, the Abyss mode of the school's 3 realms will be opened, though students will need to purchase Abyss stones with points to unlock access. A student excitedly comments that the nation has poured in massive resources to cultivate strong talent at any cost, and he's eager to finally access Abyss mode for more XP and increased mission rewards. It seems clear the school is preparing for something big. Miss May quiets the students with a flick of her fingers, reminding them that regardless of how many resources they receive, their job as students is to focus on getting stronger. She instructs everyone to open their textbooks and begin the day's lesson. As they get started, one student tells another that he tried to challenge the Goblin Dungeon's boss yesterday and lost several hundred points after being defeated. His friend replies that it's his own fault for trying nightmare difficulty and asks if he regrets it. The first student admits he hadn't expected the final boss to be so tough. Yi considers his own situation. Now that he's level 19 and has the Frozen Lotus, there's no need for him to risk returning to Tempest Valley. Abyss-level Goblin Dungeon is the perfect spot for him to farm experience. After class, Yi finds Charan waiting for him outside. He asks what brings her here, and she admits she heard that the school's 3 realms have increased their rewards and wants to invite him to try them out together. He laughs, saying that's exactly what he was planning to do as well. The two of them head to the training ground, where Charan asks which difficulty level he intends to challenge. He tells her he's going for Abyss level, then asks about her choice. She says Abyss level is too difficult for her, as the gap in their strengths is simply too wide, and she can only attempt the hard difficulty for now. He reassures her by gently holding her hand, promising that once he clears Abyss level, he'll team up with her for another challenge. Charan makes him promise, then covers her eyes and says she'll challenge hard difficulty first, telling him to do his best. Wai reminds her to stay safe. Suddenly, a commotion erupts nearby as a student shouts at Shuming, demanding to know why he's there. He announces to the crowd that it's been ages since anyone from the Earth rank attempted a realm challenge, and asks if Shai doesn't know that breaking a dungeon record earns an achievement talent. Without special encounters, it's nearly impossible to earn one, so it's no wonder Shi hurried over. At that moment, the realm's door swings open and the system repeats Yi's earlier words, declaring that it's boring and he will go ahead and challenge the Abyss realm. The Goblin Dungeon's difficulty is set to Abyss level, with entry limited to those between levels 17 and 21. As a level 19 Saint Knight, Yi qualifies for entry. The other students whisper among themselves, wondering if he is truly the #1 freshman, while one laughs and mocks his arrogance, predicting he'll just waste his 400 points. She observes that the influx of resources seems to have made some students overconfident. The system informs Yi that he has selected Abyss level, the most challenging difficulty, and that 400 points will be automatically deducted from his account in exchange for an Abyss magic stone. It continues, notifying him that he has been teleported into a goblin dungeon and warning him that monsters in the Abyss realm are much more vicious due to the increased difficulty. If he feels overwhelmed, the system instructs him to smash the Abyss magic stone to exit the realm immediately. Our protagonist surveys his surroundings, wondering why the area looks like a ruin, and whether this devastation is the result of goblins conquering and destroying everything in their path. Suddenly, a goblin attacks from behind, but Yi senses the threat and counters with a powerful punch. He quickly observes that this dungeon is swarming with goblins, and as the system provides details about these monsters, he sees them all charging toward him. His excitement grows, thinking these powerful enemies are truly worth the challenge. As the goblins leap at him, he brings out his warhammer, smashing through the wave of attackers. More and more monsters appear, and he realizes the true difficulty of this realm lies in the endless goblin grunts launching suicide attacks, rapidly draining his mana. The young knight leaps into battle, determined to conserve as much mana as possible to unleash his most powerful skills against the boss. He employs his shining phantom slash, effortlessly cutting down goblins as the system congratulates him for defeating the horde and informs him of the points he has earned. Nonetheless, Yi notes that, as expected, leveling up has become much harder at his current stage. Despite having defeated so many goblins, he is still a long way from reaching level 20 and hopes that defeating the boss will yield enough rewards to help him advance. He pushes open a massive door, wondering where the final boss awaits, and suddenly the Goblin King appears before him. The system immediately provides details about this new foe, who challenges the intruder with a sneer, calling him a foolish human and welcoming him to the land of death he has prepared. The Goblin King berates him for slaughtering his people so carelessly, then lets out a furious roar, commanding Yi to die. Our boy leaps into the air and strikes with his warhammer, only to find the attack has little effect. He quickly realizes this boss is far stronger and faster than expected, likely a strength type yet with impressive speed. He attacks again with his full power, but the Goblin King activates the dominant body skill, reflecting him away and taunting him by asking if he's only capable of leaving scratches. Yae understands that relying solely on physical attacks is ineffective, so he calls forth light chains that pierce the monster's body and bind it. The Goblin King is shocked, finding himself unable to move, while the Saint Knight notes that its magic resistance is surprisingly low. He taunts the monster, inviting it to enjoy his special gift before hurling a massive fire attack. He reflects that, for an Abyss-level realm boss, the Goblin King is surprisingly weak. The system congratulates him and informs Yi of the rewards he has just received. He is pleased that he managed to conserve a large amount of mana in preparation for the boss fight, and his hunch was right. Setting a new record on the Abyss-level map has granted him a new talent. The system announces that because he set a new record, he will unlock a new achievement talent and lists the details. With his newly acquired grade A talent, Rapid Casting, Yi is confident he will become even more powerful. He decides it's time to leave, though he regrets coming so close to level 20 without quite reaching it. Still, with plenty of points earned, he considers bringing Ran along to challenge the Abyss-level realm again. Back at the university, the scorecard displays the top 6 students and their respective points. One student mentions that no one has cleared the Abyss realm until now. It's simply too hard, as anyone who enters is instantly surrounded by hundreds of silver-tier goblins and would die if they didn't escape quickly enough. As expected, the Abyss level is brutally difficult. Another comments that only Earth-rank elites like Ximing stand a chance. Chiran, relieved that she chose the hard difficulty, passes without issue, and now hopes her brother Yi can succeed. Another says he heard the Abyss-level realm was added to the freshman competition, and surprisingly, a lot of people passed. But his friend confirms that a level 19 Saint Knight named Yi got first place and set a new record. The crowd is astonished to hear the realm record was broken and someone finally cleared the Abyss difficulty. All eyes turn to the screen. A student wonders aloud if he's ever heard of Yi before, guessing he must be a senior. Another corrects him, saying he's actually the #1 freshman. Someone else protests that there's no way a level 19 could defeat the level 24 legendary Goblin King, no matter how strong he is, and insists he watched the freshman competition and can't believe how much the Saint Knight improved in just a few days. Another laughs, predicting that Brother Xuan entered the realm after Yi, and, though his progress is slower, once Xuan's clear record comes out, he'll push him down in the rankings. Suddenly, Brother Xuan returns in terrible condition, and his supporters are shocked to see him like this. He admits to his friend that the Abyss-level realm is too hard. He lost several pieces of golden grade equipment, and still failed. Xuan wonders what's happening among the students, and his friend tells him that Yi, the freshman who entered before him, spent only 10 minutes and 56 seconds to break the Abyss-level clear record. Xuan is stunned to learn Yi has taken first place. Students begin to shout as our protagonist emerges from the realm, and Xuan grows jealous, questioning how a level 19 freshman could possibly clear the Abyss realm and why he himself lost. He suspects cheating, since Yi only came out now, and decides to confront him with a fake smile, introducing himself, but the Saint Knight ignores him and continues walking, politely saying he has other business and bidding farewell. Xuan is left speechless by Yi's dismissive behavior. Chiran congratulates her brother on his success, admitting she could only barely clear the hard difficulty and that it's getting harder to keep up with him. Wai reassures her, saying the Goblin King is actually pretty easy to fight and promises to teach her all of his best tips for clearing. With his surplus of points, he offers to take her along to try the Abyss-level realm together, determined to help her learn how to clear it. Xuan, watching, is shocked that Yi wants to go back in so soon, and wonders if he really is a freshman, since he treats the Abyss realm as casually as his own home. He realizes this is the gap between true elites and ordinary students. Xuan's friend tries to encourage him, saying he nearly cleared it and might succeed if he tries once more, but Xuan feels only shame and depression, and his friend wonders what's wrong with him. Later, Xuan sits alone in his room, reflecting that some people appear to be heroes but reveal their true selves at the slightest setback. This is how real elites behave, with each new wave pushing the old to the shore. He resigns himself, deciding there's no need to challenge the realm again and accepting his place in the order of things. Yi discusses with Chiran how this is actually their second time teaming up, and it feels like just yesterday they were adventuring together in Tempest Valley. She also recalls that experience vividly, a memory still fresh and meaningful. Suddenly, our protagonist senses danger and, without hesitation, turns back to hurl the punishment of light at a lurking goblin, killing it instantly. The memory prompts Chiran to mention the time when she kissed him, explaining that the demons had pushed her into a corner back then, and it was only thanks to his bravery that she didn't choose self-destruction in her despair. Before they can say more, a horde of goblins emerges, swarming forward. Chiran notes that Abyss difficulty lives up to its reputation, as even ordinary goblins have incredibly high stats. Ai reassures her, pointing out that while their level is high, the creatures are actually rather fragile and only dangerous because they attack in overwhelming numbers. The system chimes in, providing more details on the goblin warriors. He suggests the wave is manageable as long as they're careful about skill consumption, proposing they each defend a side to prevent any from sneaking up behind them. Charan agrees. With coordinated teamwork, Yi employs his gift of God, while his partner uses her gift of protection alongside her weapon of blessing. As the monsters close in, our boy announces he will take the first wave and swings his warhammer, crushing many of them with powerful sweeping blows. When it's her turn, she unleashes her dark slash technique, cleaving through goblins with precision. The system congratulates her for defeating the horde and awards points, then does the same for Yi, who responds with a nod. Suddenly, the system issues a warning about the imminent appearance of the Goblin King, displaying detailed stats and abilities. The massive creature bursts onto the scene, his voice booming as he commands them to prepare for death and retribution for his people's suffering. Charan, feeling the pressure, asks Yi how he managed to clear the Abyss level before, knowing Abyss bosses aren't easy prey. He explains that the Goblin King looks intimidating but actually has weak spell resistance, and she should be able to defeat it with a strong spell-based attack. Eager to take the lead, Charan prepares her strongest spell, wondering if she should attempt the demonic power of her succubus bloodline. The system offers her information about the demonic blade's qualities, helping her strategize. She leaps into the air and attacks, but her effort fails. The Goblin King laughs, taunting her by saying that the demonic energy in her strike has only fueled his strength, elevating him to a new level. Without warning, he unleashes a ground-shattering shockwave at them. Charan reassures Yi that she's unharmed, but blames herself for failing to control the demonic power, inadvertently strengthening the enemy by letting him absorb it. Yi tells her not to worry and decides to see if his old tactics still work. He hurls Punishment of Light at the monster, but this time the skill proves far less effective. Its spell resistance has improved drastically. The young warrior tells her this fight may be tricky, and if he can't defeat the boss, she should crush the Abyss Stone and escape without hesitation, reminding her that a realm challenge isn't worth risking herself over. Yi attacks with his light chains, but the Goblin King effortlessly shatters them. At that tense moment, Charan's inner demon appears, chiding her for being too weak. The demon tells her that if she could fully master the demonic power in her succubus bloodline, brother Yi wouldn't be in such danger, and that it's time to release her true strength. While our protagonist struggles to restrain the Goblin King, determined not to let his companion be put in danger, he activates his angel physique. The monster, wielding his hammer, lands a crushing blow that sends Yi to the ground. When he looks up, he is astonished to see Charan transformed. She has embraced her demon form, radiating immense power, and the Goblin King recoils in shock. She declares that this is her royal power and confidently tells him to let her finish the fight. The beast is bewildered, unable to absorb her demonic energy as before, and instead feeling it eat away at his own strength. Charan, now fully in control, taunts him, assuring the foe that what he's experiencing is just the appetizer. The Goblin King, desperate, demands more demonic power, but she unleashes a devastating magical spell, shouting for him to die. The power of her spell is so overwhelming that even Yi finds it difficult to witness, blinded by its intensity. The system congratulates Miss Chu for defeating the boss Goblin King, announcing that she has earned 15 free stat points, 15 skill points, and a trove of additional rewards. After finishing off the monsters, she turns back to Yi, breathless, and tells him she finally managed to kill the monstrous foe. Our protagonist, still wary, quickly withdraws his hand and asks if she is truly Chu. As she regains her composure, her consciousness slowly returns. After a few seconds, she reverts to her original form and explains that everything that happened just now was because of the demonic power in her succubus bloodline, something she still struggles to control. Yi, seeing her exhaustion, suggests they team up and tackle the Abyss-level realm a few more times together, but she is tired and encourages him instead, saying she believes he will soon be able to solo the Abyss-level realm, especially once he becomes more familiar with the demonic power. He jokes that the Goblin King has become something of an old friend, and he trusts the boss will understand, since students always need to consider so many things to maximize realm rewards. Meanwhile, at the university, a group of students discusses the Abyss-level realm's extreme difficulty. One student wonders if Yi's success is just luck, while another argues that his strength is simply unrivaled and that anyone who doubts him is free to try it themselves. On the system screen in the university hall, Yi's name glows at the top of the leaderboard. Abyss level difficulty, progress 100%, clear time 9 minutes and 46 seconds, now confirmed as the fastest Abyss Goblin dungeon clear in school history. Students are stunned. Someone complains that Yi just won't give others a chance to clear in peace, while another points out that not only did he break his own record, but he even did it faster this time. They all agree that the true elites push themselves harder than anyone else. Their amazement only grows when another record flashes across the screen. Chu has cleared the Abyss level difficulty in 9 minutes and 23 seconds. The students are shocked to see that the freshman who previously could only challenge hard difficulty is now soloing Abyss. Another points out that she is the second strongest freshman, and it's not surprising she can fight above her level under Yi's guidance. The system provides a detailed listing of their achievements, and some students quietly admit they finally understand the sense of powerlessness that comes when realizing the vast gap between themselves and true geniuses. Now, Yi is challenging the Abyss level for the second time, and Chu has completed her first solo Abyss run and then her second time in a party with him. Afterward, she mentions that she heard the Elemental House has prepared a fireworks show for the freshmen and invites him to go watch together. Outside the Elemental House, she thanks him, saying it's because of him that she gained so much from the Abyss realm, but Yi credits her own efforts, insisting he merely gave her a little push. As they walk, Yi's attention is drawn to a massive statue atop the building. Chu explains that this is the Mage Yang, honored as the protective deity because he once single-handedly defended against several otherworld legions. His heroic deeds became legendary, but in his final battle, a demon lord attacked him from behind, resulting in his ultimate sacrifice. His soul was wiped out, beyond resurrection. Yi admits his knowledge of history is limited and asks her to tell him about the Dark Ages. She responds affirmatively, explaining that any discussion of the Dark Ages must begin with the Golden Age 80 years ago, in the year 2544. During that period, many talented classes emerged, earning it the title of the Golden Age. Legendary heroes such as the Tempest Sword Saint Chang Ping and the Heat Blade Saint Li appeared and are still fighting on the front lines today. However, when humanity was finally hopeful and ready to strike back at the Otherworld, the Dark Age suddenly descended, marking the most intense invasion of otherworld creatures ever seen. The elites of the Golden Age sacrificed everything in those battles. After 30 years of relentless war and the loss of millions of heroes, peace was finally restored, a peace now threatened by a new wave of invasions. Chu confides that she hopes her fears are wrong, but she cannot shake the sense of foreboding. Yi comforts her, suggesting that this time the influx of otherworld creatures likely slipped through from mid-sized dimension cracks. They are not as powerful as those from the past, and even if darkness descends again, it will be the otherworld creatures who are unfortunate this time. As he finishes reassuring her, the fireworks show begins, lighting up the night with color. Later, Yi is traveling on a train, feeling grateful that he now has the frozen pill, which will resolve Yun's illness once and for all. At his mansion, Yun nervously asks Qing why her brother is not back yet. Qing assures her not to worry, explaining that he called and will be home soon. Just then, the door opens and Yi enters, announcing his return. Yun runs up and hugs him tightly, joyfully welcoming him home, and confirms she has been taking her medicine as promised. Qing is overjoyed to see Yi return home and immediately asks how long he plans to stay this time. He tells her he'll be home for 3 or 4 days, explaining that his main purpose is to complete Yun's final treatment. The younger sister, always eager, asks if her big brother brought her any gifts. With a smile, our protagonist assures her he did. He presents her with a special reward from the Abyss-level realm, a horn that, when blown, will summon a golden-grade bear monster ghost to protect her. He tells Yun that once she's fully cured, he believes she can become as strong as he is. Suddenly the doorbell rings, and Yi is delighted to welcome Secretary Zhao and Madame Chui inside. Zhao explains that he contacted the priestess the previous night, and she rushed over immediately. Madame Chui remarks that an invitation from Yi is not something she can take lightly, and he insists she overestimates him, thanking her sincerely for coming to help. She almost forgets to congratulate him, and marvels aloud that not only did he find the frozen lotus, he managed to have it forged into the even more powerful frost pill. Zhou is astonished to learn about the pill, noting that S-grade pills are priceless and in high demand. Our protagonist credits the tertiary-turned-class pillmaster recommended by his teacher and suggests they get started on Yun's treatment without delay. Zhao agrees, and they prepare to begin. The girl looks at her brother with concern, asking if this is really safe. Ai reassures her, telling her not to worry. She just needs to eat the pill, and she will awaken the frost bloodline, after which the power of frost will no longer trouble her. Yun steels herself and gets ready. He explains to Madame Chui that he'll cast a series of buffs on his sister first. He starts with the Blessing of Protection, follows with the Blessing of Dawn, and finishes with the Blessing of Courage. The priestess senses the powerful aura of holy light and, despite being a secondary-turned priest herself, notes that Yi's holy light is even purer than hers. He then asks her to activate the formation, which she does promptly, instructing Yun to take the frost pill. Yun eats the pill and immediately the frost energy within her surges. Madame Chui alerts Yi that her patient's frost is bursting out and asks if there's a problem, but he remains calm and confident, assuring everyone he's got it under control. He applies his sacred flame to stabilize the frost, quickly mastering the frozen energy and noting that for him, it's a simple task. The young man predicts that, after this first pill, this will be the last frost burst Yun will ever experience. Madame Chui agrees, explaining that the hardest step is now complete. They just need to be patient as the awakening finishes. Soon, the girl is surrounded by swirling energy, and as she regains consciousness, she opens her covered eye, releasing the form of an ice dragon. The priestess observes that the power is extraordinarily pure, confirming that Yoon's frost bloodline is now fully activated. Wai encourages his sister to check her status for any changes. She tells him she can now fully control the ice element, and believes her bloodline talent allows her to manipulate ice at will. He beams with pride, explaining that most bloodline awakenings don't grant such talents, but her case is rare and special, a true first bloodline awakening. Yoon asks if it's possible to gain more talents as she continues to develop her bloodline, and he wonders if perhaps their ancestors included a powerful frost class, given the immense benefits both siblings have received. Even so, he suspects their family may have fallen into obscurity over the years. To be sure everything is well, Yi asks Madame Chue to conduct a thorough check on Yoon, and she readily agrees. Zhao meanwhile congratulates him, stating that the girl is not only cured but has also awakened her frost bloodline. He shares that the mayor is taking her situation seriously and has arranged additional resources to support her cultivation. Our protagonist thanks him and explains he'll need to return to school soon, so he'll rely on Zhao to look after Yoon. The secretary assures him it's an honor. The priestess turns to Yoon and asks if she's thought about what class she might want to pursue in the future. She immediately says she wants to be a mage, and Yi agrees that the class suits her perfectly. He promises that once she reaches level 10, he'll help her find a hidden mage class conversion book. Suddenly, her eye flashes red, and she announces she can feel a dark power awakening within her, and it won't be long before its full strength is released. Everyone in the room is stunned. Madame Chue quickly examines her, worried she may have missed something, and questions the presence of dark power. She wonders aloud if Yoon really needs to go through with this. As the girl's new powers threaten to emerge, the priestess starts to say that she, the princess of dark tears, Phantomai Yoon, will, but Yi quickly intervenes, grabbing his sister and insisting on showing her the true power of frost. He drags her to another room, while Yoon pleads with Ching to save her from her brother, who she claims is about to kill her. The priestess remains troubled, pondering the nature of these dark powers now awakening in Yoon. Yoon warns her brother that she won't hold back. With a surge of power, she summons the spirits of ice, freezing everything in her path before launching sharp-edged ice blocks at Yi. He calmly raises his holy shield, blocking the icy assault. As the clash ends, he observes her closely and sees that her body has fully recovered. Now, they can finally set up her cultivation schedule. She returns to her normal self, briefly worrying that her frost is acting up again and thinking she won't be able to cultivate with him. Quickly, Yoon reassures her brother that she's fine and it was just a false alarm. To lighten the mood, our protagonist brings out his pet Gray, using magic, and introduces Gray as his newly contracted magic pet. He tells his sister that the creature will keep her company over the next few days, and teases that she shouldn't blame him if Gray outperforms her. Delighted, Yoon hugs the little beast and promises she'll cultivate hard with Gray by her side. She then invites it to come closer, and together they sign the contract of darkness to become companions. Yai is relieved, feeling confident that he can now return to school without any worries about her well-being. Later, as he walks at night, Yi thanks Gray for all its hard work over the past few days. Suddenly, Miss May appears, having teleported to his location. He is surprised by her sudden arrival and wonders what brings her here. Mai explains that the National Freshman Exchange competition is beginning soon, and that the team match requires 5 people per team. As the first place winner of their freshman competition, Yi is naturally the team leader and must complete the team building process. He assures her that this won't be a problem. May displays a list of the top 10 students from the freshman competition, excluding him, and tells Yi he needs to select 4 teammates. He asks if he can simply pick the next top 4 freshmen. She thinks his choice is a bit hasty and reminds him that the team match is a marathon, not a sprint. Later rounds test stamina, and priest class characters are important for recovery. She points out that while Yi as a Saint Knight can cast buffs, his recovery skills are weaker than those of a priest. May advises that most winning teams include a priest for support. Our boy is confident, explaining that as long as they defeat opponents quickly, they won't even need recovery. He believes he can take first place in the individual bracket and even solo teams in the group match if he activates his 6-winged angel bloodline. May privately reflects that his strength is on a different level, and with him, they might not need a priest at all. She agrees to submit his chosen roster to Housemaster Wu and leaves with a smile, confident in his abilities. Before she goes, May checks if he has finished taking care of Yun's bloodline awakening. Yi thanks her for telling him about the frozen lotus, which made all the difference, and she is glad to hear Yun is doing well. He then asks if she knows where he can find a hidden class conversion book for his sister. Mi replies that the school network does have the book, but obtaining one is very difficult. She encourages him to do his best in the upcoming competition and departs on other business. Soon, Yi learns just how challenging it is to buy such a book. His research reveals even the cheapest hidden class conversion book costs 20,000 points. Though it may take time, he resolves to achieve this goal for Yun within the next 6 months. He checks his new system mission, thinking about how the rewards from his last 2 achievement missions have greatly strengthened him. Meanwhile, in the university meeting room, the Housemasters convene to discuss the team match. War Housemaster Wu presents Yi's team roster to the others, listing all the team members. An old housemaster questions why there isn't a priest on the team, and another worries that the lack of healing support makes the team too risky. However, an experienced elder argues that Yi's abilities more than compensate. After witnessing his bloodline forging, he's convinced that Yi alone can replace the role of a priest. He adds that the young knight provides buffs, has outstanding defense, and powerful attack skills, effectively covering 3 roles in one. A female housemaster voices no objections, noting that fully utilizing Yi's strengths is a sound tactic, while a younger master expresses hope that he will surprise everyone at the exchange competition. Wu concludes the discussion, agreeing to the plan and promising the lady housemaster that he will take care of their training. He notes that while the freshmen may be individually strong, they still need to develop teamwork and cooperation. Wu promises to have Miss May gather them at the Warhouse in 3 days for practice. Later, as Yi completes his workout, he receives a message from Mr. Wang, who has arranged a one-on-one class for him. Our protagonist looks forward to it, thinking this will be his first class since becoming a disciple and hoping to learn new skills. He chooses skill points as his reward for the day and reflects on how easy it is to stay ahead of others with the system. Daily missions keep his skill and stat points steadily increasing. At this moment, the headmaster mentions he is personally overseeing Yi's training, and our protagonist is surprised to find himself surrounded by forest wolves. He wonders aloud about their presence and asks his teacher if he needs to drive them away. The master explains that this is the Edge Forest, a private training ground owned by the Tien Guild, an organization he himself founded, so there is nothing to worry about. As Yi surveys the area, he suddenly notices a flying dragon soaring above, its presence sending the wolves into retreat. He marvels at the sight, wondering if there can really be dragons here. His teacher explains that the level 62 legendary grade dragon belongs to Yi's senior brother, serving as a guardian to deter monsters throughout the forest. The master further reveals that this senior is now level 64, even surpassing him in combat ability, which is why he handed the Tien Guild over without hesitation. Yi is astonished to learn his senior brother reached level 64 by the age of 30. The headmaster laughs, admitting he has seen many prodigies over the years, but believes Yi is the most talented by far, encouraging him to work hard and assuring him that he may one day surpass his senior. The teacher then directs our boy's attention to an important lesson, commanding him to watch closely as he demonstrates a special skill, Holy Light and Heart Shield. Yi observes as the master conjures massive light, forming complex diagrams in the air before casting the energy to the ground, utterly obliterating everything in its path. The headmaster declares that this is the first skill he will teach him, Holy Light Heart Shield. He instructs Yi to link his consciousness to the skill book and spend skill points to learn it. Following the instruction, the young knight connects, and the system provides all the details about the A+ grade Holy Light Heart Shield. As he reads, Yi realizes this is a Saint Knight legacy skill and wonders how his teacher came to master Saint Knight techniques as well. The headmaster explains that the Holy Light Heart Shield was created by Yi's grandmaster, who was a tertiary turned Saint Knight. He inherited the skill from his own master and now passes it on to him. The teacher tells Yi he has now learned the skill and asks for a demonstration. Our protagonist nods, focusing on the technique. He gathers his energy and successfully manifests the Holy Light Heart Shield. The master is impressed, noting that achieving this with just a level 1 Holy Light Heart Shield is remarkable. He explains that the skill is especially valuable in team matches, allowing Yi to partition the battlefield and restrict enemy movement. Suddenly, a massive dragon appears nearby. The teacher announces it's time for practical combat and instructs Glalong, the dragon, to command the surrounding monsters to attack. The amount of experience Yi gains now will depend on his own ability. Glalong roars, summoning a chorus of responding dragons, and soon, countless beasts fill the area. Yi immediately arms himself with the Blessing of God, Blessing of Dawn, and Blessing of Courage, preparing for battle. He leaps into the air, launching sharp ice crystals at a particularly large dragon and killing it instantly. Without pause, he swings his massive warhammer at another, striking it on the head and hurling it away. In a matter of minutes, Yi defeats every dragon in sight, but the effort leaves him utterly exhausted. The headmaster observes his student, surprised that he went all out and used up all his stamina and mana. He asks if Yi isn't worried about more monsters appearing. The resourceful youth opens a magical space and produces a mana potion, reassuring his teacher that he has it covered. The system congratulates Yi for reaching level 22, awarding him 20 stat points and 20 skill points. He immediately considers upgrading his Holy Light Heart Shield with the new skill points and watches as the system displays the improved attributes. He realizes the shield's power has reached a new peak. The headmaster, watching all of this, remarks that Yi's performance far exceeded his expectations. He anticipated Yi might defeat 100 monsters, but the lad managed to take down nearly 400. The teacher reminds him that since he plans to compete in the exchange competition without a priest, he must remain cool and never falter at crucial moments. Yi assures his master there is no need for concern. With him on the team, first place is as good as theirs. At night in the Tempest Forest rest station, Ju, Wen, Dan, and Lian arrive together. Over the loudspeaker, an announcement blares. The National Freshman Exchange Competition is about to begin, with 218 high schools from across the country participating. The question on everyone's mind is, who will emerge as the ultimate winner? One girl tells her friend that the list of participants for the competition has just been released. Her friend is shocked, double-checking the roster and noting that Sukang University's team features no priest, instead opting for a non-mainstream formation more commonly used by lesser-known schools. Miss Ju and Miss Wen are excited to see that Yi is the team captain, with Chu as vice-captain. Wen laughs while reading the online comments, pointing out posts saying that a team without a priest is doomed to fail. She finds it hilarious, knowing most people underestimate our protagonist's strength. Ju agrees, confident that outsiders have no idea how powerful he really is. At the next table, Lian tells Dan to let the waiter know she'll be covering everyone's order tonight, and she quietly thinks to herself that with Yi on the team, the absence of a priest won't make a difference. The championship is as good as theirs. Meanwhile, at the training ground, the system congratulates our boy for clearing the level 10 combat form in just 6 minutes and 12 seconds. He notes that after reaching level 22, the practice bots in the training room have become far too easy, and the training effects are diminishing. He decides he'll need Miss May's help to arrange something more challenging. Calling her, he learns that Housemaster Wu is starting his special training today and is instructed to gather at the Warhouse Court immediately. As morning arrives, students are buzzing with anticipation for the National Freshman Exchange Competition. One says that he was so excited he couldn't sleep last night, and another agrees, saying he's eager for battle. Their school has won the competition 4 years in a row, and a third student nervously wonders what will happen if they fail to secure first place this year. Their teacher reassures them, saying that with Yi's strength, victory is all but certain. In the main hall, students and teachers gather in anticipation. As our protagonist enters, Song is delighted to see him, and Chu tells him everyone's been waiting. He apologizes to Housemaster Wu and Miss May for being late. Master Wu reassures him there's no problem and asks him to introduce his new teammates. Yai introduces level 18 warrior Wei Tai, who thanks him for the invitation, and level 18 mage Tang, whose rapid progress under Headmaster Wang's guidance surprises even Chu. He explains that Tang made significant improvements with their master's help. Master Wu calls everyone to attention, reminding them that time is short and he'll be brief. He'll be their trainer to prepare them for the team match, individual match, and survival match in the National Freshman Exchange Competition. Today's focus will be on their teamwork and combat coordination. Later, they will enter the Abyss-level Goblin Dungeon realm as a party, with the school covering all point expenses. Tang realizes now why Miss May urged her and Wei to reach level 18. With their strength pooled together, she feels confident they'll be able to dominate the Abyss-level realm, especially with Yi leading, who could likely solo it himself. Inside the Abyss-level Goblin Dungeon realm, Yi calls everyone together. He reminds them that this is their first time working together as a full party, so he'll take the lead with tactics. The team unanimously agrees to follow his direction. He assigns Wei to defense and aggro control, Chu and Tang to physical and magic damage rolls, while Song and our protagonist will handle finishing blows and support. As they finalize their plan, a horde of goblins surges toward them. Wei charges in first, noticing her skill effects are 40% stronger than before, and asking if this is due to the captain's support. Yi unleashes the gift of God, Blessing of Dawn, Blessing of Protection, and Blessing of Courage in rapid succession. Tang is amazed by his casting speed, realizing he can cast 3 buffs in less than a second, quicker than even a professional mage. She immediately follows up with the sound of magic destruction. He warns Wei to be vigilant for sneak attacks. Suddenly, Wei and Chu discover a magical shield among the goblins, and Chu is puzzled by its presence as well as the new goblin archers. The system explains about goblin archers and their enhanced abilities. Yai understands the dungeon's difficulty has increased because there are more challengers, so the goblins have adapted with new offensive tactics. He annihilates the archers using Punishment of Light and informs the team he'll handle these troublesome enemies, leaving the rest to them. Wei wonders if the point of this challenge is to foster teamwork and questions fighting solo, but Chu reassures her and hurls her magical cards, causing explosions and decimating the enemy ranks. Watching from the side, Master Wu observes that Yi's casting speed has clearly improved since the freshman competition, and some skills are now almost instantaneous. Miss May notes that he must have gained a talent related to casting speed after clearing the Abyssal Realm, and his rapid growth is astonishing, especially considering he brought Chu to challenge the Abyss level, and they quickly took the top positions as soon as school began. Master Wu explains that's why he ramped up the difficulty for this challenge, wanting to truly test Yi and the team. Chu goes ahead with her Shadow Slash, and her companions fight with their own techniques. Teishi, thanks to Yi's buff which doubles her power, and in no time, they manage to defeat all the goblins. Our boy reminds them it was just a warm-up and now they'll face something real, the boss battle. They all praise Yi while he stands there, thinking they're putting up the flags. They reach the gate where Yi feels something is off, but they enter anyway. Inside, the legendary grade level 22 boss welcomes them with mockery. The boss admits he was expecting them and casts a fireball in no time. Tang watches in awe, almost getting hurt, but her companion protects her in time. Taishi's shield breaks. Even after her power was doubled, she couldn't hold on. The boss admits he was preparing for this moment long ago, but Yi steps ahead with the power of frost this time. The others ask him to be careful, as he admits the boss's strength is greater than the one he defeated before. Song steps ahead to lead, but her attacks fail, leaving her staring in awe. They all charge at once in their own ways, but nothing works on the enemy. The boss declares he will end it all as he attacks with a purple beam of light. He steps forward and scatters it. When his team asks to try again, he informs them that the boss is too much for them to handle. He asks them to leave the rest to him as he activates the Eye of True Sight. Yai instantly analyzes the enemy and decides to use his S+ grade bloodline secret to multiply his own stats. He knows the target is a special test from Housemaster Wu and decides to show his true power, the Angel's divine physique. Miss Su worries about the difficulty, but Housemaster Wu explains their current strength is extraordinary, though other universities have their own talents. He informs them that in an exchange competition, Wingjing University will be their opponents, so cruelty is needed. The boss mocks Yi, making him unleash the Shining Pulse. The enemy curses, using his own attack. The purple and blue light scatters all around as their powers meet. Yi's team shields themselves as one questions if it's the captain's true power. Song asks Chu if our boy has used his true power before, and the reply confirms it's the first time. The boss keeps cursing and mocking as our boy uses the holy chain, which binds the enemy all over. He then uses the Spear of Victory, unleashing golden energy and declaring their sides have changed. With the light flame storm, fire engulfs the boss as he roars. Yi's eyes glow golden. He charges forward, using lightning binding this time. The boss realizes our boy wasn't using his true power. His eyes glow red as he apologizes to Yi for not being fun enough. Our boy agrees, admitting he planned to use the six-winged angel form, but will save it for later. With his last attack, he sends off the enemy while the Housemaster watches, admitting Yi is too powerful. He asks Miss Su for the training data of our boy from the field, and she gives him all the information. She informs him how Yi quickly completed the level 10 combat, admitting it's good our boy can directly prove his strength. The system clears their victory, and they start receiving rewards. They all gain experience, while our boy gains stat and skill points too. Chu comes to check on Yi, but he assures her he is all good, and suggests checking the rewards the boss dropped. They receive a staff, shield, and ring of magic flame. Since keeping these requires a high level, they decide to try the weapons in action and convert them into points. When the team hesitates to share them equally, Yi tells them it's for the upcoming exchange competition. They all agree, vowing not to let down the school's honor. The team stands confidently as Housemaster Wu praises their performance with applause. He admits he is surprised by Yi's performance, questioning him about taking first place in the exchange competition. Our boy replies confidently, and Housemaster Wu says that confidence is needed. Miss Su explains that in the earlier matches, they will have Yi play a support role in order to conceal his true strength. She adds that at the right time, our boy will go out, overwhelm the opponent, and increase the chances of victory. Housemaster Wu says that they still need more practice, and Miss Su agrees, saying their teamwork needs improvement. They decide to begin specialized training for their weaknesses starting tomorrow and ask the team to rest. They mention disciplinary measures, but refuse to talk about them for now and leave. He tells his team that they'll train hard for the exchange competition, and they cheerfully agree. Outside, some guys chatter about the Nightmare Goblin, admitting how hard it is to defeat. Tang and Taishi pass by talking about the Abyss level challenge. The guys overhear their conversation as Tang asks about the captain's manageable buffs. Yi walks with his companions as one guy questions who they are for turning the Abyss into a speedrunning game. He is shocked to hear that they're the ones representing the school in the exchange competition. The guy also learns that Yi is the one who took first place in the clearing ranking. The team enters the realm only to be attacked by the boss, but Taishi manages to block his attack. She has enough strength to defend against the attack, but the boss mocks her with harsh words. Yi steps ahead, disarming the enemy with a single punch. He praises Taishi for blocking the attack on her own, while the other companions step ahead to fight. They have all gained more power and strength. The team leans forward, attacking in their own ways, and the last slash from Chu cuts off the enemy's head. Wu confirms they managed to break the 9-minute mark this time, and also informs them that the date of the exchange match is out. He declares he will take them to Qingjing University, the venue of the competition. All of them cheer up at the thought of the match finally starting. Housemaster Wu declares that they'll take everyone through the exclusive teleportation point of the school to ensure their safety. He says they'll head directly to the exchange competition at Qingjing University. As they arrive, the headmaster and others are already present. The headmaster thanks Wu for his hard work and says he's hoping for a 5th consecutive win after winning 4 times in a row. Yi's team stands nearby as the headmaster tells Zhou to activate the teleportation formation. The teleportation activates, blue energy scattering everywhere, and in no time, they all reach Qingjing University. Miss Su thanks Joe for his casting since traveling over 2 million kilometers would have taken them several days. Chung Yong Chun, a tertiary awakened mechanist, steps forward. Chung welcomes them all to the university, saying it's an honor to see them here. Wu and Chung exchange some words about their students and declare they will test their mettle in the competition. Wu reminds the team that the opening ceremony of the competition is on the 10th, and shortly after, the competition will begin. He tells them their training is good enough and gives them time to relax for a few days. Wu also tells them to take care of their safety since demons and other races are expected to target human geniuses. At the university apartment, Yi realizes he has a long way to go to reach level 24. In Secondary Awakening, he'll be able to learn B+ grade Saint Knight skills, and even an A+ skill. Thinking about the skills, he decides to complete the mission system set for him. The freshman exchange competition begins, and Sukang University is welcomed first. After seeing the crowd and cheers, Yi realizes why everyone wants to participate. Chu steps in and tells him the audience will double in the finals. Their first round opponent is Rongyang University, who always feels unlucky to face them right away. Their captain cheers them up while the audience mutters about them definitely losing. The battle starts as our boy realizes the opponent team's strength is ordinary. He declares they will all attack together and break the formation in one wave. Tang steps ahead with her staff, taking the lead this time. She uses the fire magic arrow and the opponents shield themselves, relieved, thinking that's all the team has got. In no time, all of Yi's other companions start attacking with their own powers. The battle ends instantly, declaring the win for Suhang University. The announcement confirms the next team battle will start soon, and there is applause for both teams for bringing an amazing battle. Tang calls it easy, while the others find it all boring, and Yi admits only Modu or Wingjing University can give them an actual challenge. Chung wonders at the power of the team, questioning Housemaster Wu about their strength. He points out Yi's buff, asking how a regular school could compete with that. Wu laughs it off, saying he didn't make much effort and that it's all their own power. Chung takes his leave, saying they'll face each other soon enough. Wu reminds him that friendship comes first, not the competition. Later, Wu praises the team for their excellent work and tells them it's their free time since there's no match in the afternoon. Miss Su suggests watching a few high-level matches, and Wu agrees. He also asks them to sign up with him for participation in the individual competition. When asked if they aren't in the match by default, Miss Su explains that other schools have supports with no offense, and even strong defensive classes avoid joining to escape the hassle. Hearing all this, Yi and the team agree to participate. The individual matches begin. Announcements confirm the victor proceeds to the next round. Yi is in the 6th battle while his companions have to wait long enough. The crowd cheers for our boy as the match begins. His opponent is Rong Yang, a swordsman. Rong starts to attack, asking Yi to surrender and promising he'll let him lose with dignity. The fight begins, and our boy dodges every single attack from his opponent, making Rong think that Yi is really fast. Before Rong can react, the protagonist freezes his feet and lunges forward to punch. His opponent calls it a cheap trick, thinking he blocked our boy's attack. Rong gets hit and is sent flying while his teammates stare in awe. The announcer declares Yi's victory and the crowd starts shouting for him again. Ju Yu, the lecturer of Qing Jing, regrets not making enough effort. Nearby, Xiaolan admits our boy's strength is not bad, while the priest Zhou Xiao thinks about Yi's speed, wondering if he awakened a front bloodline. She leaves instantly, saying she has some urgent work. Xiao calls his dad, informing him about finding the Frost bloodline awakeners and mentioning the family name is Zhou. His dad is doubtful, so she decides to approach the protagonist and confirm. His dad agrees and says he'll make his own efforts to find out if Yi is from their Zhou family. Shinny's confident he'll defeat our boy, while his captain asks him to be careful, admitting that Yi is very strong. Shin assures him and steps forward. Some talk about his great aura while the audience cheers for our boy. Xiao's father and sister are finally at the stadium and confirm that Yi might be someone who split off during the Dark Ages. He informs her that the family ordered him to check on the protagonist after hearing about the first bloodline, and Xiao's sister can also witness the Suhang freshman's might. Her sister says there's nothing to learn from a knight, but Xiao tells her Yi's blood purity is over 70%. She tells him that he is qualified to awaken the hidden class of their family. Her dad asks Dong to be respectful towards Yi, but she says his strength will decide whether he's her brother by name or not. From Madu University, Li Xin is welcomed for the first match of the 3rd round against our boy. He declares he was planning to deal with Yi instantly, but since our boy is strong, he'll go all out. Our boy admits his opponent can't be underestimated, although he'll go down in one go if our boy uses Punishment of Light. Yi decides not to reveal his true power yet, and admits close combat is the only choice. The match begins and Shin's first move fails. He gets beaten down by our boy as the onlookers stare in awe. Our boy then uses consecutive holy punches as Shin struggles to escape such vicious waves of attacks. The last punch makes Shin surrender, and the announcement confirms Yi's victory. Our boy apologizes for not holding back his strength because the opponent surrendered too late. He uses a healing spell and leaves the rest to the doctors. The nurse confirms Shin's wounds will take a few days to heal, marveling at Yi's power. Xiao sits with her family, admitting Yi surpasses the geniuses of their family. Looking at his strength, her dad confirms there was a hidden class within the bloodline that increases strength. Dong seems convinced by Yi's strength, and her dad asks Xiao to arrange a meeting with our boy. Zhang Feng from Modu University steps ahead this time, and our boy decides that Chu must be able to win easily against her. Zhang has already decided to go all out, while Chu is thinking about ending it as soon as possible. Chu dashes forward using Shadow Slash, and the opponent is on her knees in no time. The announcement confirms the victory, while onlookers still can't believe that Zhang went down so easily. Chu and Yi are chatting about the match when Xiao steps in, declaring she's here because he has awakened the Frost bloodline. She says that with such high purity, he must be someone from their family. Yi looks confused, but his companion confirms it is an ancient family, admitting their strength can't be underestimated. Chu adds that they are awakening the first bloodline, saying because of this desire, they might receive a lot of resources. Xiao confirms it, but our boy asks if she has any proof, claiming that he's of the Zhou family. She tells him about her dad and the Examiner Stone, saying if he is able to resonate with the stone, he's indeed from their family. He gives it a try, and it reveals his blood purity is over 90%. Xiao asks him to meet her father, and Yi agrees. Before entering the room, Yi thinks about how they didn't show support in his hard times, but now they've come to find him, knowing he awakened the bloodline. Xiao's dad, Zhou Heng, greets our boy and tells him that his father and Heng have the same grandparents. Back to business, he offers Yi a return to the main branch and says they'll help him with tertiary awakening as soon as possible. When asked how he can do it, Heng confirms they've already prepared class changing for these kinds of situations. Yi thinks since his support system is tied to the Saint Knight class, the Zhou family's hidden class is worthless to him. He confirms if he can't receive support unless he changes his class. Heng says once he changes class, he'll receive plenty of resources, but Yi refuses anyway. Heng offers help with reaching level 50 and tertiary awakening within 6 years, but Yi doesn't agree. Heng explains how Saint Knight is just a heavy support while Zhou's hidden class is an absolute damage dealer. Our boy calls him ignorant and declares he'll show what a true Saint Knight can do in tomorrow's match with Qingjing. Yi takes his leave while Xiao shouts at her dad, asking why he didn't try to stop him. Heng confirms they'll approach him again once he witnesses Xiao's strength as Qingjing's damage dealer. When asked why they're making so much effort, Heng explains that the Zhou family rose to power when their ancestor first awakened the Frost bloodline, producing many descendants who even reached tertiary awakening. But during the Dark Ages, their elites vanished in the other world, leaving the family unprotected. Though 5 were later revived, they carried incurable curses that crippled the bloodline. Since then, the chance of awakening the Frost bloodline has dropped to nearly 0. Outwardly strong, the Zhou family is now dangerously fragile. If Yi returns to the main branch, his strength might be comparable to their ancestors with their resources. Heng says that Yi is confident right now, but after facing Team Qingjing, he'll realize that only the Zhou family can make him stronger. The next day, the stadium is filled with the audience as people shout in excitement. Dong seems confused about who will win as the announcement of both teams is made. Yi stands with his light warhammer, making Heng question if he didn't use his true strength yesterday since he feels even more powerful than before. The Qingjing team shows up. Li Yuan, the warrior, questions if Yi is taking the place of a damage dealer. Xiaolin the archer and Xiao stand there, not surprised by Yi's decision. The mage Lu Zhou and Wang Xuan, the mechanist, chat together about how our boy's strength isn't enough for a captain. Lai remembers their defeat last year and asks his team to go all out, even if it means wounding or crippling their opponents. Chung questions Yi juggling both damage dealer and support roles, but Wu shows confidence in our boy. Chung wonders if Yi still has some aces up his sleeve, since freshmen usually have limited skills. The protagonist tells the team to do it just like they're training in school. He'll attack and they'll follow behind to act. The team is carefree, but Yi asks them to be cautious and orders them to come to him for healing spells if anyone gets wounded. Yi dashes forward with his power as the crowd shouts for him, claiming he's really confident. The opponents prepare their fiercest long-range attack. Lan launches his arrow attack, but Yi dodges them effortlessly and even crushes one with his bare hand. Lan stands in awe, questioning how he did that. The captain claims that defense is all Yi has, and he won't be able to stop it once Lu finishes his casting. The mage unleashes his strongest attack, Fire Phoenix, and a giant fire eagle is summoned, throwing fireballs. Seeing that Yi doesn't move at all, Lu thinks he'll take his head off. The audience watches in horror, unable to understand how our boy will withstand such a powerful attack, while Ju says he has to retreat to his team for defense. Miss Su laughs from behind. They both argue over Yi's power, while Heng says that Yi's holy flame light wheel was bestowed upon him by the god of light personally. Heng says that since the Zhou family held the first Frost bloodline, many devoutly followed the Frost goddess through them, but after the curse, her blessing vanished as well. Now only god-blessed classes hold true potential, making their offers seem insignificant to Yi. His younger daughter says they are here for nothing, but Heng says there's still hope. The mage stares in awe when fire doesn't damage Yi at all. The captain cheers up Lu and asks him to use other elemental magics. Yuan asks Lan to continue using long-range attacks, declaring they can't let Yi front them easily. Lan does her work while the mage creates a stone shield in front of them. Yi easily defends against the attack, making the attacker believe that he has excellent defense skills. Our boy admits that their trick broke his rhythm, and now he has to use a long-range spell to break the formation. He unleashes the Holy Flame Storm, breaking through the stone shield as the captain of the opponents shouts for a retreat. They dodge and admit that this level of attack could easily eliminate them all immediately. The captain notices that the mage isn't there, realizing he got stuck in the storm. Lu struggles as Yi notices the fire isn't hot enough and declares he has his fire phoenix. He attacks again, and the mage gets wounded badly. The captain shouts to heal Lu, declaring he'll handle our boy. The protagonist dashes forward, attacking again while Yuan faces him. He thinks he can block the attack, but his shield goes flying and he gets damaged. Realizing Yi's strength is actually terrifying, Yuan admits he's not weak either and uses his Rage Slash, but Yi blocks that easily, leaving him startled. Yuan still rushes forward, refusing to hold back until he proves himself. As they fight, our boy admits Yuan is the first one directly contesting him in strength. Mocking him, Yi charges again and almost hurts the opponent, but suddenly a robot appears. It even breaks the light projection in a single stab, but Yi manages to shatter the robot anyway. The captain thanks Wang for saving him, and Wang replies that he has to step ahead. He asks Yuan to handle the rest and leave Yi to him. Wang charges with the model GX100BE and other robots of levels 21 and 22. Yi notices that Wang himself is level 19, but the robots are higher levels. Wu sits next to Chung, who informs him that Wang possesses the S+ grade talent Mechanical Heart, allowing him to create machines higher than his own level. Wu admits that the victor of this match depends on those two. Yi stands with his weapon, ready to test the strength of the swarm tactic. Wang charges forward with his robot army, attacking all at once, but Yi manages to block the attack. He then uses the Holy Cross. The golden energy scatters all around, breaking apart the robots. The opponent stares as his robots break into pieces, even after using the fireproof body. He merges all his remaining robots, convinced that Yi's mana will run out. The protagonist's companions comment as well, admitting the opponents will never know our boy is specialized in fighting swarms. Yi unleashes the Holy Storm again, making Wang shout for a retreat. The system informs 74 robot connections are lost. Wang has lost a third of his robots. He admits that the swarm can't do anything and decides to use his final trump card, HX Judgment. He asks it to combine as its field size limit detects and defense emergency increases. The onlookers stare in awe as the giant robot of level 23 shows up. A woman appears with the captain, admitting the new freshmen are all monsters. When Yuan says they'll lose, Chu dashes forward with her sword, declaring they'll win. Wang shouts to Yi to witness the judgment's power as countless missiles are launched. Our boy dodges every single one while the opponent shouts there's nowhere to go. Our boy slashes, but the impact cracks the ground, leaving the robot untouched. Our boy dodges the oncoming attacks while Wang mocks him, questioning if running is all he knows. Yi finally decides to fight head-on while Wang still mocks him in his head, calling him weak. In no time, our boy charges forward, golden energy spreading as he uses God Hand. The robot system hypes up. The shield's energy is being absorbed, initiating emergency backup. Each match monitor drone is powered by a powerful light magic stone, which they can use to repair the shield. Chu is with her companions when she suddenly notices something and shouts for a retreat. The mage chases her, but Yuan stops him, saying something is wrong and the power is abnormal. A giant golden hand tears through the sky, terrifying the onlookers and Wang. He recognizes the presence that only S-Class can project, thinking it's a tier above his A+ grade HX Judgment. The difference is huge. Wang shouts it's just a divine skill and he can't lose, admitting he can't be afraid even before fighting. He fights back, slashing uncountable times, thinking it worked. But the giant hand takes it all and slams the robot down, leaving an imprint of its presence on the ground. The opponents whisper their defeat while Wang calls out Yi's name, all wounded. The crowd cheers while Chung admits Suhang won't go down easily, although he thought they'd win this time. He calls Yi super powerful and an all-rounder. Chang admits that in his whole career, he hasn't seen a genius like Yi, making Wu feel proud. The team chatters about the match, admitting they couldn't win without our boy. From afar, a woman sees Yi's performance and admits she wants someone like him in the Tianyu Guild. The priest team surrounds Wang, casting healing spells as someone shouts for them not to stop. The secondary priest team is called for healing while they mutter about how heavy-handed Yi is. Yuna admits that without the arena's protective shield, Wang might have died. The whole team apologizes to their housemaster Cheng, but he comforts them. Yi is too powerful, and Qing University will take third place in the team match this time. The team confirms they can defeat Modu, but all the robots have been destroyed and Wang is badly wounded. In that case, Jing Jing no longer has the members to fight against Madu. Wang lays wounded, admitting Yi is powerful, but says that next time he'll obtain victory. Elsewhere, Heng apologizes to our boy, admitting the Saint Knight is indeed a powerful support and damage dealer. He keeps praising our boy, but Yi brushes it all aside, asking him to get to the point. Heng informs him that if he returns, the head of the family and elders will cultivate him with the power of the entire family. Within the Zhou family, yearly distribution of resources depends on individual ability. The family is divided into factions, the largest led by the elders and the family head. Though usually opposed, both sides have united regarding Yi. Our boy admits that this way he won't need to deal with tiring side matters if he returns to the main Zhou family line. But with his headmaster, he can still level up without the Zhou family's help. He admits he's afraid of disappointing them, and he has no plans to change class, though inside, he thinks that he still has the system. Heng goes all depressed, thinking there's no home for his family to rise. But our boy says he knows someone who can consider the Zhou family's hidden class. Heng informs him it also requires a specific purity level. Regular frost bloodline isn't enough. Our boy confirms that his sister's purity is 3 times higher than Heng himself. Hearing this, Heng brightens up and says that she can pick any of the 3 hidden frost classes. Yi asks him not to get all excited, as he needs to ask his sister first. He thinks that he can't get much profit from the Zhou family, but his sister is different, and it'll be great if she gets the family's full focus. Later on a video call, Yun gets all excited, saying her brother's performance was amazing. Brushing everything aside, Yi tells her about them belonging to the Zhou family. He explains the 3 hidden classes: Frost Archer, Frost Swordsman, and Ice Mage, and asks her to choose any of them. Yun chooses Ice Mage, but our boy tells her she needs to spend 3 to 4 years studying in the territory in Tianlan, asking her to be careful. The call ends with them deciding to go to the Tianlan district. At the 4th round of the exchange competition, they will decide the right elites who shall enter the 5th round of the individual matches. A D-grade man's potion is the reward for contestants who entered the quarterfinals. Chu talks about the reward with Yi, but since they've entered 3rd level war preparation, the alliance needs to cultivate more geniuses. The announcement reveals the rewards for those who make it to the semi-finals and the champions. Our boy realizes the reward is a legendary grade weapon, the highest grade of weapons humans can forge. Hearing the announcement, Chu and Yi get ready. Yi faces his opponent, who is already confident in his power since he only adds points to his strength. The match begins as they both rush forward with their weapons. Yi overpowers his opponent, and the guy ends up on his knees, unable to understand how it happened. The housemaster of the opposing team instantly calculates that Feng Cheng's strength is around 370, so according to that, Yi must be at least above 450 points. He asks the other teammate Wei if he thinks he can win against our boy. Feng wakes up trembling, saying a knight only dies standing. Yi is impressed, and his opponent rushes forward with the air/punch. Our boy attacks with his hammer, making the opponent team surrender. The crowd cheers, and nurses run over to help Feng. One day later, Song and Yi have already made it to the quarterfinals. Wu wasn't expecting Song to enter, but tells her to do her best. He shows disappointment in Chu for not entering the quarterfinals, but shows understanding since her opponent was a potential champion. He says there are 2 spots left for the quarterfinals, and she still has chances. Wu shows all his confidence in Yi, saying there are 2 matches tomorrow, both against regular high schools. Chu calls the 4th round's second half the cruel contest of losers, where only 2 of 70 contestants advance to the 5th round. Reaching the semifinals in the 6th round grants a rare S-class resource, something even the powerful Chuan family cannot easily obtain. She thinks that if she secures it, her strength will rise greatly. Wu tells Yi he can easily dominate the regular high school on his own. Since the matches are primarily for training others, he just needs to stay on guard and avoid taking action. The protagonist stands there as some girls suddenly surround him, asking for an autograph. Song and Chu watch from the side, while Chu doubts if Yi will be taken away from her. She decides to secure her place in one of those 2 spots at any cost, declaring she must get Yi. The 4th round, second half individual matches start, and people doubt if they change the environment every year. The 4th round's second half is a near-real realm created by an artificial intelligence from data collected by teachers. The artificial intelligence integrates the data to simulate a realistic replica for the competition. The realm's battlefield has been inputted during its creation, so the map and even the monsters for every year are different. The artificial intelligence welcomes them to the missing forest. Every 30 minutes, waves of monsters appear around the abandoned village, 3 in total. Driven only by hunger, they attack relentlessly, and the students must slay as many as possible before being devoured. The 2 with the highest kill counts advance to the 5th round. As the realm poses no real threat to life, no return scrolls are provided. The people around think of it as an easy task, claiming there's nothing to worry about. The 1st round begins, and in no time a competitor gets confused by the monster and exits the realm. Shu notices that she didn't see the monster at all, wondering if it's invisible or doesn't exist at all. One after another, people start getting consumed by them and exit the realm. Chu panics at first, unable to figure out what's going on, but she calms herself, thinks calmly, and finds the issue. She wonders if it's physical or invisible and figures out that, to affect many at once, it must be a transmittable monster. Suddenly, she notices a mushroom on her shoulder and burns it down right away. She finally realizes there are spores in the air. Once they land on someone, they'll grow and multiply. She asks everyone to use fire to cover themselves as more people exit. Chu realizes that fire isn't actually killing them, so she needs to find the monster itself. On a tree, she finds the monster and starts killing them. Meanwhile, in the stadium, the match begins. Each participant uses their own attacks while Yi instructs them. Tan is told not to let adrenaline affect his judgment, while Zhang is told to provide protection. The opponents begin to attack while Yi is busy on his phone, seeing a text from Chu saying she passed. The mage on the opposing team finds it disrespectful and declares he will teach them a lesson. In another moment, the mage lies on the ground while the announcement declares Suhang University's victory. The 4th round's second half has ended, and the 5th round will begin the next morning. To select 4 from 8, the second day afternoon is the 6th round semi-final match between Yi and Wei. A guy announces today's highly anticipated individual match final round. He introduces Yi as someone who became stronger on his own, and Wei as an elite from a top family, with top-tier and special bloodline warriors. People watch live, wondering how the match will go, some claiming it won't be an easy match. A helicopter lands and Suhang University arrives as people start cheering for the team. In no time, Modu University arrives as well, and the housemaster of Modu University greets Wu. Wei arrives, thinking he'll definitely take the championship, while Yi enters with a smile, weapon in hand. The match is about to begin as the elders of the Zhou family and Heng watch it on screen together. The elder questions if our boy will be able to win against Wei, who has been called a genius since childhood. He has received top-tier resources and cultivation from a top family. Heng takes Yi's side, saying his speed of growth is insane and he far surpasses the peak of people his age. Heng adds he has seen the shadow of their ancestors in our boy. The fight begins with their weapons clashing. Wei activates his flame blade technique, red fire surrounding him. He strikes again and again, but Yi dodges them. Our boy recognizes the special skill. It's Berserk, boosting the user's 4 stats to a different degree, although once it ends, Wei will enter a weakened state. Wei has also used Flame Blade technique, allowing him to carry flame magic damage as he slashes. Our boy's opponent rushes forward, sword in hand, using the skill he leveled up to level 9 after a lot of practice. Yi steps forward with his air smash, their weapons colliding with insane energy. Wei realizes the strength of Yi, thinking his blade can even slash through the hardest of alloys since it's so heavy. The momentum behind it with lightning slash is immense, yet he's at a disadvantage. Wei realizes he can't keep it up and steps back, and our boy uses Holy Cross level 9. But the opponent already knew this would happen. Wei uses his fighting rage as his housemaster stares in awe at the battle full of energy and lightning. Yi's system informs him that fighting rage is the opponent's awakened talent. It buffs all 4 stats and reduces damage taken by 80%. Once the skill ends, all the damage will be returned to Wei. While fighting, our boy thinks that Wei used the skill pretty early, realizing he wants to end the fight as soon as possible. Our boy knows the talent can stay active for barely 2 minutes. Dragging it out would be better. Although he can be defeated even now, the strikes come one after another, weapons clashing. Wei knows that with a Saint Knight's vast healing skills, a battle of attrition is pointless. So he unleashed Berserk and fighting rage from the start, pushing himself to the limit. The crowd mutters about the fight, some questioning Wei's actions while others show trust in Yi. Our boy uses a Spear of Victory, but it's useless against his opponent. He then unleashes the punishment of light, and lightning starts falling from the sky. Wei stands still, but he still can't feel the pain, admitting even a single hit will defeat him. He knows the skill needs at least a second of chanting to cool down, so he can take advantage of the cooldown. Wei dashes forward only to be surprised by the fast lightning. He realizes the skill level is above 20, leaving him in agony. He knows Yi is just 10 meters away, yet the distance feels very long. The opponent uses the Thousand Shadow Blade City as thousands of blades come down from the sky. Yi reflects on the legendary Wei family technique, born from battles in the other world. It transforms the body into a weapon, merging souls with magic, and forging thousands of blades capable of annihilating a city of monsters. Though Wei has yet to reach his ancestors' level, even the early form of this technique is breathtaking. Yi finally gets serious and uses his own skill, thousands of miles frozen. The ice shield covers the whole area. Announcements clarify that the camera can't observe the area inside because of the ice-covered arena. The Elder reflects on the powerful technique as all the blades in the sky turn frozen and shatter, attacking the opponent. Yi wins the match as the crowd erupts with cheers. Wu is impressed, while the other teammates declare they've never gotten first place in the individual match before. Teishi says nobody will be able to threaten them now, declaring first place is theirs. Chu tells Tang that she can disguise herself as a grand mage, while Yi says they'll relax tonight. For 3 centuries, the Eternal Game's fusion with reality has birthed countless dishes through monsters, magic plants, and culinary classes. In Qingjing City's bustling east, the famed food street serves delicacies from any creature, sure to satisfy all. The team wanders around trying food when a thug plans to approach Chu. He steps back instantly after spotting Yi with her. They walk together, but Chu gets tired since they have been walking for an hour already. There are 6 street blocks connected to each other. It's not easy to finish walking. Song suggests that our boy and Chu stay at the wine shop and they'll go get snacks. A woman tells them about the shop's specialty. It's 50-year-old apple wine. They both order apple wine and Chu gets drunk real quick. Our boy says she got drunk easily, even though, as a level 19, normal alcohol shouldn't make her drunk. Since apple wine is made with grade D treasure, it's understandable. Hai realizes it's late and gets up, saying he'll go find the others. A woman approaches him, asking him to buy her a drink. He tells her to grab the apple wine from above, asking for 1,000 yen. She calls our boy interesting, claiming she likes him while Chu stares from nearby. Chu runs forward and pushes the woman away, but the woman whispers that Chu isn't our boy's girlfriend. The woman knows that the world thinks these 2 strongest freshmen are in a relationship, but the reality is they still need time to develop their relationship. She admits it's her time to make Yi fall in love and take all his resources. Chu gets frustrated, but our boy suddenly holds her hand, saying he doesn't mind her blocking his luck with love. As they walk, Chu finally confesses her feelings and dozes off right away. From afar, the other teammates witness it all and smile. The next day, Chu wakes up, confused if what happened was a dream or reality. Everyone behaves normally because last night, Yi asked them to forget about it all. When asked why, he explained that the Zhang family from Chuan district is an ancient family that has existed since before the Eternal Game. They became one of the top families in the country over the centuries. He admitted he has so much that is fake, but it only looks fine on the surface. He doesn't want to trouble Chu. When he has absolute power, they'll face no issues. Back in the present, Wu says 10 high schools compete in the National Freshman Exchange Finals, each facing the other 9 for a total of 45 matches. Rankings are decided by victories. Today is their 9th match, and one more win secures the championship. Meanwhile, Modu Team's housemaster claims Su Jiao, the summoner, will bring great support to the field, asking others to prioritize protecting her. He informs them that Wei is still wounded, and their team has gotten really weak, making it difficult to obtain first place. If they lose, other universities will look down on them, so they need to go all out. They walk together as Su Jiao thinks that the last time they lost was when the captain got all wounded. She remembers that even then, the opponent team was Su Hang. She thinks about recreating the miracle from 7 years ago. At the stadium, before the match begins, the rewards are announced for the top 3 places. The third and stand-ins will receive a set of custom gold grade 3-star equipment according to their levels. The second place will receive a set of custom-made gold grade 4-star equipment. The first place is granted a set of epic grade 2-star equipment. Yi thinks that the legendary set weapon from the individual match is worth more than this. He thinks that a set of equipment includes many things, and every team has 10 members in total, including stand-ins. He comes to the conclusion that 7 epic grade equipment sets are enough to forge 2 legendary grade weapons. Finally, teams are called to the field and asked to take their positions. The match begins, and Su Jiao summons tons of monsters while our team faces them all in their own way. Our team fights with the summons. Real combat has improved their coordination by 30% compared to before. Su Jiao tries to summon something while her companions stare at our team's performance in awe. He rushes forward to attack, but suddenly a giant hand blocks his strike. A strong, towering monster comes into view as our boy struggles under its pressure. The newcomer grabs another monster, kills it, and asks the team to play with it. The towering monster turns to Su Jiao and asks why she summoned him. It's a flame baboon, level 24, and our boy recognizes it instantly. The baboon starts attacking everyone, even its own summoner. Song and Tang go all out, trying to shield everyone, but nothing works. Teishi steps in and shields them since Yi's buffs have doubled her skill potency. Our boy uses a holy light shield and asks his companions to leave the match to him. The teammates protest, but Yi makes it clear that he has his own ways to defeat the baboon, admitting he can't take care of them while fighting. His companions insist, but Yi informs them that one mistake and they'll be dead. Even if the priest revives them, they'll lose 30% of their stats. He asks if they can bear the loss, and he pats Chu's head, assuring them he can handle it. The onlookers stare at the legendary monster while one claims Yi is doomed. Like equipment, monsters are ranked bronze, silver, gold, epic, and legendary. Though of the same level, their strength differs greatly. For instance, a bronze monster's charge is like an E or F class humans, while a legendary monster's charge rivals A or S class. Legendary monsters also have immense resistance, making them nearly unkillable. Even the Goblin King of Su Hang's Abyss is only epic, so the appearance of a legendary monster in the exchange competition is astonishing. Onlookers see all the teammates forfeiting, but Chu stands there with our boy. Chu wishes our boy luck and takes her leave. Ai rushes forward, slashing at the beast and managing to wound it. His appearance changes as he declares he has nothing to worry about since his companions have already left. The Modu team watches from afar, while the beast admits it can sense the unrivaled bloodline within our boy. Flame baboons are legendary from birth, able to dominate territories as soon as they appear. In the baboon's memory, Its mother once warned of a few unrivaled bloodline races that must never be provoked. For the first time, the baboon senses such a bloodline from a human. It admits that if not for the human's weakness, it would have fled instantly, even at the cost of being harmed by summoning magic. The beast apologizes as it dashes forward, declaring it will use its full power now. The beast charges forward with its weapon, but Yi sends it flying. The elder of Zhou's family panics and asks to stop the match as Hung runs, claiming he's going to Wu now. Wu stands with other teams' headmasters who are already trying to convince him to stop the match. Heng enters, shouting they can't afford to lose Yi and demands to dismiss the match right away. Wu recalls what his master said about our boy. He said that as long as it's not a legendary beast above level 26, the protagonist can handle it. Wu calculates things and says that the monster is just level 24, 2 levels below 26. He declares that there's no way Yi will lose. They argue while our boy fights the beast. He uses Punishment of Light, making the beast roar in pain. As he uses it again, the enemy shields itself. Yi thinks that Punishment of Light is currently a grade A, level 14 skill. However, his S+ grade talent boosts his light elements, and all his stats are doubled when he activates Angel Physique. He admits the current skill he's using could easily kill the epic grade Goblin King in the Abyss level realm. Although against this opponent, his attacks don't cause great damage and it recovers immediately. The baboon charges forward, but Yi binds it with chains. Our boy believes he has defeated a legendary grade demon, but knows demons are restrained by light, preventing them from showing their full power. He resolves to research further to prepare for the next battle. Noticing the demon growing faster, Yi realizes its resistance to light is rising. Its adaptability is terrifying and the very reason countless humans perished in the Dark Age. He has applied the buffs again with Angel Physique active, and now he's at his full strength. From above, the Madu team calls themselves lucky that Yi didn't harm Su Jiao. They claim that once the summoner is finished, the summon disappears as well. Our boy uses God Hand as the beast charges forward. The giant hand crushes it down, the effect breaking the shield as fire erupts. Onlookers almost get harmed, but a mage saves them in time by using a water shield. Recognizing the awakened mage from the Alliance, the audience is relieved. The mage thinks that they already increased the shield level to 7 since they were expecting a fierce battle. She's amazed that Yi's power managed to break through it and calls him another genius, a blessing for the country and humanity itself. The beast is badly damaged. It admits that light and ice elements are coursing through its flesh, interfering with its regeneration. The baboon still doesn't hold back and charges forward, but Yi punches it hard, crashing it down into the ground. The golden chains bind around the Modu team as our boy questions if they want to fight or surrender. The team surrenders, and the announcement confirms the victory of Su-Hang University. Since the high school's 45 matches are over, the final placing of the team matches is announced. Su-Hang University holds first place, Modu University is in second place, and Qingjing is third. The crowd cheers for Yi and the university while Chu runs to our boy, asking if he's okay. Yi assures her that he's fine while the reporters try to capture the moment. Wu steps in and reminds them that they can't record privately after the match is over. Wu tells Yi to return to the mansion, and he'll brief him on the final competition, the survival match. At the mansion, Wu explains that the survival match is the final event for the team match. All high schools will enter the realm to explore. Unlike the simulation realm from earlier, the survival match takes place in a real open-style realm. Wu claims that our boy will face many dangerous monsters, and even the unlucky ones will be eliminated at the very start. The rules are simple. Killing monsters will gain points and eliminating others will grant half of their points. After 7 days, the school with the highest points will be the winner. Wu adds that the realm is wide and only a limited area can be explored in a day. As the match goes on, the available area will shrink. He tells Yi that he must enter the new area in time or else he'll be eliminated. He warns that our boy's entry point into the realm is random and suggests leaving immediately if he finds himself in the void zone at the edge. The void contains many spatial cracks that can instantly kill even tertiary awakened class. Headmaster Su enters a room where others sit alongside Chung. When asked why he has gathered all the mentors except Su-Hang, he says that if there's no accident, Su-Hang will take first place again. Chung questions if Housemaster Su really wants that. The announcement declares that the final event match will start soon. The match will last for 7 days and will be live streamed on every platform. The realm is no ordinary one. It's a historic site of the Beast War, known as the Ruins of Million Beast Shu. The freshmen chatter about the realm as the announcement clarifies that every inch, group, and rock could hide relics or treasure. Only those with brain and brawn will be able to uncover them. When others talk about finding the treasure, a guy thinks that since they can explore the realm, the military would have already searched it thoroughly. They are told to grab their weapons and get ready to face the challenges. The freshmen start to teleport while Yi and Chu stand together. The protagonist and Wei teleport to the same place, making our boy doubt the situation since, even being physically together, it shouldn't have been possible. He decides to take some time searching for them. Wei stops our boy and uses 1,000 steps, running away immediately. Yi calls him stupid since he has 0 points and there's no point in fighting him. Lan feels the presence of a male and attacks instantly, thinking it could be Yi. Wei shouts as he dodges the attack. When asked why he was in such a hurry, he hides the fact that he got nervous and used teleportation skills. He asks if she met anyone from Suhang, but she refuses and says she can scan up to a 10-kilometer radius, only in areas with plants. She admits Wei was the only one to enter her sense range. People watch the live stream, some wondering why Lan and Wei are moving together while others call it a smart move. They know that by the 7th day, the instrument contestants are wearing will reveal everyone's location, and then the real game will begin. Inside the realm, our boy kills tons of monsters one after another, gaining insane amounts of points in seconds. He decides to check his score and finds himself in first position, while Wang is in second. He thinks that mechanists are particularly like an army. They can split up the hunt by using scout robots to avoid high-level monsters and kill low-level ones. He checks Xiaoran, Xiaolan, Taixin, and Tang's ranks, noting they are 9th and lower, while Tanwei and Zhangze are way lower in 72nd and 81st place. He was expecting them to be low, but at least in the middle ranks of the entire match. He suddenly notices that Tanwei is eliminated, realizing it's still far away from the time zone shrinking, so it's impossible that the realm eliminates contestants. Yi admits Tanwei might be a stand-in, but he isn't weak. He's in the upper range of the entire competition in strength. Our boy is sure Tanwei would definitely escape if he encountered strong monsters or contestants. He wonders if the contestants team up, since it's what weak ones usually do to maximize their chances. Although it's not possible in the beginning because of random teleportation, so this usually happens in later stages. Suddenly the announcement declares that the stage is about to shrink, and Yi starts running. He's far away from the first safe zone. In order to reach in time, he has to run at full speed. As he runs, he spots the blue light, realizing it's Tang. Tang is fighting other contestants, struggling to hold on but manages to take them down. In no time, another rushes forward to attack, but she dodges and takes them down as well. Tang finds herself confronted by a cloaked man. He summons his beasts, intending to eliminate her quickly. Tang retaliates with her water arrow, but 2 of the creatures bite her arms, preventing her from reaching her staff. Despite this setback, she manages to draw a magic circle beneath herself without using her staff. When the spell activates, the entire area erupts in an explosion, slamming the cloaked man, Li Jian, to the ground. He is eliminated from the competition, and Tang earns 1,050 points. However, her mana is depleted, and she starts coughing up blood. Meanwhile, another contestant, trapped under a flail, sends his dagger flying toward Tang in an attempt to finish her off. Just then, Yi appears and intercepts the dagger with a swift kick, sending it back to its owner. As a result, that contestant is eliminated, and our boy earns 1,240 points. Yi then heals Tang and fixes a cold glare on the orange-haired contestant who had attacked her earlier. Intimidated, the girl, Luozheng, decides to forfeit, which grants our hero another 1,860 points. Yi notes that it's no coincidence 3 contestants from different schools have targeted Tang together. After tending to Tang's wounds, our protagonist places her in a safe spot. The 2 soon learn that Zhangze has also been eliminated. Irritated, Tang speculates that he must have been surrounded by groups as well. She explains that the entrance to the realm was supposed to be random, but wonders how the other contestants managed to find each other and locate them so quickly. When Yi suggests that others must have located each other, Tang accuses them of cheating. Our boy, however, argues that if this ability is a special skill some contestant possesses, then it's not truly cheating. He then resolves to eliminate anyone who uses such underhanded methods against his friends. Tang, still worried about her friends, voices her concerns that they are likely under attack. In response, our protagonist gently pats her head and explains that the 9 schools have allied to weaken his strength. For the first 6 days, they'll target his friends, and on the 7th day, they'll surround him. He adds that in the face of absolute power, no amount of trickery will matter. Yi vows to repay all their enemies on the competition's final day. He instructs Tang to drink her potions and rest for the night, then decides to clear the area of monsters. At last, the final day arrives. An announcement declares that 74 contestants will begin the last battle, and everyone's information will be displayed on their smart brackets. This excites the observers, who note that only Yi, Chu, and Tang remain for Suhang. Contestants from every school converge on the battlefield. They notice Yi and Tang approaching, while Chu is positioned in the northwest. Wei observes that 18 people are heading toward Chu and tells her to take 5 people and eliminate Chu, while the remaining 47 wait to confront our boy together. Wei also shouts that Yi will arrive in an hour, urging everyone to give their all in this decisive fight, as it will determine their final ranking. Soon after, Lan gathers her group to face Chu. However, Chu easily eliminates several contestants in quick succession. Although Lan has the advantage in numbers, she is caught off guard when Chu transforms into her succubus form, something Lan hadn't expected her to control. Despite the surprise, Lan fires arrows at Chu, and other contestants rush in to attack as well. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocks the area, startling all the beasts in the realm. Wei and the other contestants finally spot Yi's arrival. Moments later, Yi and Tang make their entrance, riding atop his giant monster. Wei announces that our boy should feel honored, as 47 of the top contestants have united solely to defeat him. Unimpressed, our hero calls them a bunch of fools, reminding everyone that each of them has already been defeated by him before. He points out that they've only managed to target Su Hong's contestants by relying on sheer numbers, and without that advantage, none would dare face him alone. Yi promises to show them that no matter how many ants gather, they can never overcome a dragon. With those words, every contestant activates their abilities and charges at our protagonist. Yi leaps from his giant monster, powers flaring, and begins striking down contestants one after another, moving with incredible speed. Soon, a herd of beasts is sent to attack our boy, but he activates his angel physique and quickly dispatches every beast in his way. In response, several contestants raise protective shields to defend themselves. Yet all but 6 of these shields are shattered by Yi's onslaught. The remaining shield bearers are momentarily confident, but our protagonist tells them this is just the beginning. He unleashes his god hand, sending contestants scrambling for their lives. Meanwhile, Wang remains aloft in his robot, determined to attempt something despite the odds. He has studied the angle, power, and impact range of Yi's god hand countless times and believes its force is dispersed. Wang hopes that by gathering all his machines to form a barrier, he might redirect the impact. However, as Yi's god hand destroys everything in its path, he realizes just how powerless they are. At that moment, Wei launches his flame tornado at our hero, believing that if Yi takes the hit, his back will be exposed to further attacks from behind. Wei reasons that even if they can't defeat our protagonist outright, they might at least injure him. Every contestant unleashes their attacks at once, but Yi responds with the punishment of light, eliminating Wei from the competition. On the other side of the battlefield, Wang reflects that if they had known Yi had become even more powerful, they would never have gathered the 9 schools against him. Resigned and weighed down by the thought of becoming a national laughingstock, Wang decides to surrender. Housemaster Wu laughs heartily as he observes all 9 schools forming an alliance against Su Hang. Housemaster Chung feigns ignorance, but Wu points out that he's witnessed contestants from Modu, Qingjing, Qingchang, Lei Qi, and Chao Yang working together. He comments that no ordinary schools would attempt such a move, and with Modu already guaranteed second place, he questions who else could unite them all if not the host, Qingjing University. Internally, Housemaster Chung admits they had no choice but to act for the sake of Qingjing University's reputation. He recalls a meeting where he raised the question, what would happen if Su Hong claimed first place in all 3 competitions, and what would become of the other top schools? Housemaster Su responded that they had no intention of fighting for first, being content with second. However, Chung persuaded Su to join the alliance by promising each school a share of S-class resources as a gesture of goodwill. When Housemaster Su requested 2 shares, Chung agreed, sealing the deal. Chung then outlined his plan for all their students to work together to eliminate everyone from Su Hong except Yi, leaving only our protagonist for the final day's confrontation. Back in the present, Wu asks why the esteemed guests have fallen silent. Addressing Housemaster Feng He, Wu warns that this will damage his reputation, but Feng He calmly replies that cooperation is a standard tactic in competitions of this nature. Wu remarks that schemes like these won't hinder Yi because the truly powerful never fear a challenge. Within the realm, when Wang presses the surrender button, the system notifies him that teleportation is disabled. He's not alone. None of the other contestants can teleport out either. Suddenly, a portal opens behind our boy, and from it emerges a gigantic monster. Watching the screen, Wu wonders aloud why such a creature has appeared. The realm's entrance becomes stuck, and the spatial mage finds herself unable to use magic. Observers begin to panic, worrying that the students inside represent the nation's future, and fearing ridicule if other countries witness this on the broadcast. Suddenly, the livestream cuts out, causing further panic among the spectators. Meanwhile, inside the realm, Wang warns our hero to watch his back. Ai reacts swiftly, attacking behind himself and narrowly avoiding injury. When he swings his hammer, the monster suddenly vanishes. Yi asks Wang if he recognizes the beast, and Wang explains that it's a void beast, an entity said to have been sealed within the secret realm for ages, existing only in ancient tales. Catching one is nearly impossible, as it can move freely through space and shift between real and imaginary forms, even tearing open space to create temporal turbulence. Our protagonist wonders how the void beast could have broken free from its seal. Suddenly, a scream echoes as someone is devoured by the creature. Yi immediately launches a golden beam at the monster, but it retaliates, poisoning his legs. The beast then retreats back through the portal, but our boy quickly attacks the portal with another golden beam. Unfortunately, the monster reappears behind him, and thinking fast, Yi unleashes his holy fist. As soon as the monster lunges at Yi, Chu rushes in and pulls him away. Both tumble to the ground. Meanwhile, Lan instructs Wei He and the others to attack the monster together. Exhausted, our boy asks Chu why she's there. She explains that, after realizing no one could leave the realm, she hurried over as quickly as possible. When Yi spots the monster moving toward Lan, he leaps into action, attacking her to push her out of harm's way. He then reveals that he's been poisoned and tells Chu to focus on protecting the others. Following his orders, Chu shields a student from the monster's assault and uses the voice of seduction to distract the creature. Wei tries to confront the beast, all the while wondering out loud where it could have come from. The monster, meanwhile, mocks their efforts, claiming they are defying the god of time. Our protagonist, working to heal himself, observes that as soon as anyone draws near, the creature instantly opens a spatial rift. Even ranged attacks are quickly sensed and countered by the monster. It rampages through the area, attacking everything in its path. Chu manages to rescue another student and hands her off to Tang. Tang seals the student's wound, but the girl begins to panic, crying that they're all doomed. Tang tries to calm her, but the student insists this was never supposed to happen. Pushing for answers, Tang demands to know what she means. Finally, the student reveals the truth just as the others continue battling the monster. Tang is stunned by what she hears, but then she spots Chu trapped in the monster's mouth. Wei reacts instantly, launching an attack at the beast. Unfortunately, the monster retreats into its rift, disappearing along with Chu. Tang explains that the housemaster of Qingchang placed eggs from the space attraction butterfly on the students. When connected to the mother bug, these eggs can track a person over thousands of kilometers, which explains how the contestants found each other so quickly. Wang, however, tries to dismiss it as a mere coincidence. Tang adds that space attraction butterflies are closely linked to the void beast, which is why it appeared, mistaking them for thieves who had stolen its companions. Determined, our hero decides to locate every egg and mother bug, offering himself as bait. He swears to rescue Chu, even if it means destroying the entire realm. Suddenly, a student steps forward, claiming she knows how to defeat the void beast. She explains that the Sun family possesses a powerful sealing technique, but using it drains all of the user's life force. If they can't withstand the strain, they will die. Admitting her own limits, she says she can't perform it, which infuriates Tang. However, Yi steps in, calmly volunteering to learn the technique and asking the Sun family student to teach him. At last, Yi gathers all the space attraction butterfly eggs and locates the mother bug. With everything in place, he uses the summoning tool to call forth the void beast. He remembers how the Sun family descendant had poured all her mana into her eyeball, transforming it into a summoning device. Through this eyeball, our hero is able to activate the sealing technique. In the present, Yi manages to strike the monster and follow it into the rift. The void beast is baffled, claiming it can't capture our protagonist at all. Undeterred, Yi attacks with all his might. The beast, still underestimating him, declares it will demonstrate the true power of the god of time. Poisoned once again, Yi recalls the Sun family student's instructions. A summoner's mana can penetrate the space vortex and summon powerful monsters. She entrusted him with her eyeball, which would not only activate the seal, but also protect him. She had advised our boy to attack the beast to force it to reveal its weakness, and to activate the seal at precisely the right moment. Now, despite his dwindling mana from activating Angel Physique twice and using several other skills, our protagonist pushes through and attacks the beast with divine punishment. He manages to begin the sealing process, though the void beast resists fiercely. Closing his eyes, Yi's memories flash before him, especially moments shared with Chu. His heart races, prompting him to open his eyes and pour all his determination into the seal, finally subduing the beast and bringing it crashing down. The void beast, admitting defeat, surrenders. Yi demands that it release Chu. When the creature hesitates, our hero kicks its eye, prompting the beast to confirm that Chu is unharmed. It finally releases Chu, and Yi brings her back to the secret realm, where everyone gathers. Teleportation is restored, and some students debate whether to use it. Yi hands Chu over to Tang and summons his hammer, leaving everyone puzzled about his intentions. He explains that the competition is not yet finished. Announcing that they have a choice, our boy tells the others to either surrender or face him in battle. Seeing no other option, everyone reluctantly chooses to surrender and teleports out. Yi collapses to the ground, severely injured, while Tang rushes to his side, alarmed by his wounds. Our hero mutters that his mana is completely depleted, then notices they've made it into the top 3, with Su Hong securing first place. He feels a wave of relief at having led his team to victory as captain. Soon after, the announcer declares the results. Su Hong has taken first place, Qing Jing is second, and Modu claims third. The announcer continues, noting that the National Freshman Exchange Competition has been held 183 times, producing many geniuses who are now the backbone of the country. Team Su Hong is finally able to relax after 20 days of relentless fighting. Meanwhile, our protagonist receives extraordinary rewards: divine grade talent, a divine treasure, and a divine skill. He reflects that the exchange competition lasted 20 days and required him to claim first place in every event to complete his mission. Internally, Yi admits this was even more challenging than the entrance exam where he had to defeat the Demon Prince. He's especially pleased to have obtained an S+ swordsmanship talent, a rare S-class skill that will greatly enhance his strength. Eager to test his new ability, Yi heads outside with his sword. With a simple swing, he unleashes an immense amount of damage. Our boy quickly realizes that Divine Sword Heart has improved his other abilities as well, and finds it even sharper than Weapon Blessing. While most people must train endlessly to acquire Sword Aura, he's gained it instantly. He notes that his Blade Flash skill reaches an impressive 18 even at just level 1, promising even greater power as it improves. Inspired, he decides to spar with a master swordsman. Almost on cue, Chu appears before him, sword in hand. Our protagonist recalls that Chu is the heir to the Zhang family, having trained with a sword since she was 3, and earning the title of Genius Swordsman after years of practice. Now she stands confidently, ready to test her skills. Wei encourages her to go all out, and Chu charges at full speed. She strikes, but he parries with his own blade. Using Blade Flash, our boy launches an attack. Chu instantly senses his sword aura and marvels at how he's reached such a level with his incredible talent. She counters with the Shadow Demon sword technique. Watching from a distance, Housemaster Wu is amazed by Yi's swordsmanship. His moves are broad and powerful, while Chu's are quick and unpredictable. Wu notes that Chu can hold her own against our hero, thanks to her vast array of advanced sword techniques. Finally, with a decisive strike, Yi disarms Chu, her sword landing in his hand. Breathing hard, Chu concedes defeat. Our protagonist checks if she's alright, and she assures him she's just exhausted. Wu approaches them, offering high praise. He admits he hadn't realized Yi was such a skilled swordsman. Trying to play it down, our boy claims he just had a little something up his sleeve, knowing it would seem odd to have suddenly gained a new talent. Wu then informs them that he's here to bring them to the celebration feast, but also shares somber news. Feng He has died. Investigators found that he had already taken his own life. According to his students, Feng He was the one who supplied the bug eggs, hiding them in their clothes during laundry. Wu reassures our protagonist that the Alliance is investigating everyone Feng He interacted with. He also mentions that the upcoming feast will be attended by top powers, whose aim is to recruit Yi into their guilds or legions. Housemaster Wu leads his students to the celebratory feast, explaining along the way that many people there will try to recruit them by offering money, women, power, and resources. Once anyone accepts, they'll be bound to those groups. Wu doesn't object to the idea of joining, but advises everyone to make their decisions carefully and with clarity. Soon after, Feng Hao from Xiayan steps forward and announces that the top 10 students from the competition are present. Each will receive a reward from the Xiayan Class Alliance. She distributes bank cards loaded with 20 million in currency to the students, and explains that their authorization levels will be upgraded to elite external members within the Alliance. This status grants them an 80% discount on any potions or equipment purchased at any supply base in the nation. She also invites them to join the Alliance through her. Our protagonist notes how generous this gesture is. Giving 20 million to each of the top 100 contestants is a direct display of power. Feng Hao then announces that the rewards for the top 3 in the solo, team, and survival matches will be revealed the next day. As the feast begins, Wu raises his glass to congratulate Su Hang on their first-place victory. Jing remarks that none of it would have been possible without Yi. Several of his female comrades and other students request a toast, but our hero brushes it off with a modest shrug. Wei approaches to thank him for saving his life, vowing both his own loyalty and that of his teammates. Suddenly, Wang steps in, pledging his life as well. Zhou Heng and Xiao, also at the party, comment on how much stronger our boy has become in such a short span of time. The next day, Feng arrives in a jet to take the top 3 students to Xiayan's headquarters for their rewards. As they board, Chu explains that this is the Phantom X1000, the latest model produced by Phantom. The jet accelerates so rapidly that Zhang and Chu nearly lose their seats. They arrive at their destination in just 20 seconds. After waiting for their jet to be scanned and getting clearance, the group travels to the floating island headquarters by portal. They notice that Qingjing University has its own floating island too, each island equipped with extra defenses. Arriving at the headquarters, the top students are each assigned a servant to guide them. Feng personally escorts our protagonist to claim his reward. Inside, she once again offers him a chance to join the class alliance. This time Yi declines outright, feeling he isn't ready to tie himself down just yet. Feng explains that he will receive 3 rewards. For winning the individual match, he'll get a custom-made legendary-grade weapon. For the team match, a full set of custom-made epic-grade equipment. And for the survival match, he will have the freedom to choose any item from the Alliance's vault. She then leads him to Master Qijun's forging room, where the heat is palpable. Feng introduces Yi to Qijun, and our hero greets the master smith respectfully. Qijun explains he will forge a level 25 legendary grade item for him. Y expresses his interest in a longsword that can enhance both his strength and wisdom. Feng is astonished to see Yi standing before Qijun without breaking a sweat. Qijun's unique vision technique is so overwhelming that most people can barely speak in its presence. Meanwhile, our boy requests a sword tailored for his Saint Knight class, emphasizing that it must possess lethal power. He recalls that golden grade weapons provide 2 stat buffs, while legendary grade weapons enhance all 4 stats. As a Saint Knight who both fights and grants buffs, Yi decides to prioritize strength and wisdom. After reviewing footage of our hero's fighting style, Qijun comes up with an idea. He summons a sunlight holy stone, a rare jewel that only occasionally drops from holy ruins. This stone is said to have formed from the sun's core. A weapon crafted from it can purify creatures of darkness with light. From the lava, Qijun brings forth additional rare materials, merging them together. Using magma blast melting, he causes a volcanic eruption and burns away demonic souls. Then, wielding a divine hammer, he strikes the molten mass to shatter any impurities. Once the metal is liquefied, it's poured into a mold. Qijun then carefully etches spells into the blade as he forges it. For the final step, the sword is placed in lava to finish the forging process. During this intense moment, Feng draws a shield to protect herself and our protagonist from the flying embers and heat. Finally, the Holy Light Sword, legendary 3-star grade, is complete. Qijun tosses the sword to Yi, instructing him to release his energy so the weapon can recognize its master. Our hero does so, and the sword acknowledges him as its owner. Yi is pleased to discover that the sword will boost all 4 of his stats, and comes with 3 special effects. He notes that, with the increased speed, he'll be able to unleash 4 slashes while an enemy could only manage 1. Qijun, drained from the forging, explains that crafting such high-tier weapons consumes tremendous energy. Feng points out that Qijun can forge a legendary weapon in a short span, whereas most blacksmiths would need months. Qijun further advises that to raise the sword's star level, Yi should use holy elements, otherwise the weapon's power could be compromised. Next, Feng takes our boy to a fitting room, where 3 attendants take his measurements for a custom set of epic-grade equipment. He requests light armor focused on enhancing strength and wisdom. The attendants compliment his good manners as they finish up. Afterward, Feng leads him to the vault where he can choose his survival match reward. After some thought, Yi selects a Dimension-grade S-class item. Feng checks if he's certain about this choice, and our protagonist nods confidently, having plans for Dimension Jump. The skill transforms into a small orb, which Feng hands over to him. As he inspects it, Yi senses a presence urging him to release it. When Feng inquires about his reaction, he simply says he needs a break. With her responsibilities complete, Feng tells him to reach out if he's unhappy with any of his rewards. Re-entering the hall, our hero is unexpectedly greeted by members of the Zhou family. Yi asks if the Zhou family wishes to speak in private, but Zhou Heng explains that they're only there to say goodbye. He mentions that he's taking Dong back to the family, and hopes that our hero can bring Xiaoyun to the Tialan district, where the Zhou family will provide the best resources for her. However, Yi replies that he'll bring his sister back only after she graduates. With that, the Zhou family takes their leave. Sensing something odd, our boy leaps up into a tree to investigate but finds nothing amiss. Later, one of his colleagues invites him to shop for local specialties in the city, but Yi declines. That evening, back in his room, the Void Beast demands to be released, its voice intimidating. Finally, our protagonist lets it out and asks why it's still resisting even after their contract. The beast argues that, as a millennium-old being, it can't easily submit to a human. It complains that Yi only succeeded because of the strange magic he used. Y reminds the Void Beast that it injured 63 people and killed 10 in the secret realm. If investigators identify it, they'll erase its intelligence with degradation magic. He also warns the beast that its skin, blood, and bones would fetch a high price. Calling him despicable, the beast accepts the Orb of Dimension Jump, which Yi offers as a source of energy. Yi promises to use the beast's power for just 1 year before setting it free. The Void Beast is skeptical, but our hero insists it has no better option. Yi then summons the Butterfly Mother and hands it to the beast. After absorbing the orb, the beast shares that, according to Xiaodi, those who first captured them aren't truly human. Meanwhile, at a bustling shopping mall, shopkeepers try to entice customers with sales and special items. Chu is busy browsing for accessories, and a shopkeeper explains the details of her chosen piece. Unexpectedly, Yi appears and selects a hair accessory for her. Chu is surprised as she thought he wasn't coming, but our protagonist explains he arrived after finishing his business. Suddenly, someone spots Chu and waves at her. She doesn't recognize him. He introduces himself as Wang Hao, nephew of Wang Ba from the Lei Yu Wang family's 3rd generation. Chu ignores his greeting, and Yi suggests they go get snacks. As they leave, Wang Hao becomes enraged that Yi is so familiar with Chu. He attacks, but his strike is effortlessly blocked by our boy's shield. Wang Hao, noticing Yi's class, mocks him, which angers Chu. Calmly, our hero challenges Wang Hao. If he can land a hit in 3 moves, Yi will apologize. but if he fails, Wang Hao must kneel and apologize himself. Fired up, Wang Hao unleashes a thunder strike, but Yi's shield holds firm. Next, Wang Hao uses his ultimate technique, Thunder Leopard. He responds with Salvation Cross and Falling Star, easily intercepting the attack, leaving Wang Hao with just one move remaining. Wang Hao unleashes Thunder Slash, but our hero intercepts it with his Holy Cross. Wang Hao is left sprawled on the floor, clearly defeated. As he lies there, he overhears the clerks discussing that our boy is actually the champion of the exchange competition. With that, Yi and Chu leave, while Wang Hao mutters to himself that his brother will deal with Yi later, and that he won't forgive Chu for playing with the Wang family. Later, the Su Hang team prepares for departure. Housemaster Wu thanks the staff of Qingjing University, though Housemaster Chung comments that Su Hang stole all the spotlight this time. Wu, however, insists that friendship comes before results. As the transportation formation activates, everyone bids farewell to their rivals. Soon, the Su Hang group arrives back on campus. The headmaster, along with Housemasters Song and Zhou, greets them warmly. The headmaster explains that the exchange match is about more than just competition, and proceeds to reward Tanwei, Zhangze, Xuqiang, Hengbin, and Zhaoqing with 5,000 points each for their strong performances. They compare this to the 500 points earned from clearing the Abyss-level Goblin realm, finding the difference staggering. Meanwhile, Chu, Xia, Tai Xin, and Tang each receive 20,000 points, but everyone is stunned when our protagonist is awarded 100,000 points. As captain, he defeated Wang and Wei in the individual matches, saved his friends against the combined assault from 9 schools, and secured first place. The crowd buzzes with excitement, noting that his points are equivalent to 3 billion in currency and could be exchanged for S-class techniques from the school's resources. Yi, for his part, is relieved. He'd nearly run out of points but now has nothing to worry about. Afterward, the headmaster instructs everyone to take a well-deserved rest. As the others leave, our hero remains behind to ask the headmaster a question. The headmaster guesses it concerns Housemaster Feng He, and Yi nods. The headmaster hesitates, not wanting him involved, but Yi insists, revealing that he has tamed the Void Beast, who claims it was not humans who captured it. Seeing this, Headmaster Su decides to share the truth. He reveals that Feng He is an inhuman, a demi-human monster created by the evil god, the Master of Chaos. Such beings look human but possess the heart of a demon and serve evil gods. Feng He orchestrated the Void Beast attacks as a show of loyalty to the evil god, whose only desire is death and chaos. Su confirms that Feng He didn't die. Instead, he shed his skin to become a servant of the evil god and escaped. The headmaster asks Yi why Feng He would act during the exchange competition. Our protagonist suggests that the event gathered the brightest freshmen, and a disaster then would be catastrophic. The headmaster continues, explaining that the ruins of 1,000,000 beasts sit atop a weak point in an evil god's seal. Thousands of years ago, there was a war in the realm due to the Master of Chaos's descent, and the beast-kind civilization gave everything to seal him. Su suspects that Feng He used the Void Beast to search for cracks in that seal. If Feng He learns that Yi has tamed the beast, he will come after him. To prepare, the headmaster decides to give our hero an angel skill book obtained long ago by the Tianyu Guild. He teleports with Yi to the Tian Guild headquarter resource vault, protected by multiple layers of security and 2 level 60 monsters. At the entrance stands the Vault Guardian, who will be rotated tomorrow. Our boy notes that the Guardian is tertiary awakened. Meanwhile, the headmaster mentions that Zhou Yi, stationed at the entrance, is an old companion, so Yi can call him Uncle Yang. Zhou Yi tells him he's watched his matches and that the title of hero truly suits him. When retrieving the skill book, Uncle Yang advises our protagonist to act tough, or else others might try to cause him trouble. After obtaining the skill book, Uncle Yang hands it over, and our hero uses his points to absorb its power. Yi acquires the skill Holy Thunder, form of Apocalypse S, which boosts his anomaly status and increases his thunder resistance by 50%. Along with it, he gains Blade of Punishment and Chains of Heavens. Our boy is stunned to have unlocked 3 divine grade skills from a single skill book. The headmaster remarks that he's lucky to achieve such a feat. Uncle Yang adds that among the divine races, there are even S+ or higher grade skill books. S+ represents the highest grade attainable for humans, but divine races are able to wield skills that surpass even that level. Next, the headmaster summons Deacon Wei, Wei Ningxin, one of the 3 deacons of the Tianyu Guild. She greets Yi and mentions that she visited Qingjing University to meet him, but he had already left by the time she arrived. The headmaster explains that she is also in charge of recruitment for the guild. Uncle Yang tells her to take our protagonist with her, as he and the headmaster have matters to discuss. Soon after, Deacon Wei escorts our hero to a Tianyu Guild base in a jet. She explains that the guild was founded 45 years ago, and this base, originally the first headquarters, has since grown into a city. Standing on high ground, Yi is awestruck by the sight of the legendary Eastern Dragon on the distant mountain, a creature he'd only seen on television before. Deacon Wei explains that this guardian beast has protected the guild for 32 years. Below, guild members hurry into the guild's realm, which is split into 3 zones: Golden, epic, and legendary. Unexpectedly, she offers her guild card to our boy, and he exchanges 10,000 points for it. Shortly afterward, Yi enters the nightmare-level Sighing Plague realm. In the first stage, he faces a wave of zombies, regular ones at level 20 and mid-level zombies at level 22. Our protagonist cuts through the horde using Form of Apocalypse, temporarily raising his power by 1 level. He's pleased to sustain the skill for 14 seconds during combat, cycling through several uses. As a result, he clears the first level by taking down 200 zombies in just 35 seconds. The next level, Mutant Village, greets him with the stench of rotting corpses. Yi admits that it's even worse than the mist at Tempest Valley and decides it's time to draw his legendary weapon. All the while, he hears the constant murmurs of monsters plotting his demise. Suddenly, a pack of zombie hounds appears, and he strikes them down. Next, zombie butchers emerge, and our boy dispatches them with his blade of punishment, which scorches the earth with every swing. He observes that these monsters are much tougher than the previous zombies. As even more undead pour in, their roaring emboldens their companions. But when they charge to attack, Yi swiftly strikes them down, showing no hesitation. A zombie hound lunges at Yi, which my guy cuts instantly. Then a plague spreader approaches. Its breath can infect anyone nearby, eventually leading to death. Unfazed, our protagonist swiftly strikes it down with his blade and relies on his death resistance to recover quickly. He soon realizes that while his warhammer delivers more powerful swings, it's too slow for close combat situations. Deciding a blade is the better choice for speed, Yi switches weapons. He's only managed to eliminate 20 zombies in a minute and doesn't want to waste his blade of punishment on weaker foes. Instead, he unleashes the Holy Storm, obliterating every zombie in the vicinity. In just 1 minute and 50 seconds, our hero takes down 2,100 zombies. Advancing to the next level, Yi enters the Forbidden Church, where a level 45 zombie bishop is delivering a sermon. The bishop proclaims his faith in an ancient god who governs life and death and invites Yi to embrace this deity, promising freedom from mortality and the gift of immortality. He extends his hand, urging Yi to accept. Caught in a brief hallucination, our boy still manages to strike the bishop and declares that he'd rather embrace death than immortality. Angered, the bishop commands his zombie nuns to attack. Without hesitation, Yi activates his blade of punishment. When the nuns rush him, he vanishes, only to reappear and strike from different angles. One nun screams in rage, but he dispatches her with ease. Moving fluidly, our hero cuts down every zombie nun that dares approach. Despite the carnage, the bishop remains unfazed, claiming that the louder the nuns sing, the deeper the ritual roots itself into the magma of hell. As Yi moves closer, a red aura spreads throughout the church, forming a sigil beneath his feet. He instantly realizes that the bishop used his nuns as a distraction in order to set this trap. Suddenly, a hand from the formation grabs Yi's leg and begins to pull him downward. Yi feels his body growing heavy as his strength ebbs away. It's as if something is relentlessly dragging him down. He realizes he's been ensnared by the Touch of Withering, a special group casting skill that weakens its target and inflicts curses or poison. Fortunately, our boy's death resistance and magic immunity allow him to shrug off most of the curse. Drawing on his skills, he breaks free from the dark vines binding him. Outside the formation, the bishop urges Yi to accept his faith. Refusing, our hero calls upon Holy Flame, boosting his stats and incinerating the nuns, pulling him down. He then attacks the bishop with his Spear of Victory, but the bishop raises a dark shield to defend himself. Not giving up, Yi follows up with Blade Flash, battering the shield. Growing anxious, the bishop cries out for Exia to unleash her rage upon Yi. At the mention of Exia's name, our protagonist's eyes widen. He's heard it before, even from the bear monster. As the bishop's body begins to disintegrate, Yi resolves not to let anything sinister occur. Channeling Divine Swordheart, he prepares to shatter the shield in a single blow. Combining it with Form of Apocalypse, he obliterates the shield in one mighty strike, splitting the bishop's body in two. Yi then transforms into his angel physique. From the bishop's remains, a twisted voice proclaims it will consume Yi in Exia's place. Multiple mouths emerge from the remains, shooting projectiles at our hero. Quickly, Yi summons Holy Shield and counters with Holy Thunder Chains of Heaven. The bishop screams in agony, crying out to his god for vengeance, but our protagonist responds resolutely, insisting he face the judgment of light. Yi attacks again with Chains of Heaven, prompting the bishop to shriek that Exia will reduce him to ashes. Reflecting, our boy notes that class skills generally fall into categories: attack, defense, buffs, debuffs, and limitation skills. While rare, there are also summoning or creation type skills, but limitation skills are the scarcest, with control skills being the strongest among them. Curious, Yi asks who Exia truly is. The bishop declares that Exia is the greatest, unrivaled god and ruler of all. With a single thought, she can turn any enemy to ash, damning resistors to hellfire while granting immortality to faithful followers. Yi mocks the bishop for preaching immortality while existing as a mutant monster. The bishop, slipping into memories of his past, recalls a time when he was human and beloved by his people. Then a plague ravaged the village, infecting everyone. Desperate, he begged the higher priests for help, but they ignored his pleas. Finally, one day, he returned to the village holding a cross, announcing that salvation had come. The bishop tried to heal the infected with the cross he carried, only to discover it was a fake. The villagers died rapidly, and the ones still breathing begged him for help. Overwhelmed by hopelessness, he was approached by Exia. With her power, the sickness vanished. The villagers were freed from pain, and even the dead returned. The bishop felt content to exist as a zombie if it meant his people could live. In the present, he shouts that being chosen by Exia means it's his duty to spread her light across distant lands. Our hero notes that the bishop can't be saved and resolves to end things. He attacks with his blade while the bishop desperately calls for Exia's help, but receives no response. Yi points out that his god has abandoned him, and the bishop's many mouths scream that they will drag our protagonist to hell with them. Before the bishop can self-destruct, Yi uses his chains and follows up with Holy Cross, destroying the bishop's body completely. With Exia silent, our boy receives experience, potions, and items for clearing the realm. An exit portal appears, but before leaving, he decides to destroy the statue of the evil god Exia. Using his golden beam, he obliterates the statue and, to his surprise, receives a holy crystal, a rare secondary awakening item, for the first time. Realizing the opportunity, the protagonist decides to farm this realm several more times. Upon exiting, Deacon Wei praises him for clearing the realm in just 10 minutes and 25 seconds. Yi offers her the items he acquired in exchange for another entry. Stunned, Deacon Wei listens as our hero explains that he's aiming for the fastest clear time and believes he can beat the current record. She informs him that he must be at least level 27 to challenge the leaderboard, but grants him permission and tells him to keep his rewards. Just then, her nephew Wei Ming appears, having spent 2 months in the realm due to the difficulty of defeating the overlord creature. As our protagonist listens, he remembers that back in Tempest Valley, he discovered low-level overlord creatures could slip through medium-sized dimensional gaps. In the past, the nation entered a level 3 wartime state and sent legions to eliminate overlord creatures near those breaches. Deacon Wei asks her nephew about his ordeal, and he shares that 4 teammates died. Without the support of legions, he wouldn't have survived. She asks if he's called his mother, but Wei Ming confesses he kept the mission secret and now expects to be scolded. He tries to get his aunt to intervene on his behalf, but she refuses. Then she turns to Yi and asks why he's not in the realm, only for him to reveal that he just came out. When Deacon Wei checks the leaderboard, she's shocked to see our hero's name at the top, having cleared the realm in only 1 minute and 59 seconds. Yi then expresses interest in challenging the Abyss difficulty realms. She agrees, giving him her card so he can farm as much as he likes. After 2 months, our protagonist holds the first place record for the Sighing Plague realm in Abyss difficulty, clearing it in just 1 minute and 29 seconds. People marvel that he even broke the Nightmare difficulty record, finishing it in 59 seconds. As our boy exits another realm, he recalls that Master Wang Hui gave him a card after learning he was farming so diligently. Yi has spent 2 months at the Tianyu Guild, reaching level 29 and preparing for his class awakening mission. He decides to consult his master about where to find a Holy Knight class book. Suddenly, he receives a message from Master Wang, summoning him. Later, Yi greets the headmaster, who praises him for gaining 6 levels in just 2 months. The headmaster asks if Yi knows why he never took him deeper into the wilds for faster leveling. Our protagonist calmly observes that tertiary awakened classes often end up empty, with more levels but less real training, which prevents them from reaching their full potential. The headmaster commends his answer, explaining that some use family resources to quickly boost their level, but even after secondary or tertiary awakening, they remain weak if they lack proper training. Now that Yi has reached level 29, the headmaster decides it's time to awaken his secondary form. Headmaster Wang explains that a Saint Knight's secondary class will be the Apocalyzer, which enhances mastery over Holy Light and greatly increases offensive power. However, he points out that this is designed for regular knights, while Yi's own offensive abilities are already formidable. The headmaster then hands Yi the class awakening book for Apocalyzer. Our protagonist connects with it mentally, reviewing the requirements for class awakening. There are 4 in total, one of which is the Will of Repent. Our hero wonders if this refers to the remorseful will of cultists who once followed evil gods. Headmaster Wang asks if Yi remembers the Repent skill he acquired in the Plague Realm, explaining that he will need to use that skill to extract the Will of Repent within half an hour, or the soul will dissipate. Meanwhile, our boy is curious about how the headmaster knows he possesses that skill. The headmaster clarifies that he was certain Yi would gain it while farming in the Plague Realm, as it is essential for Saint classes. He notes that Yi has already fulfilled every requirement except for collecting 100 wills of repentance. Therefore, he suggests that our protagonist take on missions involving cultists, which are posted on the school network, in order to gather the necessary wills. Later, Yi browses the school site, and observes that Suhang has fewer students compared to other schools. This is because the school invests more in each student, resulting in lower recruitment numbers, though there are still plenty of missions available. Ignoring the initial ones, our hero chooses a mission in Longfeng City. Unexpectedly, upon attempting to accept it, he discovers that it's classified as high risk, with a casualty rate exceeding 70%. Despite this, Yi decides to proceed. He summons his space butterfly, marking the area with its mana so that, with help from his void beast, he can teleport back if necessary. After leaving the campus, the narrative shifts to Wu, who is training in the combat room. Wu learns that Yi has departed for a high-risk mission. His assistant provides details, revealing that 2 students, levels 26 and 28, lost contact after taking the same mission, which led to its current high-risk rating. Still, Wu is confident in our boy, knowing he has trained diligently for the past 2 months. Wu instructs his assistant not to intervene. Meanwhile, our protagonist leaves Ning'an City's teleportation square, taking 12 teleportations and 7 high-speed rail trips to reach Chanshan District. Now tired, Yi notes he still has 2 hours left to travel. A girl sitting nearby notices his phone accessory and guesses he's from Ning'an City. He confirms, and she mentions she visits during summer vacations before asking about his journey's purpose. Hai replies that it's for business. The girl introduces herself as Bai Na and says her friend's name is Liu Jie. Both are headed to Longfeng City for the hot springs. She assumes our hero is a combat class and asks for his contact information, noting that she and her friend are pharmacists. Upon arrival, Bai Na and her friend depart. Suddenly, they bump into a man who hands her a pamphlet about a special event to showcase their god's blessing. When our boy sees the pamphlet, he glares coldly, prompting the man to snatch it back immediately. Meanwhile, Bai Na tells her friend to throw it away, explaining that the religion began about a year ago in Longfeng City. While followers seem to gain benefits, their personalities change drastically. She mentions that her brother's classmate, once a gentle person, became frightening after joining the religion. Afterwards, Yi recalls his experience with the god of light at Tempest Valley, reminding himself that miracles aren't something one can manifest daily. He suspects this is a clue about the cultists, recognizing that disguising as a mainstream religion is typical cult behavior. A large crowd gathers at the special ceremony held by the Holy Faith, all eager to witness a miracle that might help them level up faster. Among them, a group of 4 investigators has arrived to examine the so-called Miracle of the Holy Faith, which managed to attract 10,000 followers in just a year. Zhao Ling reminds her teammate, Gu Man, that simply gathering evidence will be enough for their mission. Meanwhile, Zhang Shang informs her that he has already deployed micro-robots to monitor the entire event. Their teammate, Liu Yuhan, attempts to access Yi's information but is unable to do so. The whole team realizes they can't view our boy's details and concludes that he must be above level 20. Suddenly, Yi fixes them with a cold stare, unnerving the group and prompting them to avoid drawing his attention in the future. For his part, our protagonist pays them little mind, remaining focused on his true target, the Holy Faith. After a few minutes, Father Liu Shu Yuan of the Holy Faith welcomes everyone. Our hero quietly notes that Liu Shu is at level 18, accompanied by 2 others at level 17. Liu Shu announces that the Holy Master regards all equally and bestows blessings upon believers. The faith offers specialized realms and unrestricted resources to its members, including every kind of potion and treasure. He further declares that each member will receive 8,000 coins every month. The announcement excites the crowd, fueling fantasies of quickly becoming elites through the Holy Faith. Liu Shu then unveils a statue of the Holy Master, calling it an honor to look upon a god. Unable to appraise the statue, Yi suspects it may be a magical artifact. Meanwhile, Zhao Ling's team goes on high alert, intent on collecting proof of a fraudulent miracle. Liu Shu prays aloud for the Holy Master to reveal his power, so the congregation can witness a true miracle. Suddenly, a brilliant light bursts from the statue, and a massive, transparent figure of the Holy Master stretches its hand over the crowd. The crowd is quickly convinced they are witnessing a miracle, as the figure begins to mutter incomprehensible words. Liu Yu raises a shield to protect herself, but her teammates fall under the spell, convinced they have grown stronger and richer. Recognizing the effect as a high-level hypnotic spell, Liu Yu relies on a special necklace for immunity against mental manipulation. Unfortunately, the necklace needs time to cool down before she can use it to awaken her friends. Across the hall, our boy also realizes he is witnessing a hypnotic spell. Moments later, Liu Shu signals for the ritual to begin by ringing a bell. Using dark magic, a group of people, including a bishop, teleports into the hall. Immediately, Yi senses that these newcomers are cultists. The bishop, uneasy with Liu Shu for wasting time on the audience, warns him not to repeat the mistake and informs him that after this sacrificial ritual, Liu Shu will officially join the Holy Faith and receive the Holy Master's blessing. As a Saint Knight, our protagonist detects a deep malice emanating from the bishop and his followers. The bishop, only level 27, makes Yi suspect there must be someone even more powerful behind the scenes. He chooses to wait a bit longer, seeking more information. Meanwhile, the bishop and his men begin chanting, proclaiming the Holy Master to be eternal and indestructible. The statue begins to act, drawing out the souls of the gathered people, who soon echo the bishop's chant in unison. Our hero reflects that souls are essential for resurrection spells used by priests, and that some classes are capable of returning to life in soul form. Souls, he notes, are of vital importance to both ordinary folk and the powerful alike. Although the crowd appears unchanged on the surface, Yi observes that their personalities have been completely altered after their souls were stolen. Yi wonders what purpose the statue has for the stolen souls. At the same time, Liu Yu fears everyone will die if this continues, so she tries to wake Zhao Ling with an icicle spell, but it fails. Meanwhile, Liu Shu notices Liu Yu resisting the hypnosis and attempts to control her with black flame magic. Fortunately, our protagonist intervenes, casting holy protection, while another girl in the crowd raises a shining shield to help. The girl, Liu Ran, follows up with a shining light attack against a cultist, but he remains unharmed, remarking that she must be from the Court of Light. Startled by his strength, Liu Ran attempts to escape using teleportation magic, but the cultist counters with a swamp spell, and his partner launches a fireball attack. Ran barely manages to shield herself, realizing she might have escaped if only one opponent had targeted her. She retaliates with holy power, even as a close combat cultist approaches. The cultists quickly form a shield, putting her on the defensive. Ran begins to despair, wondering if 4 years of training will end here. At this crucial moment, Yi sighs and finally unleashes his Hammer of Repentance. With a single strike, he destroys the entire 9th floor and leaves several cultists unconscious. The bishop recognizes our hero as a high-class knight of the court, while Yi calls them sinful cultists. Watching from the sidelines, Ran wonders if our boy is a secondary awakened class, since he just defeated adversaries all above level 25. The bishop, now desperate, sends his men to stop our protagonist, but they are vanquished instantly. Panicking, the bishop shoves Liu Shu forward as a distraction and tries to escape. As before, Yi knocks Liu Shu out with one move and summons his space butterfly to track the fleeing bishop. After the chaos, Ran introduces herself as a light mage from the Court of Light. Seeing Yi up close, she notes the aura of holy light surrounding him. Our boy learns that Ran was on an adventure, accepting the mission, and she credits him for saving her life. Curious, she asks if he belongs to the court. While explaining that he is not affiliated with the court, our protagonist casually destroys the fake holy statue with just his fingers. Ran is stunned, suspecting he might be a holy son. She reflects that the titles of holy sons and daughters are bestowed by the court upon geniuses, who receive the greatest resources for cultivation. These individuals are considered invincible among their peers and can challenge those of higher levels. For their safety, only the court knows their true identities. Ran wonders if they should wake everyone immediately, but our hero advises against it, arguing that it could cause unnecessary panic. Instead, he suggests leaving the matter to public security. Then Yai uses his repent skill on one of the cultists. The cultist's soul emerges, confessing its sins and repenting for all the wrongs committed. He manages to collect only 4 wills of repentance, far fewer than he needs. He deliberately lets the bishop escape, intending to track down more cultists with the help of his space butterfly. Meanwhile, Ran, who also possesses the repent skill but finds hers much weaker than our protagonists, wonders if he would allow her to follow him for further cultivation. Shortly after, the Longfeng security team arrives and begins inspecting the scene. Ran raises her arms and informs Captain Wang Hao that the Holy Faith is actually a cult, luring people in to steal their souls. The captain asks if she stopped them, but Ran admits she didn't, noticing that Yi has already disappeared. Disappointed, she watches as the security team focuses on evacuating the crowd and ensuring everyone's safety. Team healers tend to the affected, and as people regain their senses, they're left bewildered, unsure of where they are or why they feel so exhausted. Meanwhile, Liu Yu explains to her teammates that they were all hypnotized and that she only escaped thanks to her magic talisman. She adds that the Holy Faith had 5 members above level 25, but someone resembling a secondary awakened class eliminated them all. Zhang Tong decides to review footage from his micro-robots, but before he can, the building begins to shake violently. Underground, the bishop is troubled, trying to figure out who Yi might be. He doubts our hero is from the Court of Light, as he's been operating quietly, and all known court members were led away under hypnosis. Muttering that his lord will be furious over the failed ritual and the loss of 4 devout followers, he opens a concealed door. Using his space butterfly, our boy tracks the bishop to a hidden hall packed with believers. At the center, their lord, appearing as a dark sphere, greets Bishop Feng and inquires about the situation. The bishop prostrates himself, confessing that a man with a powerful light element disrupted the plan and that he is no match for him. Begging for mercy, Feng promises to find more sacrifices to make up for the loss. The lord, unimpressed, calls him useless. Meanwhile, Yi, now disguised in a cloak, observes the situation. He notes the dense malicious energy radiating from the lord and quickly counts around 100 cultists in the hall, realizing they're orchestrating something significant. The lord claims the ritual succeeded, despite the interruption. However, Feng argues that the Soul Master's requirements weren't met, warning it could provoke their master's wrath. The Lord clarifies that the current sacrifices were not for those few souls and instructs Bishop Su to explain the real plan. Su reveals that their goal is to topple the entire world. Over the past year, they've performed 307 sacrifices across Longfeng City, each at carefully chosen locations, forming what they call the Chaos Hell Formation. By drawing in people's desires and expanding their ranks, they've set the stage. They've even laced the city's water supply with a transparent potion, weakening the population and making them more susceptible to control. Our hero wonders about their ultimate aim with the Hell Formation. Bishop Su continues, explaining that secret tunnels connect each sacrifice site, filled with runes and spell formations. Tonight, the Chaos Hell Formation will be activated, channeling the souls and life energy of the entire city into the seal of the Master of Chaos. Their intention is to sacrifice the entire city to awaken the Master of Chaos, plunging the world into darkness and reshaping it according to their design. Determined to stop them, Yi summons his weapon and launches an attack on the Lord, followed by the cultists, wielding both his sword flash and form of apocalypse. Su retaliates fiercely as the Lord recognizes our protagonist, mocking Feng for failing to shake his pursuer and belittling him for his lowly origins, promising his death. Meanwhile, our hero finds himself struggling to keep pace with Su's power. Su summons his phantom scythe and conjures a dark cyclone, escalating the battle to a new level of danger. Su's dark cyclone engulfs the battlefield, forcing Yi to rely on his holy protection just to withstand the onslaught. Su taunts our protagonist, pointing out the vast difference between first and secondary awakening, emphasizing the 14-level gap between them. Despite this, our hero struggles to hold on, realizing that if this continues, he risks being completely drained. Determined to end things quickly, Yi declares that his light will be enough to shatter Su's tricks. Su, suspicious that our boy might be the court's secret weapon, resolves not to let him leave alive. In response, Yi activates his Focus Halo, Angel Physique, and Sacred Flame Halo all at once. He launches a golden beam, obliterating the dark cyclone in a single strike and leaving Su utterly stunned. Suddenly, the gathered believers swarm our protagonist. Though weak individually, their sheer numbers begin to drain his mana. Dark chains attempt to bind Yi, and a blue fluid surrounds him, but he counters with his swords and swiftly decides to clear the field. Using his twin shields, our hero repels the cultists, though Su manages to evade the assault. Su retaliates with Shadow Slash, but Yi counters with Holy Light, slamming Su into a wall. The Lord mocks Su for failing to handle a level 29 Saint Knight. Relieved, our boy notes that thanks to his buffs, his power now rivals that of a level 40, explaining how he managed to overpower Su. The Lord then commands Feng to attack, but when Feng hesitates, Yi strikes with his sword. Unexpectedly, the Lord grabs Feng by the hair and tosses him aside. Yi quickly realizes Feng is the Lord's son, but the Lord dismisses him as a useless pawn, meant only to serve the Master of Chaos. Disgusted, our protagonist calls out the Lord's ruthlessness, but it coldly replies that after the chaos, all life will be its children. Curious, our hero asks how the Lord knows him. The Lord reveals it is aware that he is the champion of the National Freshman Exchange Competition. As Yi turns to face Su, who charges again, the Lord begins preparing its own attack. Our boy nimbly dodges by using his Void Beast's jump, then lands a powerful punch on Su. The Lord, amused by his actions, recognizes that he has tamed the Void Beast. Yi follows up with his punishment of light, eliminating another cultist, but his focus shifts to the Lord. Piecing things together, he concludes that the Lord must be Feng He, the one who previously escaped. The Lord nods and, assuming human form, claims that after the Master of Chaos awakens, he will ascend as one of the new gods. He explains that, if not for our protagonist's interference in the exchange competition, the Master of Chaos would have awakened months ago. The Lord sets his sights on taking the Void Beast as a gift for the Master of Chaos, and plans to use Yi's holy power to fuel the awakening. Meanwhile, our hero braces himself, knowing that facing Feng He will be a monumental challenge, as Feng He now stands at level 49. Next, Feng He unleashes spikes from the ground, targeting Yi. Our boy dodges nimbly, but all the cultists around them are already dead. Feng He continues his assault, sending more spikes toward our hero. Yi summons Holy Protection, but some of the spikes break through, striking him despite his defenses.